The story begins with a desolate scene of ruins in a deserted city. A young man with tired, dull eyes looks around the dusty place that seems to obscure the sky. My name is Taio Luong. I was just an ordinary college student because my roommate unplugged my charger. My alarm didn't go off while I was rushing to school. At 8 a.m., he got into a traffic accident when a car hit him, sending him flying 800 meters. He looked ahead with a weary gaze, but when he woke up, the whole world had changed. He transmigrated into an apocalyptic world full of danger in front of him. Now was a chaotic scene. A group of people were struggling to fight a giant octopus. Its tentacles swung like the arms of death. A blond man jumped high. His sword flashed and cleanly severed a wriggling tentacle. Everyone thought victory was certain, but unexpectedly, right where it was cut, a new tentacle grew back in a flash. Someone in the group panicked and shouted, "This is bad. This mutated beast can regenerate. What do we do?" Taio Luong watched the terrifying scene silently from a distance, his heart as heavy as a stone. At first he thought he was fate's chosen one, destined for a glorious halo, like a protagonist in a novel roaming freely and creating miracles, but he soon realized things weren't as simple as he imagined. He began to sink into his memories, painful memories of his failures. The first time he led survivors to escape a zombie siege but was bitten to death when he opened his eyes. He returned to the starting point the second time using his past experience. He led everyone to avoid the zombies, but they starved to death due to lack of food. The third time he disguised himself as a zombie victim to find food, but the military shot him in the head. The fourth time he finally awakened a special ability and built a base, but he was betrayed by a trusted brother, leading to a tragic death. Then came the fifth time and the sixth. Every time he died, he always returned to the first day he arrived in this world. This was already the ninth time his hope had run out, leaving only resignation, but fate wouldn't leave him alone. He was forced to enlist, becoming a soldier in this brutal war. The situation was extremely tense. The giant octopus's tentacles twisted like demonic snakes, ready to take anyone's life. The group was gradually exhausted, unable to hold on any longer. Those who still had strength were all running for their lives. But what about Xiao Ya? And the food, too. The people in the safe base were waiting for every bit of food to survive. We can't hesitate anymore. If we don't run, we'll all die here. Xiao Ya was tightly wrapped by a giant tentacle, unable to escape. She could only scream and cry, "Help me, don't leave me here." The octopus lifted her up, preparing to swallow her whole. Xiao Ya let out a piercing, desperate scream. Taio Luong stood below, witnessing the scene. A reckless feeling rose within him like a broken vase. Fears no more cracks, he thought to himself. If I can't escape this damn world anyway, then at least this time, before I die, I want to do something worthwhile. He let out a long shout, his whole body like a bolt of lightning rushing towards the giant monster. The fleeing group turned back to look. They were stunned. What is that kid doing? Is he trying to get himself killed? Is he crazy? That's just walking into his own death? But Taio Luong paid no mind to the whispers. He swung his sword, his eyes burning with determination, and sliced the tentacle in two. Xiao Ya was freed and fell to the ground. She trembled and said emotionally, "Thank you for saving me. You're so brave." Taio Luong had no time for her. He just replied coldly, "Get away," and immediately dashed off, leaving Xiao Ya sitting there bewildered. His target was the convenience store behind the giant monster rushing inside. He was stunned by the strange silence. Precious goods were still intact on the shelves, like a treasure on the line between life and death. Without hesitation, Taio Luong grabbed everything from hamburgers to potato chips. He devoured them as if he'd forgotten everything else. Then he found a bottle of soda, unable to contain his joy. "I can finally have a drink." He took a sip of Coke. The refreshing feeling was like being reborn outside. The octopus was furious for losing its prey. It growled, its eyes glowing red, staring straight at the person in the convenience store. Taio Luong was engrossed with his drink, completely unaware that a giant shadow was silently approaching. A huge tentacle swayed behind him, ready to deliver a fatal blow. He casually sighed and smiled. No more regrets, just as expected. A second later, his vision turned blood red, but then his eyes opened again. He was still lying in the convenience store, exactly as he was before passing out. He looked around and exclaimed in surprise, "Why am I still in the same place? No, didn't I return to the starting point?" He hastily felt all over his body, wondering if he hadn't died. Suddenly, a mechanical voice echoed from the void, "No, you died, but you're alive again." Taio Luong was startled. "Who's talking?" The system replied, "Congratulations, host, for activating the system. I am your unbonded system number, 2333. A ball of light gradually appeared before him. Taio Luong stammered, "System. Then he rushed forward and hugged it tightly, tears and snot streaming down his face. Why did you only show up now? I've waited for ages. Do you know how miserably I died? He rubbed his face against the sphere while wailing loudly, give me a reasonable explanation. Otherwise, I'll file a complaint against you. The system couldn't stand it and shot up into the air mumbling, Host, please calm down. The reason I was late is because, there was a small incident. He pressed what happened. The system avoided his gaze and said, you might not believe this, but my roommate's system stole my charging cable so my alarm couldn't go off. The corner of Cao Tu Luong's mouth twitched. He scratched his head and replied, no, I believe you. There's no point in pursuing it now. He immediately changed the subject. All right, then. Better late than never. Did you bring all the golden finger cheats and equipment? The system replied confidently. Of course, it held out a scroll with a map and some text on it. But according to procedure, please let me read the mission to you. You are currently in an apocalyptic world. The host's mission is to save this world. Help it restore peace. As long as you complete the mission, you will be resurrected in the real world. If you fail, you will be completely erased. After explaining it, rolled up the scroll. You have a total of 10 chances and you've wasted 9. This is the last one. Cao Tu Luong couldn't help but shout, I wasted them. The system laughed awkwardly. Don't mind these details. Precisely because there isn't much time left, we must make use of every precious moment. As soon as the system finished speaking, the surrounding space immediately distorted and twisted as if manipulated by an invisible hand. Forming a shimmering portal of light, brave young man, prepare to receive your first mission. In just an instant, Cao Tu Luong appeared on a desolate street where buildings were in ruins. As if after an apocalyptic storm, the system's mechanical voice rang out again. First mission for today, sell snacks to earn 50 crystals. You will receive accumulation points to exchange for attribute, space area, and many other attractive rewards. Witnessing this scene, Cao Tu Luong was so angry he gritted his teeth. He jumped up and yelled, what kind of savior has to be a street vendor? His shout echoed, attracting the attention of the zombies lurking nearby. They all turned their heads at once, their cloudy eyes fixed on him. One of them was even gnawing on something. It looked like the remains of a horrific meal. He was horrified by the zombies preparing to charge. Cao Tu Luong stammered, also, did you choose this location so they could treat me like a snack? His scream seemed to tear through the blue sky, but right now, he had no mind for business and could only run for his life. Cao Tu Luong dashed off frantically, trying to escape the zombies. The system asked blankly, host, why are you running? He yelled back, what nonsense, if I don't run, should I wait to be bitten? But as soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly stopped, as if remembering something important. His eyes lit up with excitement, and he said, that's right, I have a system now. Why should I be afraid of these losers? He stood straight with his hands on his hips and called out, Old 2. The system immediately replied in an annoyed voice, please call me number 2333. Cao Tu. Luong gave a dangerous and smug smile. Clenching his fist, he said, all right, old 2, what are my superpowers? The agility of a leopard, the speed of an eagle, the strength of a bear, show them all to me. A status panel suddenly appeared before his eyes. On it was written, name Cao Tu Luong, strength, unscored, speed, unscored, perception, unscored. Intelligence 2, storage space, unopened. Stall area, 2 square meters, a long list of stats, all showed the word unscored. Cao Tu Luong muttered thoughtfully, what does unscored mean? The system replied casually, it means the value is too low to meet the minimum standard. Currently, your body attributes are still at their initial state if you want to improve them. You need to earn accumulation points to exchange for them. He frowned and summarized, in other words, the only thing on my body that's remotely usable is my brain. Before he could think, a zombie suddenly rushed at him. He screamed in panic and ran for his life. While running, he yelled at the system, you liar! Didn't you say there was support software? The system flew behind him and replied, the support software has already been given to you. There was once a stall before your eyes, but you didn't cherish it. When it was gone, it was too late to regret. Cao Tu Luong was stunned. Are you talking about that tattered piece of cloth? The system replied, annoyed, what tattered cloth? That is your upgrade item. Hearing that, he immediately turned and rushed back. Why didn't you say so earlier? He bent down, grabbed a rusty iron bar from the roadside, and prepared to face the oncoming zombies. Without hesitation, Cao Tu Luong smashed the iron bar into the nearest zombie's head. The closer he got to the cloth, the harder he fought. Suddenly, a zombie lunged straight for his thigh. He was knocked down and sent tumbling, finally stopping right on the cloth. The zombies seized the opportunity and swarmed him. Facing this desperate situation, Cao Tu Luong smiled bitterly. I can't believe I'm dying this fast. Speaking of speed, I have definitely broken a record. His hands trembled and clenched, his voice full of sorrow. Even seeing snacks doesn't make me hungry anymore. This time it might really be the end. But just as he expected the pain of a bite, a brilliant light suddenly erupted. The zombies touching the light immediately froze, stopping their attack to his utter amazement. They left one by one as if he were invisible. The astonished Taio Luong shouted, "What's wrong? Are those zombies blind or something?" The system sighed helplessly at his slow-wittedness. "I already told you it was a golden finger. How can it just be a piece of cloth?" He excitedly picked up the cloth to examine it. "So this is what protected me." He couldn't help but hug it tightly, my treasure. It's just like a golden watch in iron armor. Suddenly he remembered something and turned to ask the system, "By the way, is this function only effective against zombies? What about other mutated creatures?" The system replied, "This item can block all forms of attack. As long as you are within the stall's range, nothing outside can harm you." Taio Luong's eyes widened in delight and he jumped up. He hummed, spinning and dancing. I close my eyes with a stall in my hand. I'm invincible. The system immediately cut short his daydream. Don't celebrate too soon. The stall's blocking function can only be used 3 times a day. If you don't complete the mission in time, the function will become invalid. "The sun will set in half an hour," it continued. "After dark, the zombies will be more active. Please hurry, host." Taio Luong sighed. This place was just cleared out by zombies. "There's no one left. Who do you want me to find for my first customer?" Suddenly a voice echoed from the distance. "We were so lucky today to get so much ammo." 3 men who looked like they were in a group strolled over. The leader said, "I didn't expect this extra score. The boss is in for a surprise when we get back." The man beside him chimed in. "If the boss is happy, he will definitely reward us." Taio Luong rejoiced inwardly. They're playing right into my hands. When the 3 men noticed him, he quickly set up his goods on the cloth, looking like a real vendor. The 3 asked curiously, "What is that?" They looked around the stall. "Isn't this fruit candy? Why would something like this be here?" He smiled brightly and replied, "My small shop has more than just fruit candy. We also have potato chips, shrimp crackers, and soda. Would you guys like some?" The 3 cheered as if they'd found treasure. "They really are potato chips, and there's beef jerky, too. I haven't had soda in 3 years. I almost forgot the taste." Taio Luong continued, "It is my first day of business. Since fate brought you to me, not 98, but for just 50 crystal cores, you can take all these snacks home. How about it? It is a great deal, isn't it?" The 3 men suddenly went silent, glancing at each other before bursting into laughter. "This kid dares to ask us for money. He must be an idiot." The masked man picked up a bottle of Coke, his other hand holding a gun. He said in a low voice, "I'm in a good mood today. Leave the stuff and get lost. Or I'll let you have a taste of hot iron." Taio Luong frowned at them, then suddenly stepped forward and snatched the Coke back, muttering, "I thought I'd found my saviors." Who knew it would be a waste of time? The masked man immediately aimed his gun at Taio Luong, his killing intent radiating like a cold blade. "You're asking to die, kid." A loud shot rang out. But at the same time, Taio Luong's invisible shield activated. Not only did the bullet not hit him, but the gun also exploded in the man's hand. The explosion stunned the masked man, sending his body flying several meters before he landed unconscious. His panicked accomplices stared wide-eyed. What happened? Why did the gun backfire? Could this kid have superpowers? The other man shook his head, his voice trembling. "No way!" "I have never heard of such a strange superpower." Taio Luong ignored their chatter, happily pressing his face against the cloth and cooing, "This is amazing, my treasure. It can even reflect bullets." The other 2 men looked at his foolish expression and couldn't help but whisper, "No matter how you look at him, he's just an idiot." One of the 2 spoke up, his voice suspicious. "Speak. Who the hell are you, and what tricks are you playing?" Taio Luong replied in a drawn-out voice, "You simpletons. In this world there are countless superhumans, but there is only one chosen one." He rubbed his hands with a sly grin. "So for just 50 crystal cores, you get a bunch of snacks plus a free photo and autograph. Are you sure you don't want to reconsider?" Feeling insulted, the 2 men roared in anger. "What chosen one do you think were 3-year-olds? It must have been a faulty gun. Watch me shoot you dead." Seeing how stubborn they were, Taio Luong sighed helplessly. They really don't listen, bringing trouble on themselves. One of them threw a powerful fiery punch at him. But as expected, the punch was blocked by the invisible shield. The recoil sent him screaming in pain, clutching his arm. "Oh no, my arm!" Witnessing the plight of his 2 comrades. The remaining blond man began to hesitate, his feet frozen in place. Seeing him falter, the other 2 yelled, "What are you standing there for? Kill him!" Cao Tiu Luong said nothing, just silently staring at the blond man. His gaze was knife-sharp, making the man tremble in fear. He raised his hand as a blue electric current crackled in his palm. Then he shouted, "Hey!" The blond man flinched, took a step back, then turned and ran like the wind. "This kid is a monster, I don't want to die." His two accomplices were stunned by his cowardice. They roared in anger. "Don't leave us behind, you spineless coward!" Then the two of them said nothing more, and ran for their lives. Cao Tiu Luong called after them, "Don't run. I just want to ask if there are other people around here." Suddenly he noticed a strange object. A burlap sack lay on the ground, clearly left behind by those three men. He looked at it curiously. "What's this?" The top of the sack suddenly moved. He jumped back, startled. It moved. Unable to contain his curiosity, he poked the sack a few times. Is it some kind of animal? He then carefully untied the rope. A living being immediately leaped out of the sack. He watched stunned, realizing it was a woman with shimmering silver hair. It was like a sparkling waterfall in the orange sunset. Her body was alluring, with a slender waist and full chest exuding a captivating beauty. She turned her head and her eyes met his. Cao Tiu Luong was dazed and blurted out, "So beautiful." But immediately the silver-haired woman's eyes widened, a crazed light flashing in them. She lunged at him like an arrow. A terrified Cao Tiu Luong turned and fled. "This is no time to admire a beauty," he yelled, his voice cracking. "She's obviously a zombie." Her hand smashed down where he had just stood. It created a terrifying force that shook the ground. He narrowly dodged it, then looked up in fear at the monster. He exclaimed, "What the? How can a zombie be this fast?" In his panic, his hand brushed against a black object on the ground. Without a second thought, he threw it at her. The silver-haired woman raised her hand to block it. The intense chase continued. Using his prior experience, Cao Tiu Luong ran straight for his stall, hastily grabbing his precious cloth and quickly packing up his goods. He cursed as he packed, "Damn it, I used all 3 chances. I should have saved one. If I get caught now, I'm finished." He was about to run again, but when he looked up, the silver-haired woman flew over his head. She landed softly in front of him. Startled, he fell backward, scattering snacks everywhere. The silver-haired woman stared at him, energy gathering in her hand, preparing to deliver the finishing blow. Facing this overwhelming power, Cao Tiu Luong could only scream in despair, "Don't come any closer." Despite his fear, he kept picking up the fallen snacks and throwing them at her. This only seemed to make her angrier. Not giving up, he grabbed another bag of snacks. Without looking, he threw it forward and closed his eyes, awaiting his fate. But after a moment, nothing happened. He timidly opened his eyes, stunned to see the silver-haired woman happily chewing on dried squid. She gulped with a satisfied look as if she had just enjoyed a delicacy. Cao Tiu Luong was stunned. This zombie likes dried squid. After she finished eating, she crawled towards him, her eyes sparkling and drool dripping from her mouth, looking like she wanted more. He frantically fumbled on the ground, screaming internally. "Oh no, there's no more dried squid. What do I do now?" His mind raced as he muttered, "I wonder if she'll eat other things." He clumsily picked up a bag of snacks. He tore it open and threw a piece forward. She immediately opened her mouth, caught it, and chewed with a satisfied look. He sighed in relief. This is great. Tossing snacks, he slowly backed away until he reached a deep crevice. Below, a strange red glow emanated from a stream of molten lava. Without hesitation, he threw the bag of snacks into the crevice. The silver-haired woman immediately lunged after it without a second thought. Standing above Cao Tiu, Luong wiped his sweat and sighed in relief. "I'm saved. Now that you've had your snacks, you can't eat me anymore, okay?" As he was about to leave, he suddenly spotted something shiny on the ground. He picked it up and examined it closely. "This dagger is high grade." Then he gasped. Engraved on the hilt was a golden gear symbol. He immediately recognized it as the mark of the Thunderclap Legion, the most notorious bandit organization in the apocalypse. I remember their leader is an evolved being with terrifying power. His underlings are all reckless thugs who use their numbers to pillage so brazen they even ignore the military. Thinking of this, Cao Tiu Luong broke out in a cold sweat. Could those 3 from earlier have been their people? No wonder they were carrying so many ammo clips. He put the dagger away and bent down to pick up the sack that held the silver-haired woman. "This bag isn't bad. It's sturdy enough. Might be useful later." As he picked it up, he accidentally opened the sack's mouth. He found another small bag inside. Curious, he muttered, "What's this?" He opened it and was stunned to see it was full of sparkling crystal cores. Talk about a lucky break. He exclaimed excitedly, "These are crystal cores! So many there must be 50 of them." He clutched the bag like a treasure. Happiness came so suddenly. I can't believe I completed the mission this quickly. The system suddenly appeared, throwing cold water on his excitement. These crystal cores were found by you, not earned from sales, so they don't count towards the stall's income. Taio Luong immediately retorted, "Why not let me ask you? Did that female zombie just now eat the dried squid and beef jerky or not? And did she leave these crystal cores behind?" The system encountered this situation for the first time. It stammered, not knowing how to respond. "But she's a zombie." Taio Luong didn't care and continued to argue. "You're trying to cheat. You never said the customer had to be human. With such a narrow mindset, how can you grow and achieve great success?" Seeing the system was still silent, he flopped onto the ground and pretended to cry. "Besides, it's dark now. I can't find anyone else. If you're going to break your promise and kill me, then just do it." The system was out of options, muttering a curse under its breath. "Damn it, I'm caught in a bug." Then it announced loudly, "Congratulations, host, for completing the mission. You've received reward points, space has been unlocked, and the stall has been upgraded." A magnificent, dazzling cart appeared before his eyes. It far surpassed the original ragged cloth. All the tools on the cart were clean and tidy. Taio Luong stared blankly for a long time. When he came to his senses, he opened the notification panel to check. This is the legendary storage space, but inside there were only 4 items: water, rice, meat, and vegetables. He turned to the system and asked, "Is this all? I've seen other people's storage spaces with all kinds of medicine weapons, even planes and cannons." The system replied scornfully, "We are a stall system, not an armory. You haven't even left the newbie village and you're already asking for a bicycle." Taio Luong muttered, "I'm stuck." He then asked, "What can these reward points be exchanged for?" The system replied, "Item catalogs and attribute values. However, with your current points, your access to the space is minimal, so the only things you can exchange for are these." The screen displayed current points 21, toothbrush 300 points, bowl 450 points, soap 200 points, scissors 250 points. Taio Luong scratched his head and sighed. "This is really pathetic." He continued sadly, "Although the stall can block attacks, I only get 3 chances a day. Besides, I can't hide in it 24 hours. Right now, the most important thing is to improve my self-defense ability." Without hesitation, he told the system, "Xiao convert everything into physical strength points." The system happily accepted the order. Received host, physical strength +1, conversion complete. One person and one system looked at each other, waiting for the result. But after a long wait, nothing changed. Taio Luong was disappointed. "I don't see any changes." The system made no comment. It just announced a new mission. Earn 100 crystal cores and hire 1 waitress within 24 hours. Taio Luong's face fell. 100 cores, that's too many, and what's a waitress? The stall is so small, do I have to share it with someone else? Just then, a gust of wind blew a piece of paper straight into his face. On it was a picture of a waitress in a maid outfit with the words, "Welcome, esteemed guest." He looked at the paper and muttered, "This is from the milk tea shop across the street." Memories flooded back. "I remember this girl. She used to come to school to hand out flyers and even offered me a free sample." The memory made him wistful. "I wonder how she is now, if she's still alive." But his seriousness didn't last long as his imagination ran wild. He daydreamed about the beautiful blonde girl in a maid outfit calling him boss. The image energized him. He cheerfully pushed his cart. He shouted, "I feel motivated all of a sudden." The scene shifts to the lava-filled crevice. A dark figure suddenly leaped into the air. It was the silver-haired woman he had tricked into jumping down earlier. She looked around and slowly stood up. She had a sad, pensive look on her face. Then she ran off in an unknown direction for no reason. Dawn broke. Taio Luong, who had been pushing his cart all night, finally stopped in front of a ruined shop. He cautiously poked his head in and called softly, "Anyone here?" 4 zombies heard the sound and slowly tilted their stiff necks to look at him. Seeing the situation was bad, he quickly closed the door and said respectfully, "Sorry to bother you." Then, without another word, he turned and ran for his life. "Aren't these the same zombies I met yesterday? Why won't you just let go?" The system replied in a monotone voice, "They were here before you. You're the one who's haunting them." The zombies with their mouths wide open like bloody basins chased him frantically. One with incredible jumping power leaped and charged straight at the cart. As expected, it was knocked several meters away by the defensive shield. But Taio Luong wasn't happy. He yelled regretfully, "The block function can only be used 3 times a day. I can't waste it like this." With that said, he pushed the cart and fled as fast as he could. In a place he didn't notice, the zombie that was just knocked away began to mutate strangely. It let out a terrifying roar, its body contorting into an unnatural position. Then it crawled towards him at an incredible speed, opening its mouth to bite his heel. Taio Luong noticed in time and quickly dodged the zombie's snap. He cursed angrily. "Damn it, trying a sneak attack, are you?" As he spoke, he landed a powerful kick on its face. The zombie flew through the air and slammed into a vending machine on the roadside. The loud noise made the other zombies pause. The vending machine toppled over with a crash, crushing the zombies that couldn't get out of the way. Taio Luong was stunned by the scene. "Did I do that?" One kick and its head was crushed. He cheered excitedly, so the strength enhancement was real. The system spoke up, "Congratulations, host, for successfully killing your first zombie. Reward newbie gift pack. 1 disposable raincoat." Taio Luong examined the item and muttered, "Isn't this just a piece of plastic? What's the use?" The system explained, "Don't underestimate this raincoat. It's made from high-tech material. Not only is it waterproof and warm, but it also blocks all harmful substances. You could swim in radioactive water with it on and not have to worry. But it's single-use only." Taio Luong was skeptical. Is it really that magical? Suddenly, countless hurried footsteps were heard. A horde of zombies was approaching. He looked around in alarm, seeing zombies everywhere, and exclaimed in panic, "Why are there so many zombies?" He thought to himself, "This is bad." The noise from before must have attracted them. A sense of despair washed over him. "It's a dead end, there's no escape." Just then, a soft voice came from behind him. "Over here." It was a girl in a maid outfit hiding behind a door and waving at him. "Quick, come here." Taio Luong looked down and saw the zombies pinned under the vending machine squirming their way out. In front, a dense horde of zombies was ready to charge at any moment. Without hesitating, he pulled his cart and dashed to where the girl was. The door quickly slammed shut, blocking the zombies outside. He panted and said, "Thank you so much. If it weren't for you just now, I would have been in big trouble." But when he got a closer look, he exclaimed in surprise, "It's you." The girl looked confused. "You know me." Meeting an acquaintance in these chaotic times made him overjoyed. "I'm a student from School A. You used to come to my school to promote milk tea and even offered me a drink. Don't you remember me?" The girl smiled brightly. "Of course I remember. I even remember you were great at basketball and especially liked peach bubble tea." But in her heart, she thought differently. He's no heartthrob, just average looking. There were so many people like that in college, how could I possibly remember? Gao Xiaoliang, not sensing the deceit, naively replied, "But I was on the soccer team and I don't even like peaches." The girl quickly shut up, nudged his shoulder, and changed the subject. "That's not important. Anyway, it's great to see you again." Gao Xiaoliang instantly forgot about it, only thinking so soft. After chatting for a while, he remembered to ask, "Oh, right. I still don't know your name," she replied. "I'm Ai Qin." He introduced himself. "I'm Gao Xiaoliang." Ai Qin gave a sweet smile and called out Brother Liang. That call made him tremble, turn around, and sob. "This is the first time in my life a girl has called me brother, and such a beautiful one at that. I'm so happy." Ai Qin was speechless. "What are you crying about?" Suddenly a sound rang out. Gao Xiaoliang cautiously turned his head and shouted, "Who's there?" He walked over and picked up a can rolling on the ground, thinking to himself, "This is..." Another sound came from the closed door next to him, startling him. Gao Xiaoliang cautiously approached the mysterious door. As he reached for the doorknob, Ai Qin's panicked voice suddenly came from behind a rat. She threw herself into his arms as if to stop him from opening the door, whining Brother Liang. "I saw it. It was a rat." Gao Xiaoliang was pulled away by her. He asked, "Where's the rat?" She answered vaguely, trying to distract him. "It ran over there." "I'm so scared." But in a blind spot, he couldn't see a head silently peeked out from behind the door, its eyes glinting dangerously. Ai Qin let out a cry and fell backward, pretending to faint. Gao Xiaoliang frantically caught her, asking worriedly, "Ai Qin, what's wrong?" She replied weakly, "Brother Liang, I'm so hungry. I've been trapped here for 5 days with nothing to eat." He snapped his fingers and smiled. "So you're just hungry. That's simple." He ran back to his cart and said, "Wait a moment. I'll make some food for you." He sat down, rummaging through the goods in his cart, happily muttering, "What should I make? How about noodles, buns, chicken wings, Coke would be nice too." Ai Qin coldly observed his naive appearance, thinking food. She stood up and looked at the cart, seeing eggs and oil, rare items in these chaotic times. She was secretly amazed. Where did this guy find so much food? A dangerous smile appeared on her lips. "I didn't expect a fat sheep. This is going to be a big score." Ai-Chin reached out to grab an egg, but as soon as she picked it up, it vanished. She tried a few more times with the same result. That was the system's rule. The snack cart's ingredients couldn't be stolen and would automatically return to their original position without the owner's permission. Ai-Chin, unaware of this, started to get suspicious. What's going on? Am I hallucinating? But she didn't dwell on it and decided to change her approach. Never mind. I'll deal with this guy first. Everything in this cart will be mine. She reached behind her back, intending to grab the hidden knife. But she fumbled around and couldn't find it. She panicked. Where did it go? Gao Xiaoliang suddenly spoke up. Are you looking for this? Ai-Chin was stunned to see her knife in his hand. That's mine. How did you get it? He recalled that when she pretended to faint, he had quickly taken the knife from behind her back. He gave a sly grin and said, When you're cooking, of course you need a knife. But my little shop just opened and I don't have the right tools. I'm just borrowing it for a bit. You don't mind, do you? Ai-Chin forced a smile. Of course not. But inside, she was terrified. How did he know I had a weapon? Has he been wary of me all along? Seeing the situation was not in her favor, she quickly explained, Brother Liang, don't get me wrong. You know how hard it is for a girl to survive in the apocalypse. I use this knife for self-defense. Gao Xiaoliang replied casually. How could I misunderstand? Of course I believe you. Ai-Chin timidly asked, So when you're done using it, can you give the knife back to me? He nodded. Of course. He handed the knife towards her, not forgetting to add, But this knife is very sharp. I'd advise you not to use it. Ai-Chin gripped the knife. Her wicked smile contrasted with her gentle voice. Is that so? As soon as she finished speaking, she sprang up, her initial weakness gone. She lunged, thrusting the knife towards him, yelling, You stupid, gullible man. You deserve to die. But before the knife could touch him, a defensive shield activated, flinging Ai-Chin away. She screamed in pain. Gao Xiaoliang cleaned his ear and sighed. I told you not to use it recklessly. Why don't you ever listen? Ai-Chin fell to the ground, staring wide-eyed at him. You're a superhuman. Despite this, she didn't back down. Instead, she became even more furious. This kid. You tricked me! I'll fight you to the death! She leaped up, dust flying everywhere, sparks flashing at her feet. Gao Xiaoliang remained unfazed, calmly pulling out a defensive spray. He sprayed it once towards Ai-Chin. Caught off guard, she was hit, squeezing her eyes shut and screaming, It burns! Ai-Chin rolled on the ground, clutching her swollen eyes, crying incessantly, My eyes! Gao Xiaoliang laughed gleefully, holding up a jar of mustard. Why didn't you say sooner you can't handle spicy food? I always pay attention to my customers' tastes. He continued to sprinkle mustard on Ai-Chin's face, saying, Do you like barbecue? How about a little more mustard? Ai-Chin begged in pain. Stop, please stop. Gao Xiaoliang raised his voice and called towards the door. Is the person in there not coming out yet? If you don't, your accomplice is going to be pickled. The door remained shut, opening only a tiny crack, then suddenly burst wide open. Two children, a boy and a girl holding clubs, rushed out, shouting in unison, Let our boss go! Gao Xiaoliang was a bit surprised by this scene. The boy said aggressively, Boss, don't be afraid, we're here to save you. The girl, though her eyes were teary, bravely shouted, You villain, don't hurt our boss, Gao. Xiaoliang easily grabbed both of them with little effort. He scolded them in a stern voice. So young, and instead of studying, you formed a gang to harm others. The two children shouted in unison, Let us go. Ai-Chin struggled to get up, yelling, Don't hurt them. If you've got guts, come after me, Gao Xiaoliang replied coldly. You said it. He threw the two kids towards her, and all three tumbled to the ground. He entered the secret room and saw food and drinks piled everywhere. He listed them off Nice. Instant noodles, cookies, canned goods. He stroked his chin, smiling as he looked at the three culprits tied up in the corner. Looks like quite a few people were tricked before me. Seeing how calm he was, Ai-Chin asked, I've never made a mistake all this time. How did you figure it out? Gao Xiaoliang replied. Then I can only say those people were really stupid. He explained. You said you were trapped here for nearly 5 days without eating, but there was still soup left in the can. It was obviously just opened. Furthermore, there were fresh bloodstains on the ground over there, but you don't have any wounds. He concluded, so there is only one answer, someone else here is injured or dead. After his analysis, he muttered softly to himself, so dangerous. I almost became one of them. The boy said angrily, those people deserved it. If they weren't trying to take advantage of others, they wouldn't have been tricked. The girl chimed in. That's right. We've never scammed good people. The ones we tricked are all bad guys like you. Gao Xiaoliang, labeled a bad guy, was stunned and thought, how do I look like a bad guy? Ai-Chin spoke up, in this chaotic world, everyone is just trying to survive. They can't blame me. Gao Xiaoliang nodded. That makes sense. But then his tone changed and he flashed a fierce smile. So now that you've fallen into my hands, no matter what I want to do, you can't blame me either. Ai-Chin's face turned pale. What do you want to do? Gao Xiaoliang stared at the three of them and smiled. It's been a while since I've had fresh meat. Looks like I'll have a good meal today. The two kids panicked and started crying loudly. He's a cannibal! No, I don't want to be eaten! Despite his fierce expression, Gao Xiaoliang was inwardly pleased. How dare you two doubt my appearance? Scared you didn't. I learned your lesson. Ai-Chin shielded the two children, pleading, If you want to eat someone, eat me. They're still just children. Please let them go. The girl cried, Don't eat our boss. The boy said toughly, Adult meat isn't tasty. I'm a kid, my meat is tender. Eat me instead. But Gao Xiaoliang had only meant to scare them. He never expected the situation to turn out like this. He thought to himself, What's with this? These three scammers are so close it makes me look like the bad guy. Suddenly, the little girl started coughing violently. The boy cried out worriedly. Little sister Ai-Chin said Xiaoling is injured. If she's tied up, she won't be able to breathe. Gao Xiaoliang considered himself level-headed and not easily fooled. Trying to trick me into loosening the rope so you can stab me right. Xiaoling continued to cough nonstop. Seeing this, he wavered a little but still said stubbornly, This little girl's acting is even better than yours. The boy yelled, We're not tricking you! Ai-Chin pleaded. It's true she'll die like this. Seeing their urgency, he didn't untie them right away, but whispered, System, run a check. The system emitted a beam of light that surrounded the girl to scan her, then reported, This girl has a severe internal infection. It has festered and become septic. If not treated in time, she only has 3 days to live. While they were talking, Zhao Ling suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. Startled, Gao Xiaoliang quickly used his knife to cut the ropes. The ropes slowly came undone, and the little girl fell forward. Ai-Chin and the boy shouted in unison, Xiaoling, little sister. After taking off her outer shirt, he discovered a spreading blood stain on the bandage on her chest. Seeing this, Xiaotu Luong angrily cursed that it was a gunshot wound, and who could be so cruel to a child. Ngai Kam resentfully replied it was the Keen Loi Legion. She lowered her eyes and sadly recounted the story. Their mother was a regular at my shop. When the chaos erupted, their family was buying milk tea at the store. I had watched many apocalypse movies, so when I saw people on the street biting each other, I knew the situation was bad and immediately closed the shop. Soon after, the news announced a zombie virus outbreak and advised everyone not to go outside, so the customers stayed. At first, everyone was united and encouraged each other while waiting for rescue, but as time passed and food ran out, people's true nature was revealed. One man did not hesitate. He snatched a pack of bread from the two children's mother. The helpless mother said, Who are you? Your portion has already been taken, that is ours. He sneered back, They are so small, how can they get the same share as an adult? One portion is enough for the three of them. The mother tried to explain, My daughter is sick and can't go without food. Please give it back to me. The man looked down at the little girl, his voice cold, saying she looks like she won't live for 2 days anyway. Eating it would just be a waste. It's better to give it to someone else. The little boy jumped up and bit the man's hand hard. That's for my sister, you bad guy. The man flew into a rage, lifted the boy up high, and yelled, You little brat. You dare to bite someone, I will throw you to your death and save some food. The terrified mother rushed forward, screaming Zhao Luo. Ngai Kam couldn't stand it anymore and stepped out gently, tripping the man. He was caught off guard and fell to the ground. Ngai Kam caught Zhao Luo and scolded the man. Food is limited. What right do you have to rob others? The man cursed furiously. You call this food? Who can eat such a small piece of bread? Do you want us all to starve to death? Ngai Kam was speechless at this ridiculous logic. I don't owe you anything. If you want food, there's plenty outside. Go find it yourself. She looked at him like he was a coward who didn't dare fight zombies but only bullied women and children. The man got angry. You bitch, how dare you talk to me like that? A middle-aged woman in the shop interjected. Miss, there are so many people here. This little bit of food really isn't enough. Can you share more? Another customer added, That's right. When this chaos is over, we will pay you back double. Ngai Kam explained this is a milk tea shop, not a supermarket. I've already taken out all the food there is. A young girl pointed to a room and questioned, Have you really taken it all out? Then why is that door locked so tight? What's inside? Ngai Kam calmly replied, That's my changing room. There's nothing inside. The other person persisted. I don't believe you unless you open the door and let us see. Ngai Kam frowned why, but she couldn't fight the hungry crowd alone. People shouted her refusal proves there must be food inside. Letting everyone starve while you eat alone, how can you be so selfish? Zhao Luo and Zhao Ling's mother stood up to intervene. Everyone don't be like this. If not for the kind Miss Nai taking us in, we wouldn't have survived this long. We can't be so heartless. But when hunger overshadowed reason, these words were useless. Someone yelled, if it wasn't for her meddling, I would have gone home long ago. Another person added, that's right. If we had left earlier, we might have met the rescuers and retreated to the safe zone with the government forces. Guy Cam gave a bitter smile. What a bunch of ungrateful people. If you want to go, it's not too late to leave now. The aggressive man yelled, you bitch, you're getting cocky, aren't you? The crowd rushed to restrain Guy Cam. He boldly said, ignore her, break down the door. He yelled, don't let me find any food or you'll see how I deal with you. After a few strong rams, the door burst open. Inside were only women's dresses. The man was stunned and said, it really is just clothes. He walked in, looked around and mumbled, isn't this a milk tea shop? What's the point of so many dresses? A middle-aged woman said maliciously, I've long thought she wasn't a proper woman. A young girl chimed in. Good girls don't dress like that. It must be to seduce someone. Ngai Kam angrily shouted, don't go too far. Suddenly, a deafening explosion was heard from outside. An off-road vehicle smashed through the main door and drove straight into the shop. The front of the vehicle had an emblem of a gear and a lightning bolt. A man got out laughing loudly, there are people here. Everyone in the shop immediately became wary, who are you? The man's ferocious appearance made everyone guess he was here to rob them. As expected, he announced, we are the Kin Loi Legion. Anyone who doesn't want to die, hand over your food. The man who had yelled at Ngai Kam was now trembling and begging, please, please don't hit me, I was just passing by. He pointed at Ngai Kam, all the resources are in that woman's hands. She's the owner here. The members of the Kin Loi Legion grinned sinisterly and said one by one, there are women, not just one. It's been a long time since I've seen such a beautiful woman. Brothers, we get to eat some meat today. Ngai Kam only had time to shout run before grabbing the two children's hands, turning around and fleeing. Two robbers had restrained a young couple. The boy cried, I'll give her to you, just please don't kill me, spare me. The panicked girl screamed, no, save me. A blond man chased closely behind Ngai Kam, reaching out to grab her shoulder. Little girl, don't run. I'll send you to heaven. Ngai Kam twisted her wrist and a dagger appeared. She swung the dagger at him, cursing ecstatic, my ass. The surprised blond man roared, you bitch, you even hit a knife. He pulled out a gun and fired a shot, go die. The bullet should have hit Ngai Kam, but Xiao Ling suddenly rushed out to block it. The bullet pierced the little girl's shoulder. The incident horrified Ngai Kam, Xiao Luo, and the children's mother. They shouted in unison, Xiao Ling. The robbers' leader yelled, you idiot who told you to fire the gun, don't you know it will attract zombies? He turned and shot the young girl who had confronted Ngai Kam in the head. Seeing the situation was unfavorable, he no longer cared about the women, just wanting to loot all the supplies and retreat. He ordered, take everything, leave nothing behind. Anyone who tried to run was taken down by a bullet. In the end, only Ngai Kam, Xiao Luo, and Xiao Ling were cornered. With no escape, the children's mother suddenly rushed forward and hugged the man's waist to hold him back, shouting, run. Xiao Luo cried in fear, Mom. The man brutally hit her head, you damn woman, let go. But she didn't let go one bit. Don't worry about me or everyone will die. The mother weakly spoke her last words. Miss Ngai, please take care of Xiao Luo and Xiao Ling. Ngai Kam held back her tears, hugged the stunned Xiao Luo, gritted her teeth, and jumped through the window to escape. Seeing the three of them escape, the mother pulled the pin of a grenade on the man's thigh. The explosion blew the milk tea shop to dust. Back in the present, Ngai Kam sat listlessly on the ground and said, I promised Sister Lee I would protect them. To survive, I could only do this. She couldn't help but sob. I'm sorry, I'm useless. Xiao Ling woke up, reached out to wipe her tears, and obediently said, Boss, don't cry, Xiao Ling is not in pain. If Xiao Ling dies, will I get to see Mom? Ngai Kam quickly comforted her, Xiao Ling, you won't die. Xiao Luo said in a panic, I don't have a mother anymore. Little sister, please don't leave me. The system listened to the story and sobbed, they're so pitiful. Taio Luong glanced at it, pitiful now, but you showed no mercy when you tried to kill me earlier. He thought to himself in this chaotic world. Bringing two children along is not just a burden, but also causes trouble and increases the risk of death. For her to persevere until now, she must have a conscience. He turned to ask the system Xiao Air, don't you have medicine in your space? Is there anything that can cure this child? The system replied, there is, but you need to unlock a high-level space to use it. But your authority is insufficient. He pouted, you just said they were pitiful, now you'd watch them die without helping. You're a system, can't you be a little flexible? The system saw through his intention and replied flatly, You're trying to trick me into upgrading your authority, aren't you? Tiu Luong's face darkened, thinking to himself, I was found out so easily. This system is quite smart. Although the system couldn't grant him authority, it did offer another inflexible solution. But it's not that there's no way. The second function of the snack bar is that food handmade by the owner has healing properties. Tiu Luong got excited. Why didn't you say so earlier? This precious thing. Are there any other surprises I don't know about? The system calmly replied, the specific effect is related to your level. The higher the level, the better the effect. At your current level, you can only rely on luck. Tiu Luong rolled up his sleeves and decided, well, I have to give it a try. He looked at the eggs, flour, and oil on the table and thought, with only these ingredients, what can I make? An idea flashed in his mind, and he exclaimed, I've got it. He cracked eggs into a bowl, kneaded the dough, added seasoning, and cooked it in a pan. The fragrant smell made Ngai Kam's group curious. Xiao Luo wiped his drool and said it smells so good. A moment later, Tiu Luong held up the new pancake and said it's ready. Ngai Kam asked warily, What are you trying to do? He smiled. Don't worry, it's not poisoned. He gave the pancake to Xiaoling. This is an egg pancake, my favorite as a kid. Xiaoling, give it a try. The little girl took the pancake with a bright smile. Thank you, big brother. She took a bite and while chewing praised its fragrance, sweet, and delicious. Suddenly, Xiaoling's eyes widened and she jumped to her feet. Ngai Kam was shocked. Xiaoling, you can't get up yet. The dazed little girl said, I don't think I am in pain anymore. Ngai Kam, in disbelief, touched her forehead. Really, the fever is gone. Even her wound is starting to heal. Great, Tulak was excited. Does this mean my sister won't die anymore? That is amazing. Ngai Kam noticed something strange, looked at the egg tart, and asked, what did you put in it? No medicine can reduce a fever this quickly. Could it be your special ability? Tiu Luong replied, of course I can't tell you that. But Tulin has only just started to improve. To fully recover, she will need to eat my egg tarts for a while. He gave a sly smile. This was just a sample. Next time, I will definitely charge you. Ngai Kam pointed at the pile of food on the floor. No problem. As long as you can cure Tu Lin, all of this is yours. Tu Lak nodded. Yeah, Tiu Luong waved his hand, refusing. I have enough food. I don't need those things. He pointed at Ngai Kam and declared, I need you. Tu Lak shouted, you bastard. I knew you had bad intentions towards our boss. Tu Lin also said, I don't want to be cured anymore. Don't hurt our boss. Tiu Luong sighed in exasperation. What are these two kids thinking about all day? Do you have anything else on your minds? He turned to explain, I meant I want you to work for me as an employee at my snack stall. As for employee benefits, I will provide you with food and lodging, that is it. And Ngai Kam did not answer right away, conferring with the two kids. Tiu Lak said even though we don't know what his ability is, he seems very strong. Ngai Kam added, besides, if we follow him, we will get free food. We won't have to worry about food. Okay, Tu Lin chimed in. After a moment, the three of them agreed. All right, I will agree to your offer, but Tu Lak and Tu Lin must come with me. Tiu Luong looked at them, feeling a twinge of regret. I feel like I have made a terrible mistake. Ngai Kam took out a contract and smiled cunningly. Even though it is a chaotic world now, the working conditions still need to be clear. Everything will be according to the contract. Tiu Luong skimmed it and broke into a sweat. Work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 5 types of insurance, a pension fund, 2 days off, and public holidays. Overtime, pay attendance bonus, and a 13th month salary. He shouted angrily, you might as well just say it is a paid vacation. Ngai Kam ignored his sarcastic remark and demanded more. Also, the benefits for child labor must be calculated separately. Suddenly, a voice came from outside the door. The delicious smell is coming from here. A metal axe smashed through the glass door, shattering it. 4 beefy men walked in. The tallest one spoke just as I thought there are people here. Dai Trong had just walked in. He aimed right for the egg tart in Tu Lin's hand. See, I told you my nose is very sensitive. Tu Lak stood in front of the little girl and shouted, This is my sister's tart. Tiu Luong stepped forward to face Dai Trong. The man put his hand on the weapon on his back, threateningly. What, you want to fight? Yes. Contrary to the man's expectations, Tiu Luong rubbed his hands and smiled warmly. Brothers, the kid does not know any better. I am the owner of this food stall. Whatever you want to eat, I will make it fresh for you. Dai Trong turned to the person behind him. Boss, I want to eat. The boss named Yin Hong thought for a moment in silence, then stepped forward and asked, How much do you sell your egg tarts for? Tiu Luong quickly thought these guys do not look ordinary. They must have a lot of crystal cores. I can use this opportunity to complete my mission. He smiled and handed over a menu. "This is the menu. Please take a look." Loi Hong was shocked after reading it. What one egg tart costs 10 crystal cores? Cao Tiu Luong replied, "It is the apocalypse. It is tough. Rice and flour are exchanged with our lives. This price is already a steal." Loi Hong nodded in agreement. "That makes sense." He said generously, "Give me 10 of them." Cao Tiu Luong replied happily, coming right up. Dai Trong threatened, "If it is not delicious, I will smash both you and your cart." Cao Tiu Luong pouted and muttered whether it is delicious or not. "Is not up to me." Loi Hong heard him and glared. "What do you mean? Are you implying we are going to skip out on the bill?" At that moment, Ngai Kam walked over, held Loi Hong's arm, and said coquettishly, "Our boss is not good with words. Please do not be angry with him, sirs." Loi Hong's face turned red when he saw the beauty taking the initiative. Seeing that her trick was working, Ngai Kam continued to chatter, "Wow, your chest muscles are so big. You must be great at fighting zombies." Loi Hong was flustered by her and stammered, That is of course." His 3 underlings saw this and laughed mockingly. The boss's old habit is acting up again. Whenever he sees a pretty girl, his brain turns to mush and he starts stuttering. He held the scissors and dragged Hong away. "It will take a while to make so many egg tarts. Everyone please do not be impatient. Come in and wait." Loi Hong replied stiffly like a robot, Okay. As she passed by Cao Tiu Luong, she winked at him. He secretly praised her. The boss lady is truly top-notch. Hiring her as an employee was definitely the right choice. Cao Tiu Luong went behind the counter, turned on the stove, and started cooking. Loi Hong's 3 underlings sat nearby, drooling as they watched. A short while later, the fragrant egg tarts were ready. Everyone took one and bit into it. Cao Tiu Luong and Nai Kam held their breath, waiting for a reaction. As expected, Loi Hong exclaimed, "So delicious." Dai Trong was amazed. "It is the taste of my childhood." The green-haired girl said emotionally, "So nostalgic." The remaining guy sighed, "My deskmate Tu Puong loved this the most." Loi Hong threw him a large bag of crystal cores, as promised. He praised, "Boss, your skills are pretty good." Cao Tiu Luong happily accepted it. "You are too kind." Loi Hong asked further, "I see you have many items on your menu besides egg tarts. What else do you have?" He replied a lot and then listed fried chicken. Meat skewers, spicy mala soup, grilled squid skewers, sausages, donuts, fried dough sticks, tofu and soy sauce, Coke, beer, plum juice, and also. Loi Hong cut him off. "Do not say anymore. Give me 10 of each." Cao Tiu Luong was in a difficult position, "But I only have flour and eggs on hand. To make these dishes, I need many ingredients, which are probably not easy to find these days." Loi Hong said confidently, "That is simple. Whatever ingredients you need, just name them. There is nothing I cannot find." Cao Tiu Luong frowned, thinking such a big talker. Ngai Kam leaned in and whispered, "From the looks of them, they might be apocalypse merchants if we let them supply us. Then we won't have to risk our lives looking for ingredients anymore." He nodded. "That is right." After conferring, Cao Tiu Luong put on a friendly smile. "Boss, I wonder what your prices are for supplying ingredients." "Can we cooperate long-term in the future?" Ngai Kam added coquettishly. "Please give us a good price, sir. At worst, the next time you visit our stall, it will be on the house." Loi Hong and Dai Trong looked at each other, surprised by the address boss. The underlings burst out laughing. "That is right, our big brother is indeed a boss, but he does business with no capital." Upon hearing this, Cao Tiu Luong and Ngai Kam's faces darkened. Loi Hong suddenly remembered something and turned to Dai Trong. "Why is a Hus group taking so long?" Dai Trong replied. "I have already sent people to look for them. I left signs along the way. They will find their way here." Outside, an off-road vehicle rolled up. A man ran in, frantically reporting boss bad news. He said a Hus group is injured. Everyone looked grimly towards the door. 4 tattered and ragged people stumbled in, supporting each other. Cao Tiu Luong recognized them immediately. He had a bad feeling. So these brats finally dragged themselves back. Loi Hong was stunned by the pathetic state of Ahu and his men. One was nearly lame, another had a bandaged arm, and their clothes were dirty and smelly. He asked urgently, "Who beat you guys up like this?" Loi Ahu looked at his big brother as if seeing a savior, his eyes welling up with tears. "Big brother, you are here." A little fox was beaten until its tail was cut off. Another guy, raising his arm in pain, described him. It was a kid with a food stall who said he was some chosen one. Loi Hong shouted angrily, "Nonsense. This is not a novel. There is no such thing as a chosen one in this world." Dai Trong, full of fighting spirit, clapped his hands. "That is right. Even if there is one, we will only know after our big brother has a go at him." The underling sighed, pointed at his own miserable state, and said resentfully, "We did not believe it at first either, but that kid is very strange. All of our attacks were reflected back at us, and we ended up with internal injuries like this." Loi Hong looked at Dai Trong puzzled. Attacks being reflected, is he an ability user? Dai Trong thought for a moment and shook his head. I have never heard of this type of ability. Meanwhile, Cam, after witnessing Cao Tu Luong's performance, was dazed, thinking to herself what a strange ability. She suddenly recalled the power from his cloth, a force like a sound wave that almost blew her away. After hearing the Thunder Legion's men, Cam secretly observed Cao Tu Luong and looked worriedly at Loi Hong. What they are saying, could it be he is about to be discovered? The people from the Thunder Legion have found their way here. Cao Tu Luong tiptoed quietly, planning to sneak away. He muttered, "Got a bolt. Time to go." Suddenly, Cam pointed at him and shouted, "So it was you! You traitor, you despicable person!" Loi Hong trembled with rage, his eyes turning bloodshot as his anger flared. He roared, "I do not care what his background is. Anyone who dares to touch my Loi Hong's people must die." Cam was stunned as if struck by lightning. Cao Tu Luong stood frozen, not daring to move. Tu Lin and Tu Lok, with tears in their eyes, said, "We have heard of this name before." "It is Loi Hong." Cam stepped forward and asked directly, "Are you Loi Hong, the leader of the Thunder Legion?" Dai Trang answered on his behalf, "That is right." The underling who had just been beaten looked at her smugly. "So it turns out we are this famous, huh?" Loi Hong blushed, forgetting his main task upon seeing the pretty girl. He laughed loudly, "For your sake, young lady, if you have any trouble in the future, just come find me." Before he could finish, Tu Lin and Tu Lok rushed forward with their fists raised about to hit him. As Tu Lin shouted, "You are the leader of that group of people." Zhao Luo continued, "You bastard, your people were the ones who hurt my sister and my mother, Lei Hong," and Tu lifted them up with one hand each despite their struggles and asked in surprise, "What are you kids going crazy about? Who killed your mom?" Da Zhuang and the blonde guy were also confused. Da Zhuang rubbed his head. "It's a misunderstanding. Although we are robbers, we have never harmed children and women." The blonde guy nodded. "That's right." A minute later, Ai Jin erupted with spiritual energy, rushed forward, and kicked at Lei Hong, her voice cold. "I'd have to be a fool to believe you let them go." Lei Hong leaned back to dodge. He tossed Zhao Ling and Zhao Luo aside. The two kids landed safely, but Zhao Luo almost couldn't bear it when Zhao Ling sat on him. Lei Hong and Ai Jin fought fiercely. A series of her kicks missed. As Lei Hong nimbly dodged, Ai Jin grew angrier, using all her spiritual energy to attack, while the henchmen watched and cheered enthusiastically. The blonde guy nodded. "This woman is really skilled." Da Zhuang laughed loudly. "Now, this is a good show." But he worried that the boss has a weakness for not hitting women. "What should we do now?" The whole gang shouted. "Go for it!" Boss Lei Hong's face flushed as he muttered, "This weakness is just being shy around girls. What else could it be?" He only blocked Ai Jin's leg and looked at his gossiping underlings angrily. "These kids are just watching the fun. Why aren't they coming to help?" The green-haired girl said cheerfully, "Boss, this is a psychological problem you need to overcome on your own." Lei Hong and Ai Jin continued to chase and dodge, draining their spiritual power. The sound of the fight attracted a mysterious creature in the hole in the roof. Its giant tentacles covered the hole and slime dripped onto the floor. Gao Xiaoliang watched with delight, enemies meeting. What a familiar scene. But he was suddenly startled. "Oh, damn it," he counted on his fingers. "I only have one chance left today." Panicked, he rushed to the cart, intending to sneak it away to the safe zone. Ah Hu saw him and shouted along with the bald guy, "It's him, he's the chosen one." Lei Hong turned to where his men were pointing. "It's you." He grabbed Ai Jin's leg and threw her away without mercy. She cried out in pain as she fell. Da Zhuang came over and grabbed both her hands. She struggled, but he held her tight and said wearily, "Just behave, will you? Today is your last day." Lei Hong blocked Gao Xiaoliang's path, cracking his knuckles, his voice bitter. "You beat my brothers and took my crystal cores. It's been a long time since anyone has messed with me like this. Go meet your ancestors." Gao Xiaoliang played dumb, resting his chin on his hand and smiling. "Big bro, this is all just a misunderstanding." His confident smile made Ah Hu and the bald guy jump up in frustration. "Boss, don't listen to him. This kid is an expert at playing weak to ambush the strong. It's because we underestimated him that we're in this mess." Zhao Ling and Zhao Luo ran over and protested fiercely. The two kids shouted, "Big brother is not a pig. Big brother is very strong," Zhao Ling added. "That's right. He's 100 times stronger than your boss," Ai Jin chimed in from afar. "Our boss is a real man, unlike some people who act tough but are weak inside." He doesn't even dare to hit a woman. Hearing both sides gossip about him, Lei Hong felt like steam was coming out of his ears, thinking this is a hopeless situation. Gao Xiaoliang frustratedly shouted, "Can you all just shut up?" Lei Hong erupted with demonic energy, clenched his fist, and charged forward. "Enough nonsense. Let me see what you're made of." Powerful demonic energy radiated as he punched the floor. In an instant, the floor shattered and cracked. Terrified, Gao Xiaoliang scrambled backwards from the cracks. Demonic energy billowed up with blazing flames, heating the entire area. Just as his name suggests, Lei Hong was surrounded by the pressure of fire and thunder. In the black smoke, his tall figure loomed in a corner. Every breath sounded like a crackling fire, making the flames ahead of him rage even stronger. No one dared to get near, not even his henchmen. After a while, as Lei Hong's anger subsided, the flames gradually died down. Hijian was speechless, unable to move, her mouth agape. She exclaimed, "A concrete floor this hard was shattered by a single punch." Xiaoling and Xiao Luo huddled together in fear. "That's terrifying." "Is he a monster?" Da Zhuang laughed smugly. "The power of an ability user is already monstrous, not to mention our boss is the best of the best," Ah Hu said proudly. "Now do you know who you're messing with?" Gao Xiaoliang quietly observed Lei Hong, astonished by the technique he had just used. "Is this the power of an ability user? If that punch had hit, even a light touch would have shattered my bones before he could compose himself." Lei Hong rushed in with a punch as hard as steel. Gao Xiaoliang nimbly dodged. Lei Hong sneered, "What are you spacing out for now? Weren't you so arrogant a moment ago? Show me what you've got, you trash who only knows how to run." He furiously channeled his spiritual energy, intending to end it with one punch. "So who's the woman now?" Lei Hong threw a barrage of punches at Gao Xiaoliang. He desperately blocked the fiery fists with both hands. The immense power made him tremble as shockwaves echoed with every blow. Gao Xiaoliang coughed up blood. Although he survived, he was severely injured internally. Lei Hong watched in surprise. "This kid took so many of my hits and didn't turn into a meat paste. He's truly stronger than an ordinary person." This made him even more determined to defeat him. He threw a few more punches, his voice mocking, "But you're still a long way from being my opponent." Xiaoling and Xiao Luo cowered in a corner in fear. Xiaoling cried loudly, tugging on her brother's sleeve. "Big brother can't take it anymore." Gao Xiao Luo said sadly, "Does this mean we won't get to eat chicken drumsticks anymore?" Hijian stood still, her face dark, thinking, "If that guy dies, everything on the cart will be ours." Gao Xiaoliang angrily dodged Lei Hong's iron fist. He hadn't intended to fight back at first, but his opponent's crazy actions enraged him. He shouted, "You guys are the real scum!" Lei Hong laughed loudly, completely unimpressed. "Some chosen one you are." Just as I thought, a lunatic who's read too many novels, an iron fist slammed into Gao Xiaoliang, pinning him to the wall in pain. He grimaced and forced his eyes open to look at Lei Hong. The wound on his stomach was bleeding, soaking his shirt. The pain made him kneel. He covered the wound with his hand and slowly got up. His clothes were in tatters, revealing numerous injuries. As he struggled to walk, he thought running away is not an option, but fighting him head-on, even with enhanced strength, won't hurt him. I have no chance of winning. Suddenly, he looked at the vending cart and thought gleefully, "But if I can just borrow that thing." The stronger the attack, the greater the rebound. Gao Xiaoliang immediately rushed towards the vending cart. Ignoring Lei Hong's surprise, he thought fearlessly, "I only have one chance." Lei Hong muttered smugly, "So you finally stopped running, huh? Now that's more like a man. Go to hell!" He unleashed a combo of punches, but he didn't expect that Gao Xiaoliang had no intention of fighting. He suddenly ducked and slid between Lei Hong's legs, yelling. With a cool attitude, he yanked Lei Hong's pants down to his ankles. Lei Hong was stunned, feeling a strange cold breeze on his lower body. His mind went blank. WTF. Lei Hong is exposed. Hijian was frozen in place, her eyes wide and unblinking. Xiaoling and Xiao Luo were stunned, their legs trembling. Lei Hong's henchmen witnessed their boss being publicly shamed and tried to suppress their laughter. Ah Hu and Da Zhuang looked away, but the blonde guy and the green-haired girl burst out laughing, so embarrassing, how hilarious. Gao Xiaoliang shouted excitedly, "It worked!" Lei Hong's eyes were bloodshot, blazing with killing intent. He roared, "You bastard!" He charged at him. "I'm going to kill you." Xiao Luo seized the opportunity and spotted a dagger on Da Zhuang's hip. As if possessed, the boy rushed forward and hit Da Zhuang in the groin. He screamed in pain and pushed Hijian away. Xiao Luo quickly snatched the dagger and ran towards Lei Hong, shouting, "Evil leader, I will avenge my mother." Hijian and Xiao Ling were horrified by the scene. Xiao Ling worried, "Oh my God, Xiao Luo has gone crazy." Da Zhuang immediately raised his gun and fired at Xiao Luo boss. Watch out, both sides attacked simultaneously. Gao Xiaoliang glared angrily at Da Zhuang's action. You bastard, and you claim you don't harm women and children. He pushed the vending cart towards Xiao Luo with all his might. Just as the bullet was about to hit him, the cart flew in front of him, blocking the shot. The bullet scraped against the cart, making a piercing sound. Xiao Luo cried out in fear, but the one in real danger was Gao Xiaoliang. Lei Hong charged forward, blazing with fire that swirled like molten lava. He roared, "Go to hell." Gao Xiaoliang lay there. He lamented inwardly, "What a cruel fate. I finally got the chance to be the protagonist, and now it's all over." He thought of Zhao Ling and Zhao Luo. Bitterly troublesome kids are the worst. He closed his eyes, bracing for the blow, but as the fiery fist was about to hit his face, it suddenly stopped. A loud explosion erupted, and the entire house was blown to bits. From within the black smoke, Bifi-Fay appeared. She walked forward, looking at everyone with cold, murderous eyes. Without a word, she charged straight at Ahu and Da Zhuang's group. Her first target was Lei Hong. Bifi-Fay launched a kick at him, leaving him both surprised and terrified. As her fair white legs neared his face, her eyes radiated a deadly aura, as if warning him for attacking Gao Xiaoliang. Lei Hong glanced down at her bouncing chest and muttered, "I've been had brothers." His mind reeled. He was both embarrassed and angry. Woe women. Gao Xiaoliang recognized her. "It's her," he said in surprise. Bifi-Fay. She used a spiritual art to kick Lei Hong away. Her movements were as swift as a flood, making him cry out in pain. Just a single blow from Bifi-Fay sent Lei Hong flying into a wall. The room exploded with a bang, sending up black smoke. A massive explosion shook the heavens and earth as Bifi-Fay stood there majestically. Seeing Lei Hong in trouble, his underlings realized the situation was bad. The blue-haired girl quickly asked her comrades, where did this person come from? The guy next to her was stunned. The boss was taken down. How is that possible? The blonde guy recognized Bifi-Fay, pointed at her, and said to his gang, "Isn't that the person we captured? She's a zombie." They immediately formed a battle formation. 2 heavy guns were quickly loaded and aimed at Bifi-Fay. Gunshots rang out as a blonde guy gave the order. "Brothers, get ready to fight. Be careful not to let her bite you." Hundreds of bullets rained down on Bifi-Fay, but she dodged them gracefully with her agile body, dodging every bullet without getting hit once. The blonde guy started to panic, dropping his weapon in amazement. Her movements are so fast. This is no ordinary zombie. It's a mutant type. Bifi-Fay leaped onto the roof of Taio Luong's food cart. Dai Trong immediately rushed forward, raising a sharp iron blade into the air, intending to fight her one-on-one. Witnessing this scene, Taio Luong was heartbroken. Not because he was worried about Bifi-Fay, but for the fate of his food cart. He yelled, "If you're going to fight, then fight, but don't damage my stall." He used all his strength to rush over and push the cart away. Thanks to this action, Bifi-Fay easily dodged the slash from Dai Trong. Another guy took advantage of the chaos, secretly took a sniper rifle aimed at Bifi-Fay and yelled, "Everyone get out of the way! This monster lady is about to eat one of my bullets." Taio Luong ran from afar, desperately trying to stop him. "Don't." The gunshot sounded like it was tearing his heart apart. The bullet flew towards Bifi-Fay, who was sitting casually on the cart's roof. She looked at the bullet as if it were just a toy. Suddenly, she jumped up, dodging the bullet's path. At first glance, it seemed the bullet would hit Taio Luong's cart and destroy everything, but Bifi-Fay still had some conscience. She grabbed the cart's handle and pulled it back slightly just as the bullet passed, helping the cart avoid the explosion. Taio Luong almost fainted from happiness, gesturing praise. Beautiful. The bullet flew straight into the wall and exploded violently. Lei Hong slowly sat up from the rubble. His body ached as he cursed, "Damn it, how dare you sneak attack me!" Before he could finish, a piece of wood flew from nowhere and smacked him on the head. Lei Hong collapsed in pain. "I'm in so much pain." "I'm down for the count. It's over." The blue-haired girl and the masked guy prayed silently, panikedly, calling out Boss Lei Hong with a lump on his forehead was too stunned to cry. He looked at the blonde guy and yelled, "Where were you aiming, huh?" That guy looked bewildered, scratching his head and playing dumb. "I wasn't paying attention. This is too cunning." Lei Hong jumped up, regained his composure, and ordered a full-scale attack. "Damn it, get him for me." The bald guy quickly reloaded and fired repeatedly at Taio Luong. "You're the chosen one, right? Let's see me turn you into a sieve." Lei Hong's men opened fire simultaneously. Hundreds of bullets flew like rain. Bifi-Fay was forced to find cover while Mr. Taio Luong, Xiao Luo, and Zhao Ling were scared out of their wits. The four of them clung to each other, fleeing in panic amidst the chaos under a dense rain of bullets. Taio Luong still didn't forget to worry about his beloved cart. Determined to drag it with him, he casually asked, "My cart isn't damaged, is it?" Mr. Cam rushed off without looking back, annoyed, and yelled, "What time do you think it is to be worrying about this shabby cart?" The whole group was in a tight spot, not knowing what to do. Taio Luong replied resentfully, "Of course now is the time. While they're being held up by that zombie, we should quickly escape. Are we supposed to stay here and take the bullets?" But Zhao Luo, though trembling with fear, still cursed loudly at the bandits. These scumbags. Tot nat labitang di antoidi. Bifi-Fay suddenly turned her head to look at Taio Luong's group fleeing in disarray. She puffed her cheeks in annoyance, thinking to herself, "They run pretty fast." Suddenly, she gripped the iron bar at her feet. Turning it into a powerful weapon, she decisively deflected every incoming bullet with extraordinary strength. Bifi-Fay threw the iron bar hard into the air. The iron bar, under her terrifying throwing force, spun like a giant pinwheel, piercing through the rain of bullets and hurtling straight towards the enemies. The leader was hit by the iron bar, so pained that he dropped the gun in his hand. One by one, their guns were sent flying, disrupting their aim and causing the bullets to spray chaotically everywhere. Taio Luong, Mr. Kam, Xiao Luo, and Zhao Ling could only huddle together behind the cart, breathing a sigh of relief. "We're finally going to live." Hu Dai Trong and his underlings turned and fled without daring to look back. At this rate, they were afraid of being beaten to a pulp. One of them screamed in panic, "Hurry up and stop this darn gun. Dying at the hands of your own teammate is just too unlucky. Don't fear a strong enemy, fear a stupid teammate." After a series of fierce shots, the gun finally lay still on the floor. The gunpowder smoke slowly cleared. The disheveled group slowly raised their heads cautiously, observing the situation. Some were hiding here, others were hiding there in all sorts of cool poses. The blonde guy cheered excitedly. "The gun has stopped." The blue-haired girl looked around in surprise. Why is she gone? The thing that puzzled them the most right now was, where did that female zombie go? On this side, Taio Luong's group, Mr. Cam and the two kids, Zhao Luo and Zhao Ling, also slowly got up, sneaking a peek to observe the situation, especially the enemy's side. Zhao Luo and Zhao Ling cautiously reported no movement. The group sighed in relief, finally able to relax a little. Taio Luong turned to everyone and said urgently, "Let's use this chance to run quickly." But he didn't expect that Bifi-Fay had suddenly appeared right in front of him. Her hair fluttered in the wind, looking like a hovering ghost. She was hanging from the cart's awning. She playfully swung the fist towards Taio Luong, intending to give him a scare. It was just a joke. The other four stared blankly, thinking Bifi-Fay was going to eat them. A moment later, the whole group took off running faster than a speeding bullet. Zhao Ling and Zhao Luo cried and begged, "Kids don't taste good." Out of habit, the frightened Mr. Cam tightly held the two kids' hands, not knowing if anyone was actually chasing them. But he screamed first anyway, "Don't bite me." Taio Luong agilely led the way, looking back in panic at the other three, thinking to himself, when did she start chasing us? Actually, Bifi-Fay had no intention of eating them. She was a vegetarian zombie after all. Watching Taio Luong's group run for their lives, she chuckled. It was quite fun after all. But the real danger was just now revealing itself. A monster was stealthily observing their every move. Using its tentacles to cling together, it slowly moved from above, looking down at the panicking Taio Luong. Bifi-Fay suddenly heard a strange noise from the roof. With her keen senses, she immediately realized the lurking danger. Without a word, she dashed like lightning towards Taio Luong, who was accelerating and running like mad. Taio Luong looked back and exclaimed in horror, "Oh my God!" His feet felt like they had wheels attached as he continued to dash away, screaming, "I have no grudge against you. Why are you only chasing me?" Just then, giant tentacles pierced through the ceiling. They shot down swiftly, sticky slime dripping down like spider webs. The monster attacked Taio Luong with its tentacles. He screamed, "Help me, guys!" Bifi-Fay looked at the hundreds of octopus tentacles. She was surprised for a moment, but immediately realized the danger. Her beloved Taio Luong was in danger. With a whoosh, Bifi-Fay accelerated, moving faster than the monster. Disregarding the danger, she blocked the monster's path. Just as the tentacles were about to touch her, the monster feared no one. It swung a few more giant tentacles, wrapping them tightly around Bifi-Fay and lifting her into the air. She struggled in pain, but it was useless. Taio Luong ran over to help, but he couldn't pull her out of the monster's grasp. In a moment of desperation, Bifi-Fay reached her hand out to him, her eyes helpless. Cao Tiu Luong's heart felt like it stopped. He stood there terrified, not knowing what would happen next. This giant octopus is so annoying. After playing around enough, it gently retracted its nasty tentacles, dropping Bifi-Fay. She free fell from above onto the cold, tiled floor. Slime from the tentacles flowed through a hole in the wall, dripping onto the floor and emitting a strong, foul smell. Finally, the monster decided to come out. It flew down from above like a bird, landing majestically. Its chubby body made a heavy impact. Cao Tiu Luong was almost crushed. The giant octopus blocked out, the surrounding light emitting a thick, mysterious black smoke. Its bright red eyes, like two fireballs, burned with resentment as it stared at Cao Tiu Luong. Yin Hong suddenly rushed out, roaring a reminder to his comrades, "That's a mutant creature!" The group immediately got into position to ambush it. A series of sniper rifles were fully loaded, ready to fire on Yin Hong's command. As soon as the order was given, artillery shells exploded, continuously aimed straight at the monster. The giant octopus was enraged. It swung its long tentacles like iron arms, forming a solid shield. In an instant, it agilely caught hundreds of bullets. Its thick skin was like an armored life vest. It puffed up, blocking all attacks. Bifi-Fay lay motionless in a pool of blood next to the wall. The serious wound made her lose consciousness. Cao Tiu Luong and Mr. Cam hurriedly ran to her side, filled with worry. Bifi-Fay grimaced and panted heavily. Blood from the wound soaked her body, making her even more exhausted. Mr. Cam stammered as he turned to Cao Tiu Luong. "It seems she was just protecting him." Cao Tiu Luong knelt down gently, holding Bifi-Fay, looking at the girl who ended up like this to protect him. His heart ached with an indescribable pain. Why Bifi-Fay, though weak, recognized Cao Tiu Luong's voice. She struggled to open her eyes, her blood-covered hands trembling, clutching something tightly. She held it out towards him. In her small, blood-stained hand, she held out a long, crumbled candy wrapper. Cao Tiu Luong immediately recognized the familiar wrapper. He paused as memories flooded back. This was from that time. He remembered the first time he met Bifi-Fay when he threw that piece of candy to her. Taking the wrapper from her hand, Cao Tiu Luong asked emotionally, "Did she come here just to give me this?" Bifi-Fay nodded slightly, only managing a few weak whimpers. Her strength was gone. She couldn't say anything more. Her eyes slowly closed from exhaustion. Xiao Luo stood beside them, eyes wide with astonishment. "She can understand what we're saying." Cao Tiu Luong immediately contacted the system, his voice urgent. "System, she's a zombie, so why is she acting so human?" The system quickly analyzed the data from Bifi-Fay's body. A stream of spiritual energy flowed through her. The system sent out continuous analysis signals, then it answered Cao Tiu Luong in surprise. Based on the analysis, the target's body does contain the zombie virus. Research shows that some special evolutionary mutations can restore partial brain function. Exhibiting intelligent behavior with an IQ equivalent to an intelligent animal or a 4-year-old child. Bifi-Fay groaned in pain, coughing violently as tears streamed down her face. Mr. Chin couldn't help but feel pity and spoke with concern. "It seems she's in a lot of pain." Xiao Luo asked innocently, "Can zombies feel pain too?" Zhao Ling also looked confused and wondered, "Isn't she already dead?" Countless questions swirled in the two kids' minds. Xiao Luo scratched his head, bewildered. "Don't zombies only die when their heads are destroyed?" Zhao Ling cringed, refuting everyone's opinions. "She's a good zombie. She doesn't bite people, and she even saved the boss. I don't want her to die." Mr. Chin observed Bifi-Fay's injuries. He sadly shook his head. "But her spine seems to be broken, even for a zombie if she can't move." Cao Tiu Luong clenched the candy wrapper in his hand, bowing his head in anguish and yelling, "She's like this because of me." He ran to hold Bifi-Fay in his arms, silently wondering how to help her recover. But could the pills work? The system immediately reminded him. "This function is only effective on humans. To heal other creatures, the host must complete a mission to exchange for a special item." Without a moment's hesitation, Cao Tiu Luong said decisively, "Give me the mission." The system immediately received the command and found a new mission. Within 24 hours, you must obtain a level 2 crystal core. Cao Tiu Luong's eyes glinted with unprecedented determination. A level 2 crystal core is equivalent to 100 normal crystals. It only exists in evolved zombies or mutated creatures. He looked towards the giant octopus behind him. He said decisively, "In other words, I just need to kill that thing." Lei Hong also rushed over to support his men. The whole group fired crazily at the monster, but with its enormous size and skin as thick as a fortress wall. The octopus was nearly invulnerable. Dozens of long tentacles blocked its front, absorbing every cannonball. Hu Dazhuang complained tiredly, "This guy is too big, our bullets can't even penetrate it." The bald guy aggressively shouldered a large gun and charged forward. "Let me!" He fired a massive cannonball that shot like an arrow, aiming straight for the monster's head. The monster seemed to sense the danger. It immediately arranged its tentacles around its body, forming an impenetrable fortress. A gap opened, revealing its blood-red eyes. They gleamed with cunning and craftiness. The air grew tense, suffocatingly suspenseful. The cannonball flew straight at the octopus, making everyone expect it to explode. But it didn't. Dozens of long tentacles surged like ocean waves, wrapping tightly around the shell. The octopus curled up and stood motionless, as if challenging the whole world. The subordinate who just fired the shell thought the stupid monster was defeated. He gloated and confidently declared, "If it doesn't blow to pieces this time, I'm not human anymore." Lei Hong, providing cover from behind, suddenly felt uneasy. With his extensive combat experience, he knew things couldn't be this simple. Anxiety washed over him. He grew impatient. Why isn't there any movement? The two subordinates in front looked at their weapons in utter confusion. No way is the cannon out of ammo. Suddenly, the octopus stirred. It opened its eyes, red like two hellfires, looking down at the tiny people at its feet with a smug expression. Its tentacles slowly spread out. Thick black smoke poured out like ink, filling the space. The monster slowly rose, using its tentacles as legs, standing tall like a huge, menacing mobile tower. What was its purpose? The black smoke gradually dissipated, revealing the cannonball nestled in the octopus's giant mouth. The shell, now unable to explode, was held tightly like a harmless toy. Hu Dazhuang witnessed the scene and roared in fury, "Load another shell." The remaining subordinate jumped in fear, stammering incoherently. Lei Hong, unsteady on his feet, slowly approached, his eyes wide and mouth agape, and exclaimed, "It actually sucked it in with its mouth. What a surprise." As if to mock them, the monster held the shell tightly. Suddenly, its tentacles shot out nimbly like giant vacuum cleaners rushing forward, one, then two. Then three tentacles slammed everyone into a corner. Lei Hong's group was scattered like dry leaves in a storm, falling into a state of absolute panic. The monster spewed a large amount of foul-smelling hot green slime like lava. The slime gushed out, sticking to anyone it touched like a glue trap. Lei Hong's men screamed in pain. The blond guy was unfortunately hit by the slime on his arm. His arm immediately burned as if seared by fire and began to rot quickly. The bald guy didn't escape either. His back was covered in slime that ate through his clothes. He screamed it hurt so much Lei Hong watched his injured men, his heart filled with rage. He yelled a warning, "Get away, this liquid is corrosive." Quick as a flash, Lei Hong found a large stone slab nearby and set it up as a temporary shield protecting the group from the monster's pursuit. The giant slab became their temporary shelter. Lei Hong held his ground, waiting for his men to arrive. A moment later, Hu Dazhuang and another man hurriedly hid behind the rock. But the monster relentlessly continued to spew its toxic fluid towards their hiding spot. Lei Hong, with extraordinary strength, lifted the slab onto his back and moved forward with heavy steps. Hu Dazhuang was so scared he cowered, holding his head and trembling. Suddenly, a giant tentacle swung and slammed hard against the slab. The monster struck it repeatedly. It broke through the defense. Slime flowed down through the cracks. The pressure from the monster grew more terrifying. A pungent, foul smell rose with smoke billowing from the corroded slab. Hu Dazhuang broke out in a cold sweat and said to his comrades in panic, "The concrete is being eaten away. We can't hold on like this for long." Lei Hong, though trembling stubbornly, held the slab, trying to protect his team. He roared, both angry at the monster and frustrated with his useless men. "Damn it. You guys have to help me!" The monster's strength truly exceeded Lei Hong's capabilities. No matter how strong and resilient he was, being overpowered and defeated by the monster was only a matter of time. Lei Hong trembled, his hands losing control, his legs growing weak. Suddenly he buckled under the immense pressure. The giant slab could no longer hold. It was pierced by one of the monster's tentacles. A loud crash came from above. The giant tentacle, like a pillar holding up the sky, slammed down into the ground. One of Lei Hong's men was unfortunately caught by a tentacle and pulled high into the air. The monster tightened its grip on its prey, aiming for the hole in the ceiling. Preparing to deliver the final blow, the subordinate screamed in panic. "Boss, save me!" Lei Hong, unable to let go of the slab, watched the monster with a heart full of worry and fear. He sighed helplessly. Damn it. There was no other way. Lei Hong was determined to save his teammate. Once again, he gathered all his strength. His firepower erupted like a raging flame as he faced the terrifying pressure from the monster. Lei Hong roared, using his internal energy to lift the massive slab and hurl it at the enemy. "Let him go!" The slab shot through the air like a meteor. Lei Hong was as fast as lightning. He nimbly appeared in front of the octopus, intending to face it head-on. The small man broke through the monster's defense, grabbed a tentacle, and angrily shouted, "I'll tear you to shreds!" True to his word, Lei Hong placed his hands on its body, unleashing his divine power. But after struggling for a while, he couldn't even scratch a piece of the monster's skin. He cursed under his breath. "Damn it, the slime is too slippery, I can't get a grip." The octopus, annoyed by Lei Hong's provocation, immediately used a tentacle to strike him hard, sending him flying. Lei Hong screamed in pain, "So you thought you could mess with me?" But it didn't stop there. The monster continued to spray toxic fluid from its tentacles like giant hoses. Lei Hong almost fainted, standing frozen like a statue, his eyes wide, his mouth agape inside his divine energy shield. But he couldn't hold on and began to fall freely to the ground. Suddenly, a familiar figure appeared. Taio Luong, wearing a protective suit that covered his entire body. He coldly rushed towards the octopus. While it was distracted, he ran along a tentacle approaching from behind. Taio Luong's eyes glowed a deep blue as a terrifying power surged through his body. Even as the slime shot out in thousands of toxic waves, he gracefully dodged them. Lei Hong's men slowly got up, staring in amazement. "Up there, it's that kid. How is he unharmed?" A question arose. Is that a superpower? Lei Hong, who just landed safely, couldn't believe his eyes. Impossible. There are no power fluctuations on him. He suddenly recalled something and yelled, "Could he really be—" The monster thought Gao Xiaoliang was an easy target and continuously attacked with its giant tentacles, but he nimbly dodged every blow, leaning left and right like a perfect dance. The monster could barely touch him. Gao Xiaoliang leaped high, aiming for the tentacle in front of him. Using his power, he moved as fast as lightning. Like a move from an action movie, he vanished without a trace in just a second. A chilling aura emerged as Gao Xiaoliang tightly gripped his dagger, burning with hatred. He charged straight at the monster, aiming for the cannonball stuck in its mouth. He shouted, "Here it is!" Risking his life, Gao Xiaoliang plunged his dagger into the cannonball in a life-or-death gamble. Only then did everyone realize that Gao Xiaoliang was the chosen one. Under the dagger's impact, the cannonball immediately shot out intense sparks and was successfully detonated. A deafening explosion erupted and flames engulfed the monster's body. An earth-shattering blast blew it to pieces. The fire grew larger as black smoke filled the sky. Bloody pieces of the monster's corpse rained down. The rest of the octopus's carcass lay motionless, roasted by the flames like grilled octopus. Blood was everywhere, and the strong stench filled the air. As the black smoke cleared, Gao Xiaoliang took off his protective suit, smiling in satisfaction. "This raincoat works pretty well." He was pleased with his treasure. Even the explosion's shockwave was perfectly blocked. "High-tech stuff is really amazing." He called out to the system, "Hey, system, can you give me a few more of these next time?" The system laughed at the silly request and replied, "Rewards are drawn randomly, but as long as the host performs well, there will be plenty of opportunities." Gao Xiaoliang then remembered his main mission. With the monster destroyed, he immediately rummaged through the pile of rotten flesh. Under a layer of slime, he found an object emitting a warm golden light, just what he needed. He cheered happily. "I found it, a level 2 crystal core." The system announced, "Congratulations, host, on completing the mission. You've obtained a level 2 crystal core. Reward a healing candy. Function instant healing, unlimited uses. Bonus an apocalyptic cookbook." Gao Xiaoliang stared at the book confused and asked, "What's the use of a cookbook?" The system explained that in the apocalypse, many creatures and plants have mutated. As long as the infected parts are removed, they are edible. But ordinary people don't know this and dare not eat them. This book details their anatomy and cooking methods. It's essential for anyone wanting to open a restaurant. Cooking delicious food in the apocalypse? Upon hearing this, Gao Xiaoliang's anger subsided. He happily accepted the reward, thinking, "This is a good item too. I'll keep it." But the most important thing was saving people. He rushed to the weakened Bifi-Fay, gently lifted her head, and fed her the crystal core he just got. Bifi-Fay grimaced, struggling to swallow it. But a few seconds later, her eyes shot open as she looked at Gao Xiaoliang. Her weak body was now completely healed. She happily stood up stretched and moved her limbs with confidence. Beside her, Xiaoling excitedly shouted, "Awesome sister, you're alive again!" Miss Qin watched, feeling uneasy. She swallowed, thinking this guy took care of the mutated octopus by himself. The more she thought, the less she understood. A moment ago, he was terrified, and in a flash, he became a completely different person. Was he hiding his strength? After moving around for a moment, Bifi-Fay looked up at Gao Xiaoliang, pointed to her mouth, and made a few cute ah sounds as if expecting something. Seeing Bifi-Fay's childish act, Gao Xiaoliang suddenly got irritated. In an annoyed voice, he said, "Are you serious? Are you that addicted to games?" Hearing this, Xiaoling excitedly ran over her eyes, sparkling with curiosity. "What game?" Xiaoling wants to play too. Miss Qin stood watching Gao Xiaoliang, thinking to herself, this guy doesn't seem trustworthy at all. Gao Xiaoliang had to replay the old game. He gripped the bag of candy like before, and when Bifi-Fay wasn't paying attention, he quickly threw the candies behind him for her to chase. Xiaoling beamed and clapped excitedly as if watching a fun show. Seeing the three of them playing Miss Qin couldn't help but smile, thinking, after all, this guy isn't so bad after all. Maybe he can be trusted. But Zhao Luo remained cautious. He crept up behind Xiaoling and whispered, "Sis, stay a little further away from her." He looked at Bifi-Fay suspiciously. "She's a zombie. Will she really not bite people?" Bifi-Fay suddenly turned and stared at the siblings. Her eyes shone with affection, especially for the chubby Xiaoling. She smiled, trying to show she liked the little girl. Xiaoling stood frozen, watching Bifi-Fay nervously. There were still candy crumbs on her cheek. Bifi-Fay excitedly pounced and licked the crumbs clean off Xiaoling's cheek. The little girl burst out laughing because it tickled. When she was done, Bifi-Fay licked her lips and glanced at Zhao Luo with a hungry look, scaring him half to death. She spread her arms and lunged at him. Zhao Luo, his face drained of color, turned and ran, shouting, "You're evil, you're scaring me to death. I'm a boy. Have you no shame?" Standing behind them, Xiaoling giggled. "My brother's blushing." Lei Hong suddenly shouted and strode quickly to Gao Xiaoliang, his voice anxious. "You can even cure a zombie. You can definitely save my brothers, right?" Gao Xiaoliang looked at Hu Dazhuang and the bald guy who were on the ground in pain, clutching their bloody arms from the octopus's venom. Another guy was already unconscious. He examined the wound on Hu Dazhuang's arm. It looked extremely serious. The flesh was rotting, exposing the bone as if eaten away by acid. His internal organs were probably severely damaged too. A large hole on his arm exposed the bone and the wound was terribly infected. Lei Hong nodded, his voice urgent. "I can see that. Hurry up and treat them." Slightly annoyed, Gao Xiaoliang glanced at Lei Hong. "Are you ordering me around?" "Well now." He stood up, crossed his arms, and said reproachfully, "You hit me so hard just a moment ago. Why should I help you?" Lei Hong didn't beat around the bush. Understanding Gao Xiaoliang, he made a direct offer. "How many crystal cores do you want? Just name your price." At the mention of crystal cores, Gao Xiaoliang's eyes lit up. His attitude changed instantly, and with a sly grin, he said, "In that case, I won't be polite." Suddenly, a hand on his shoulder made him jump. Miss Qin coldly tossed him aside. His pathetic scream echoed. She then roared at Lei Hong, "It doesn't matter how many you offer. He's not healing them." Zhao Ling and Zhao Luo said in unison, "That's right. You're robbers, demons, murderers," Lei Hong replied wearily. "I already told you. We may be robbers, but we have principles. We don't kill the defenseless." He narrowed his eyes and shook his head. "If your mother was really killed by my men, then she definitely wasn't a good person." But Zhao Ling and Zhao Luo immediately flew into a rage and retorted, "Nonsense. Our mother was a good person. You're the bad guys." Miss Qin held the children's hands and scolded Lei Hong, "Stop making excuses. You're only saying that so he'll heal your men and then you'll kill us, right? We won't be fooled that easily." Gao Xiaoliang slowly walked over, interrupting the argument. What he's saying might be true. Miss Qin, Xiaoling, and Zhao Luo, stunned, shouted in unison what Gao Xiaoliang gently took out an old torn red headband. He asked Zhao Luo, "This fell out of your bag, didn't it?" Seeing it, Zhao Luo got agitated and shouted, "That's right. This is the mark of that group of people. I always carry it to remind myself never to forget them." He remembered his mother's killer, a one-eyed middle-aged man wearing a red headband. He looked very similar to Lei Hong. Gao Xiaoliang then presented the dagger he had found. "This is their dagger, isn't it?" They compared the evidence. The symbols on the headband and dagger were similar but mirrored. Miss Qin took the dagger to examine it closely. She noticed some differences. Xiao Luo said in disappointment. This one looks way more stylish. Zhao Ling looked at the symbol on the headband and commented, by comparison, this looks like it was drawn by a first grader. Standing nearby, Lei Hong blushed with anger as he heard them critique his group's logo. Huh, what simple drawing. This is called a powerful and unrestrained style. If you don't get it, don't just say whatever. Gao Xiaoliang sighed, trying to mediate. I've encountered many gangs that rob people while using another group's name. They do it to create enemies. He looked at Miss Qin. The gang you encountered must have been imposters. Miss Qin, Xiao Luo, and Xiao Ling were stunned. Imposters, they said in unison. Lei Hong finally understood. He looked sympathetic but couldn't hide his indignation. No wonder. Before, people would attack us out of the blue as if they held a deep grudge. It turns out a third party was behind it. Xiao Luo angrily cursed at the imposters. How could we be so easily fooled, damn it? So they weren't the Thunder Legion at all, those scammers. Xiao Ling looked up at her brother sadly, her voice melancholic. So who do we take revenge on now? The two poor children, their eyes were filled with the pain of losing their mother. Gai Kam looked down gently at the two kids, trying to comfort them to ease their pain. Revenge is not a burden you have to carry. Compared to that, your mother would surely want you to live healthy and happy lives. Tu Lok and Tu Lin quietly looked at Ngai Kam, their eyes still filled with sadness. Just then, Hu Dai Trang, whose body was wrapped in white bandages, angrily strode forward and roared, "These bastards dare to tarnish our reputation. If I find them, I'll chop them into 100 pieces." Suddenly, Hu Dai Trang coughed up blood. Perhaps his anger aggravated his wounds. Lei Hong's eyes widened in panic, watching his beloved subordinate in pain. He quickly supported him and turned to Cao Tiu Luong, his voice pleading. "Now that everything is clear, can you treat my brothers? They'll die if you wait any longer." Cao Tiu Luong nodded, but didn't forget to demand payment. "All right, 10 crystal cores per person. That's a real bargain." Lei Hong immediately agreed, handing over a bag of crystal cores. "No problem, money is not an issue." Cao Tiu Luong happily ordered, "Please step aside, this will be quick." On his beloved cart, a few eggs were smashed to pieces, their bright yellow yolks spilling everywhere. Cao Tiu Luong looked at the heartbreaking scene as if he had lost a treasure. Such delicious eggs, all ruined. He recalled the fiery encounter with the Qinloi Legion, then looked shyly at Lei Hong and gave a silly laugh. Something happened with that. "How about I return the crystal cores to you?" Hearing this, Lei Hong's eyes turned red with anger, and he roared, "Are you messing with me?" Cao Tiu Luong rubbed his head, gave an awkward laugh, and quickly pushed the cart away. "How could I do that? I just thought the atmosphere was too tense, so I was just kidding." In his heart, he swallowed his tears of sorrow, thinking, even the eggs are gone, what am I going to use to make egg cookies now? It seems being a good person brings bad karma, not letting his emotions overwhelm him. Cao Tiu Luong took out the cookbook he just received and flipped through it. His eyes lit up as if he had struck gold. When he found a suitable recipe, he thought, let's save people first. He smiled triumphantly, closed the book, and said, "This is great." The only available ingredients were flour oil and some spices. After racking his brain for a moment, he exclaimed, "I've got it." He ran to the octopus corpse, selected the best piece of meat, and carried it away. He carefully removed the outer membrane and suckers, leaving the clean flesh. Then he marinated it with spices to remove the fishy smell and rinsed it with water. The tender white meat was revealed, then minced and mixed with flour to create a batter. He stirred and stirred and stirred. A fragrant octopus batter was born. He poured small portions of the batter onto a hot, sizzling griddle. He flipped them until golden brown, then added tomatoes and salad dressing. The octopus cakes were arranged beautifully, like a work of art. For the soul of the dish, he used finely mashed potatoes as a substitute. Ta-da, the hot and delicious octopus cakes are ready. Cao Tiu Luong proudly announced, "It's done, takoyaki." He brought the dish to Lei Hong's group and said, "Eat all of this. Your bodies will recover immediately." The bald guy and the blonde guy screamed in horror. "Using a mutated octopus for food, what are you trying to do? You're telling us to eat this thing. You must think we're not dying fast enough." But Lei Hong was captivated by the alluring aroma. He kept sniffing it and hesitated. "Can this thing really be eaten?" Cao Tiu Luong wearily shook his head and explained, "Have you ever read a wuxia novel? Wherever there's a poisonous snake, an antidote is always within 5 steps. I've already taken the crystal cores and there are no refunds. Eat it if you want." Unable to bear the pain, Hu Dai Trong stepped forward and sniffed the aroma. It smells so good. The pain is too much, I'll risk it. He put the food in his mouth, thinking even if I die, I should enjoy this first. Suddenly, Hu Daitrang's body froze and began to transform. He was surprised, what is this? Then he clutched his stomach, coughing violently. His underlings panicked, shouting Daitrang. Lei Hong worriedly warned Cao Tiu Luong, "What did you do? If anything happens to my brother, I won't spare you." Before he could do anything, Bifi-Fay rushed to block Lei Hong. He backed away in fear, stammering, "Miss, please don't come over here. This is bad." Hu Daitrang covered his mouth, making strange moaning sounds, then burst out in excitement. "It's so delicious." He ecstatically described the batter is as soft and fragrant as a cloud, and the octopus meat is chewy and fresh. Every chew feels like a fairy dancing on my tongue. The exquisite taste is like a vibrant ocean wave crashing into my soul. He praised it profusely. "This is unbelievably delicious." Hu Daitrang's answer left the bald guy and the blonde guy dumbfounded. "Really? Is that thing actually delicious?" Lei Hong and his underlings immediately ran to Cao Tiu Luong's cart, scrambling to order. "Forget it. I'll have one too, give me a portion." "Easy now, calm down, there's enough for everyone." They ate the food, bursting with happiness. Cries rang out, "It's so delicious, I'm so happy, good brother." The blonde guy quickly brought a takoyaki to Ahu. "Ahu, you should try it too." Ahu snatched it and chewed greedily as if he were swallowing the stars in the sky. He shouted, his eyes sparkling, "The wound has healed. The pain is gone too. It's a miracle." He lifted his shirt, showing his muscular six-pack abs. "Even my old scars have healed." Excited, Ahu ran to ask Cao Tiu Luong, "Is this also an effect of the octopus meat?" Cao Tiu Luong was stunned, not knowing how to answer Ahu, so he forced a smile. "I added some special spices to your portion. Consider it a special gift." But inwardly, he was worried sick. "There's a bug here. My current strength isn't enough to fight against ability users. If this group finds out about the system, I'll be captured and exploited to death." Cao Tiu Luong was so lost in thought that he didn't notice someone calling his name. Suddenly, he flinched and dodged as if avoiding a plague, thinking to himself, "Have I been found out?" It turned out to be Lei Hong, who walked up and patted his shoulder, his eyes full of gratitude. "I didn't realize you were actually a pretty good guy." Cao Tiu Luong silently prayed, "Thank goodness this guy is simple-minded and easy to fool." He laughed loudly and said, "So about that partnership we discussed earlier." Lei Hong nodded, "I'll consider it." But his underlings immediately protested loudly. "Boss, don't listen to him, that's right. Aren't we injured like this because of him? He should be the one responsible for this." Cao Tiu Luong immediately retorted, "You guys robbed my stall. Am I not allowed to fight back?" Lei Hong's group burst into laughter as if they heard a joke. The blonde guy gave a reason that was both logical and absurd. "We are robbers. We saw you carrying so much food. Of course we had to rob you. Every profession has people who love their work, you know." Ahu added, "This is what you call professional ethics." Lei Hong laughed heartily and nodded in agreement. "Well said." Cao Tiu Luong pointed towards Bifi-Fay and asked, "Then what about that girl? Didn't you say you don't rob women and children?" He ran to Bifi-Fay's side to lecture them. "Even if she's a zombie, she's still a girl. You guys tied her up in a sack. What were you secretly planning to do?" Lei Hong's group looked all around and said in unison, "We didn't do anything. We didn't even touch her." The bald guy said shyly, "Well, who told her to be so beautiful?" "We only did it for our boss." Cao Tiu Luong smirked triumphantly. "The truth comes out. So what kind of weird hobby is this?" Ngai Kam covered her mouth in horror. "They wouldn't even spare a zombie. That's disgusting." Tulok covered Tu Lin's ears and said, "Don't listen." Hu Daitrang looked at Lei Hong shyly. "Boss, you." The underlings burst out laughing. "Earlier I saw the boss talking privately with someone, so it turns out—" Lei Hong's face turned red with frustration as he yelled, "This is a complete injustice." "I am completely innocent." He shook his head vigorously. "It has nothing to do with me." Lei Hong angrily glared at the three wise guys and yelled, "What is really going on? Tell me." The blonde guy hesitantly confessed, "You're all getting the wrong idea. We came up with this and did it on our own." Ahu looked sorrowful with glistening eyes. "Our boss gets shy around beautiful girls. He's never even had a relationship. We wanted to find a pretty zombie for him to try interacting with. We thought it might cure his fear of women." The bald guy chimed in, "We only meant well." The furious Lei Hong rushed over and started punching the three of them. "Good intentions, my ass. How could you even come up with such a bizarre idea? Do you think I'm some kind of pervert?" The blonde guy cried, "I told you the boss wasn't like that. We almost died for nothing, boss." Suddenly, the system interface appeared. Mission time has expired. Host, please hire an employee quickly to complete the mission. Cao Tiu Luong looked at the notification panel anxiously. Has it already been 24 hours? That was fast. He wondered if I've already hired the proprietress as an employee, the mission should be complete, right? The system calmly delivered a bombshell. It is not yet counted. To hire an employee, a contract must be signed by both parties and the employee must wear a special uniform for it to be valid. Cao Tiu Luong jumped, an employee uniform. He imagined all kinds of uniforms, a seductive maid, a sexy doctor, or a naughty bunny girl. His nose almost started bleeding as he thought excitedly. This could be good. As if reading his mind, the system said, Host, please refrain from lewd thoughts. We are a serious system and do not provide such clothing. Cao Tiu Luong grinned wickedly. He turned to see a modest maid outfit, a far cry from his imagination. A flock of crows flew overhead. Annoyed, he mumbled, it's just a plain old design like this. I got my hopes up for nothing. He handed the uniform to Ngai Kam with a pitiful expression. I forgot to mention earlier that employees here need to wear a clean, tidy, and recognizable uniform so customers can easily identify you. So uniforms are necessary. These 3 sets are yours. Ngai Kam and Tu Lak looked at the outfits with twisted faces. Tu Lak complained resentfully, even kids like us have to wear them. It's so annoying, but Tu Lin happily admired her new dress, excited that it was a new outfit. Cao Tiu Luong spoke up to remind everyone we have new clothes now. Let's change into them now. In broad daylight, Ngai Kam casually lifted his shirt about to change. Cao Tiu Luong quickly stopped him, pointing to a hidden corner and saying seriously, There's no need to rush. There are too many people here. You can go inside to change. Yin Hong's group shook their heads, gulped, and said in unison, No need to worry about such details. Ngai Kam ignored them and put on the white shirt, but because of his oversized chest, he struggled and complained. This outfit is too tight. I can't even fit my chest in. Do you have a larger size? Witnessing the alluring scene, Yin Hong had a massive nosebleed and fainted before he could react. His underlings panicked, yelling, Boss has fainted. Cao Tiu Luong angrily rushed to cover Ngai Kam, shouting, Have some decency. Close your eyes. Suddenly something soft landed on his head. He looked up and saw something as soft as a steamed bun. It also looked like a potato. He held it in his hand, curious. What is this? Then he looked at Ngai Kam and was completely shocked. Oh my God, a muscular body with 6-pack abs. He screamed, Are you messing with me? Surprise, turns out we're the same kind. Ngai Kam took off all his gear and smiled at Cao Tiu Luong, who was so scared his soul nearly left his body. His limbs went weak as he looked at the person before him, stammering, You. He felt like he had fallen from Cloud 9. He yelled, Man, why would you dress like that and cause such a misunderstanding? Ngai Kam laughed heartily and replied cheerfully, I never said I was a girl. Why are you so surprised? The blonde guy's jaw dropped in amazement. Was it to pretend to be weak and lure the enemy into a trap? Ahu praised excitedly. That's brilliant, Ngai. Kam shyly rubbed his head, looking smug. Not really, it's just a personal hobby. But Tu Lak wasn't very surprised. He whispered to Tu Lin, the boss calls this being a cross-dressing master. Tu Lin nodded. The boss loves beautiful dresses the most. He has a lot. But it's a shame he couldn't bring them out. Cao Tiu Luong cried inwardly, blaming Ngai Kam, you damn scammer. My beautiful female employee, my sexy uniform, my dreams of an office romance have all gone up in smoke. Hearing that, Ngai Kam immediately understood and shot back, This guy really is a pervert. Who can understand this pain? The system suddenly announced countdown starting. Host, please complete the mission quickly. Do you confirm hiring the other party? Cao Tiu Luong perked up and asked excitedly, Do I even have another choice? After a moment, he looked at the prepared employment contract for Ngai Kam. Reluctantly, he signed it with a grimace. Bifi-Fay stood by, happily watching him hand the contract to Ngai Kam. Please sign here. Cao Tiu Luong almost dropped the paper. Caught in a dilemma, he turned his face away. Ngai Kam glared at him resentfully. What's with that look on your face? If it weren't for the food, who would want to be your employee? Cao Tiu Luong looked at the contract and sighed to himself. When the system forces others, they get a harem of beauties and reach the top. But I have to raise kids with another man. Ngai Kam quickly grabbed the pen to sign, thinking to himself that nothing could be more tragic. But unexpectedly, Bifi-Fay suddenly dashed over and snatched the contract in her mouth before Ngai Kam could finish signing, and dashed away. Cao Tiu Luong and Ngai Kam stared blankly after her. He yelled, You've got to be kidding me. While both of them were stunned, Bifi-Fay ran off, clenching the paper in her mouth. Cao Tiu Luong reluctantly tried to pull the contract from Bifi-Fay's mouth, yelling, "This isn't for eating." The employment contract was now covered in teeth marks. Bifi-Fay stood by looking dazed. The system suddenly confirmed contract signing complete. A surge of divine energy enveloped Bifi-Fay. Her eyes glowed, radiating a strange power. In a flash, she transformed into a beautiful, gorgeous maid as if she had stepped out of a painting. Cao Tiu Luong stood stunned and helpless, sighing to himself. Can the heavens understand? He let out a sky-shattering scream. "I don't want to work with a zombie." Sometime later, Nai Cam was still dwelling on the past, blaming Cao Tiu Luong. "You have no taste passing over a beauty like me to hire a zombie." He arrogantly laid out his condition, "But because of the contract termination fee, I won't hold it against you." Cao Tiu Luong smiled on the outside, but his heart was shattered. The contract wasn't even signed, so where would a penalty fee come from? "You guys are forcing me. If I don't pay, you'll destroy my car." He looked at the ruined building and sighed. "We can't stay here anymore." "What are you guys planning to do now?" Ngai Kam replied cheerfully. "I've talked to the people from the Jinglei Legion. They're willing to take us with them." Tiu Lak and Tiu Lin hugged their small pillows, beaming. Tiu Lak smiled brightly and told Cao Tiu Luong Loi Hong said he will teach me how to fight and shoot. Then I can protect the boss and my little sister. Cao Tiu Luong chuckled. "That's good," he thought to himself. "Even though they're bandits, they aren't bad people. The two kids will be safer with their protection." Tiu Lin ran over and gently tugged on his shirt. She handed him a card with Bifi-Fay's picture on it. "Mister, this is what that sister dropped while changing." Cao Tiu Luong looked at the card and recognized the ID number and full name. So her name is Bifi-Fay. It's an employee ID card. He couldn't take his eyes off the card. Loi Hong gave Cao Tiu Luong a map and said sincerely, "Kid, this is where we're temporarily stationed. We won't be moving. If you run into any trouble, just come find me." Cao Tiu Luong looked at the map, surprised. The Lingu prison. The arm of the law is long and no one escapes. He shook his head in admiration. "You guys really know how to pick a spot." Loi Hong laughed, clapped him on the shoulder, and said decisively, "So what if it's a prison? Before, no one wanted to go in. Now there's no place safer." Ngai Cam excitedly ran over and hugged Loi Hong, saying, "That's right, big brother Loi, you're so smart. Can I have my own room later?" Loi Hong's gynophobia relapsed. The moment he saw Ngai Cam, he ran for his life. "Stay away from me." He turned back and shouted, "Someone go find him a set of men's clothes." Ngai Cam shook his head and chased after him. "I refuse. Dressing is a form of freedom, you know. I just like wearing women's clothes." Finally, the whole group got in the car and left. Tiu Lin and Tiu Lak waved at Cao Tiu Luong, their clear voices calling out, "Goodbye, mister." The Jinglei Legion waved enthusiastically. "Kid, don't let the zombies eat you." "We'll come visit you again." Cao Tiu Luong felt a warmth in his heart. He smiled and waved goodbye to everyone. He looked at Bifi-Fay's employee ID card and sighed in relief despite not knowing what the future held. "But you never know until you try." He turned to look at Bifi-Fay. "From now on, I'll be counting on you." But then he was startled. Where did she go? Bifi-Fay was just here and now she's vanished. He looked around and saw her climbing onto his beloved cart, gnawing on something. He yelled angrily, "You can't eat that!" The sound of gnawing mixed with his curses echoed through the deserted city. As if her teeth were itchy, Bifi-Fay bit down hard on the wooden bar of the cart. Cao Tiu Luong ran over furiously and pulled her away. "I already told you this isn't food." "Let go," but Bifi-Fay stubbornly growled and bit down on the wooden bar. Cao Tiu Luong pulled hard and the cart's handle came off, causing the whole thing to collapse. He stared at the wreckage in horror. Not believing his eyes, he screamed, "Oh my God!" Bifi-Fay sat there like a little kitten, obediently gnawing on the handle and looking at him innocently. Cao Tiu Luong suddenly remembered, wait a minute, no one has used the resilience feature. How could it break after just a few bites? He quickly contacted the system. "Hey system, I think this card is defective. I demand a new one." The system replied immediately, "Host, please be patient. I will request it from my superiors," but then it sadly announced request denied. Cao Tiu Luong was indignant. On what grounds? The system explained, according to the item description, the resilience feature only protects staff and property from external attacks. It is not effective against those inside the store. Bifi-Fay is an employee. The host must take responsibility for any damage she causes. Cao Tiu Luong roared in anger. "Something this important. Why didn't you tell me sooner?" He looked at Bifi-Fay and sighed. "If only I had known." I swear I would have chosen the cross-dressing master over this husky in human skin. Heartbroken, he sat down, looked at the wreckage, and lamented, "It's done for. How am I supposed to fix this?" The system appeared and cheerfully comforted him. "Host, don't worry. You only need 100 more points to upgrade the store. Completing the mission will allow you to upgrade your tools." Taio Luong impatiently cut it off. "Then what are you waiting for? Give me the mission already." With a ding, the system announced a new mission. Collect 250 kilograms of edible meat within 24 hours. Complete it to receive a reward. Taio Luong pondered 250 kilograms. In this apocalypse, even 5 kilograms of fresh meat is hard to find, let alone 250. But then his eyes lit up and he clapped his hands in excitement. "I've got it." He remembered a large chicken farm nearby. He flipped through a cookbook to research. Among mutated beasts, mutated chickens have low combat power. The virus is concentrated in the brain, internal organs, fat, and feet. If you remove those parts, the breast and thigh meat are fresh, delicious, and rich in protein, perfect for restoring stamina. He became enthusiastic. It's time for the little chickens in the coop to meet their maker. But a mutated rooster entered combat mode, its eyes glowing red as it let out a deafening crow. Taio Luong hid behind a rock, thinking to himself, mutated chickens are just bigger. Overall, they're not much different from regular chickens. The problem is their sheer number. I have to separate them and deal with them one by one. He looked at Bifi-Fay. "It's time to put you to use." Taio Luong planned to demonstrate 749 moves for Bifi-Fay and asked her if she understood. Bifi-Fay nodded happily. He ran into the flock of chickens and ordered her to act. Bifi-Fay took the order, grabbed a wooden board, and launched into the air, but she forgot the plan. She ran straight towards him. Taio Luong shouted, "Not that way, this way. This is not a game." The chickens sensed something was wrong and turned their eyes glowing with killing intent as they charged at Bifi-Fay. Terrified, she bit the wooden board, jumped onto the roof, and looked down at the ferocious flock. Taio Luong backed away in panic. "I'm dead!" He ran for his life as a giant rooster chased him like prey, pecking relentlessly. He screamed, "Oh my God! Somebody help me!" Its sharp beak bit his butt. He ran and screamed, "These claws are so sharp, one scratch and I'm done for." The rooster quickly caught up. Ahead was a sturdy fence with no way out. Taio Luong sprinted towards it with all his might and was overjoyed to find a pre-dug hole. "I'm saved." He dove through the hole to safety. Taio Luong sat in the hole, sighing with relief, his heart pounding. The roosters charged like a horde of crazy zombies, aggressively clawing at the iron fence and glaring at him. Their eyes full of hatred, they dug frantically at the ground. Taio Luong held his breath. Exhausted, he leaned back, thinking it's a good thing this hole was here or I'd have been pecked to death. Suddenly, a sticky liquid got on his hand. He wondered what it was. It's so gooey and gross. Looking up, he was stunned to see eggshells scattered everywhere. Taio Luong wondered why there were so many eggshells. Then, trembling, he realized the problem. "I'm dead. This is a mother hen's nest." A shadow fell over the hole like a spotlight. Taio Luong swallowed nervously and trembled as he looked up at a giant hen standing above him. Its blood-red eyes shot down like an arrow. He was scared out of his wits and scrambled out of the nest. Oh no, a mutated adult chicken. The chase continued as Taio Luong ran like the wind, screaming. "To think I fell into a mother hen's nest. My luck is the worst. Oh my God." He ran for his life, lamenting why his elasticity function wasn't working at a time like this. The hen pecked at him relentlessly. He clutched his butt and screamed, "Ow, ow, ow!" The hen circled him, its eyes gloating as if to say, "Now you know how tough I am." Taio Luong was cornered with the same fence behind him. Exhausted and panting, he thought of the eggshells. The mother hen was coming for revenge. It advanced its sharp beak, aimed straight for his crotch. He bit his lip and roared, "You despicable chicken." Just as it lunged, Taio Luong performed a masterful twisting move like a yoga master, silently cursing, "My precious jewel has never even been used." He jumped up and wrapped his legs around the hen's neck, angrily thinking, "How can I die here?" "Take this spinning leg kick." The man and the chicken fought fiercely. Taio Luong used his flexibility to tighten his grip on the chicken's neck. He grinned triumphantly, "See how tough I am now." But the chicken lowered its head and opened its eyes in a rage. Taio Luong panicked. It's not dead. It threw him into the air. He screamed, "Oh, mommy." By some miracle, he landed on the chicken's back. It charged around frantically, almost making him throw up. "Oh my God, save me." After 749 spins, the chicken broke its neck and threw him off. Taio Luong quickly grabbed its tail, screaming in fear, "Oh my God!" The scene shifts to the forest where a military vehicle rolls slowly. From inside, a voice is heard, Team 3, Team 3. Team 1 and 2 have reached headquarters. What's your situation? It's a group of soldiers contacting their commander. The one on the radio nervously replies, "We're on our way back. Barring any surprises, we should arrive today." Everyone cheered happily. I heard those other 2 vehicles came back empty-handed this time. We found so many supplies they'll be so jealous. Another person scoffs who told their captain to be such a coward. He doesn't even dare to go to faraway places. Captain Hua is still the most resourceful one, thinking of storing food in the cellar. A young soldier says regretfully, "Too bad that entire village turned into zombies. No one survived. Anyway, returning safely is a reason to celebrate." Suddenly, the vehicle hits a wooden plank and stops dead in its tracks. The guy in front yells, "We've got a problem." The whole group gets out to check. The tire is flat. A bearded man inspects it and says worriedly, "It looks like we've got a blowout." The blonde subordinate cheerfully says, "Captain, you worry too much. We've taken this road countless times. If there were zombies, we would have met them long ago." The young man in front quickly reminds him, "It's better to be safe than sorry. There are more and more types of mutants now, especially in such a large area. We can't prevent everything. We must always maintain high alert." Guoming and Gujen quickly change the tire while the others and Uncle Chu stand guard. Guoming mumbles to himself as he's busy fitting the new wheel. Seriously, on a big road like this, how could there be that many zombies? The blonde guy nods cheerfully, exactly. Even if we did, I could take one down with a single bullet. Suddenly, a sharp smack is heard. Uncle Chu walks over and hits each of them on the head. Cut the crap. You 2 have only been on a few missions and you already think zombies are that easy to handle. Guoming and Gujen give a sheepish laugh and say in unison, "Sorry, Uncle Chu, we were wrong." "Don't be angry. We're new and don't know any better. Please bear with us." Uncle Chu sighs, takes a drag of his cigarette, and says seriously, "Of all the teams, our Team 3 has always had the highest success rate and the lowest casualties. Do you 2 know why?" Guoming and Gujen shake their heads. Uncle Chu says smugly, "Because Captain Huo is experienced and cautious. Idiots like you would have died countless times already if you were in any other team. You should thank your lucky stars you joined our team." Guoming and Gujen pat each other's backs, swallowing their pride and sucking up. "So Captain Huo is that incredible. We're so lucky. We'll surely learn a lot." The blonde guy scratches his head shyly. Uncle Chu, I need to take a leak." Uncle Chu says with annoyance, "Such a pain. Hurry up and don't keep everyone waiting." The blonde guy rushes off. Suddenly, the nearby bushes rustle as if something is moving through them. Huo Jiji senses it and immediately tenses up, gripping his gun. He turns and asks, "Did anyone hear that?" The 2 men shake their heads, surprised. After relieving himself, the blonde guy happily mumbles, "Ah, what a relief." But behind the bushes, a giant python lies in wait, eyeing him hungrily. He vaguely senses danger and scans his surroundings, but sees nothing. Feeling relieved, he starts to walk back. Suddenly, the ferocious python lunges down from the trees above. The blonde guy looks up in terror at the gigantic monster charging with its mouth agape. Gujen is so scared he collapses. Fortunately, a bullet hits the python's eye just in time. Writhing in pain, it slithers away. Huo Jiji keeps firing and orders, "Mutated creature, everyone get back to the vehicle." He asks Gujen, "Is the tire change finished?" Uncle Chu anxiously reports, "It's done." The group wonders why there's a mutant snake here. That thing is silent, making it too hard to detect. Gujen lowers his head. "I'm sorry, Captain, it's all my fault." Huo Jiji cuts him off. "Enough talk. That last shot wasn't a fatal wound. It'll be back. Get in the car now." The vehicle immediately speeds off, but the python reappears and gives chase. It easily slides under the vehicle and flings it into the air like a toy. As the vehicle falls, the python coils around it, squeezing as if to crush it. Inside Uncle Chu, Gujen and his comrades are thrown about in the violently shaking vehicle. Huo Jiji orders, "It's trying to crush us. Get out now." Guoming and a teammate try to push open the emergency door, but the door is jammed shut. They panic, "Captain, what do we do now?" Huo Jiji, observing the situation, yells, "Find a way to break the glass." He aims his gun to kill the monster, but Uncle Chu frantically stops him. "Don't do it." "Captain, the gas tank is leaking. If you shoot, it'll explode." Guoming cries desperately. "Are we going to die here?" Suddenly, a strange figure appears. Gujen shouts, "Everyone look over there, something's coming." A giant bird soars through the air with its wings spread wide. Terrified, Guo Ming's vision blurs. He pounds on the window, crying out, "It looks like this is really the end. And now I'm seeing an angel." Uncle Chu yells, "What are you talking about?" That's obviously a chicken Huo. Gigi watches it suspiciously. How can a chicken be that big? He looks again in shock. That's not right. It's a person. Gao Xiaoliang is clinging to the giant hen, his face streaked with tears, yelling, "Damn it, how do I get this thing to stop?" Inside the car, two men were shocked. The pink-haired one leaned on the glass, wondering who that guy is to be able to control a mutant creature, the other replied. "Is it an ability?" The blonde man with a scar over his eye shakes his head. "No, that's not it. It looks like he's the one being taken for a ride." Gao Xiaoliang is still clinging to the chicken for dear life. Tears are streaming down his face. Suddenly, another giant creature appears with glowing red eyes, sharp teeth, and a long tongue lolling to the ground. It looks incredibly dangerous. It charges at the mutant chicken, which is trying to buck him off. The chicken turns and squawks, annoyed by Gao Xiaoliang's grip. It opens its beak as if to peck him. He yells at it, "I only broke a few of your eggs by sitting on them. What's the big deal? You really think I'm afraid to kill a chicken?" With that, he leaps up, grabs the chicken's neck, and declares, "Let me show you the professional qualities of a chef." He squeezes hard, and a loud crack of breaking bones echoes. The chicken collapses, but at that exact moment, the scaly snake-like creature lunges and bites down hard on the chicken. Blood splatters everywhere. Unaware of the new danger, Gao Xiaoliang sighs in relief. It's finally over. He sits on the chicken and looks around, wondering, "But why am I still up in the air?" Realizing he's on the snake's back, he mistakes it for a telephone pole and mumbles, "Just my luck. Now I'm stuck on a telephone pole." He jumps down and casually grabs the creature, surprised when it squirms. The snake lowers its head, staring at him with hungry eyes. Gao Xiaoliang freezes in terror as if he's been struck by lightning. A mutant snake, he leaps back and shouts, "Hey, Mr. Snake, you already ate that big chicken. You must be full, right? So please don't eat me." The snake seems to ignore him and leans in closer. Gao Xiaoliang is silent for a moment, then turns and runs for his life, yelling, "Why is today so full of bad luck? Seriously, what kind of day is this?" The snake whips its tail, sending Huo Jiji's vehicle flying. It crashes down with a loud thud. Inside the group is in chaos. A guy in a backward cap cheers, "Hey, we've been saved." An older man nods, "The heavens are on our side." The driver reports the engine still works. "Great, let's get out of here fast." But the blonde man with the scar over his eye objects, "We can't." The others chime in, "If we don't leave now, are we waiting for the snake to return? This vehicle can't take another hit." The pink-haired man adds, "He's right, Captain. We still have a lot of supplies in the vehicle. If we lose them, we'll be court-martialed." Huo Jiji says firmly, "That person drew the mutant snake away from us. If we abandon him now, what kind of soldiers would we be?" The men in the vehicle fall silent, considering Huo Jiji's words. One of them speaks up, "The captain's right. Supplies aren't as important as a human life. We can always find more." Another adds, "Even though we're new recruits, we've had professional training. Are we just going to abandon someone in a crisis?" The driver slams on the accelerator and spins the wheel with determination. "Hang in there, kid. We're on our way." The vehicle turns around. The whole crew says in unison, "If it comes down to it, we'll risk our lives to fight it." Meanwhile, at the chicken farm, Bifi-Fay leaps down from out of nowhere, landing as gently as a falling leaf. She scans the area, looking for something. Suddenly, 3 aggressive chickens charge at her. Bifi-Fay thinks Gao Xiaoliang would be so happy if I beat these. She claps her hands excitedly, grabs the fence, lifts it, and leaps into the air. In a flash, she uses the fence to trap the chickens. Back in the forest, the mutant snake is still furiously chasing Gao Xiaoliang. He runs for his life, screaming, "Lao Air, save me." The system flies beside him, replying, "Host, I really want to help, but my functions are blocked and the props can't be used." "I'm helpless too." As they speak, the snake bares its fangs and wraps its tail around Gao Xiaoliang, trapping him. It opens its mouth, breathing out a foul-smelling mist. The stench makes his head spin, and he mutters, "This smell is disgusting." It would be less painful to just pass out. As the snake's mouth nears the stench, intensifies, nearly making him collapse. Suddenly, a deafening squawk rings out. He yells in frustration, "Why is that stupid chicken back again? That noise is going to rupture my eardrums." Bifi-Fay appears carrying the giant chickens trapped in the fence. She leaps and lands squarely on the mutant snake's head. The snake loses control and falls over backward, sending the trapped chickens flying to the side. It collapses, its eyes spinning before it goes still. Gao Xiaoliang is overjoyed as if he's in paradise. He calls out Xiao Bai. He grabs her shoulders, ecstatic. You came just in time. This smell almost knocked me out. I'll be serious for now, but later I have to teach you to separate work and play. This can't happen again. System display, congratulations, host, on completing the mission. The snack stall leveled up. A blinding light flashed, making them both cover their eyes. The reward, a large, fully equipped vehicle, appeared before a surprised Cao Tiu Luong and Bifi-Fay. He was overjoyed. It's an RV. He admired its neat arrangement, advanced equipment, and shiny high-end toilet. He held Bifi-Fay's hand and raised it high. Jumping up, he said, "Old Two, you're finally generous for once. A pea shooter upgraded to a cannon. We don't have to rough it anymore." The system replied, "I've always been generous." The system continued. Previously, the host completed the recruitment mission, and there's a special reward. A skill card appeared. It's flashy, significantly increases combat power, and lasts for 3 minutes. Open primary weapon arsenal 1 Cao Tiu. Luong curiously clicked on it to see what was inside. The system displayed 3 kitchen utensils, a cleaver, a spatula, and a slotted spoon. He was surprised. How am I supposed to use these? Am I supposed to stir-fry zombies with them? The system explained, don't underestimate them. They come with skills that upgrade with the host's abilities. Everyone who uses them loves them. He cracked his knuckles happily. Really, I can't wait anymore. Let's try them out right now. In the jungle, Cao Tiu Luong gave a weird smile looking at the mutant snake. You ate my chicken, I'll use you to christen my new knife. The system advised host, don't smile like a pervert. He shouted, cut the crap. Then he turned to Bifi-Fay, little Bok, wanna play a game. He swung the knife at the snake, shouting, this time I'll let you have your fun. Watch my knife, sharp slashes cut through the snake's flesh, he yelled as he slashed snake carver tendon and bone separation. Final move, flesh and bone separation. The snake meat fell down neatly arranged Bifi-Fay. Fay leaped up and caught it gracefully with a blank expression. He looked at the knife and exclaimed, it's really easy to use. The system added, I didn't lie to you, did I? The system announced a new mission use available ingredients to make 3 new snack dishes. Find customers to try them and get 100 5-star reviews. No time limit, but if you get a bad review, all the host's points will be wiped out, Cao Tiu Luong yelled. Hey, what do you mean wiped out? All my work these past few days will be for nothing then. He argued with the system. You're too petty. Everyone has different tastes. Even if I were the world's top chef, I couldn't please everybody. The system laughed. Host, don't worry. A great challenge comes with a great reward. It whispered, I'll let you in on a secret if you complete this mission. Besides the standard reward, there will be an unexpected surprise. Cao Tiu Luong was suspicious. I suspect you're making an empty promise, but I have no proof. He rested his chin on his hand, thinking no time limit. This is good. In the apocalypse, with so many survivors, I can't find enough in a day or two. I'll take this chance to rest a bit. The system was startled and shouted, Master, you must try your best. Giving up gets you nowhere, he replied. What do you know? A great master named Lu once said resting is for working better. The system turned and mumbled, just to be clear, I never said that. Cao Tiu Luong put his hands on his hips, admiring the RV. To be honest, this vehicle looks amazing on the outside, but I wonder about its features. He looked helplessly at Bifi-Fay and continued, the main thing is, I don't know how durable it is. If it falls apart from a light bump like the last one, I can't take it. Despite saying that he still got in and called, let's go, little Bok, I'll take you for a spin, Bifi-Fay happily ran into the car, her eyes sparkling. Scene change. A military vehicle sped down the road. The blond man asked, where did that snake go? The driver replied, we're heading in the right direction. There's only this one road. Could it have gone into the forest? The man with the backward cap pointed and shouted, everyone look, the group got out of the car holding their guns warily. In front of them was a large pile of bones with fresh blood. One person knelt to examine it. The blood is fresh. It was just eaten. Another person guessed. Could it be that person? The pink-haired person added, we're too late, Horde observed and shook his head. That's not right. A human's leg bones are the largest and strongest, but this bone is even bigger. It's definitely not human. Another person discovered something else and shouted, Captain, look at this. Another pile of bones. The group buzzed with chatter. One person identified them. These are the bones of a mutant snake, and those look like bird bones. The bones were picked completely clean. It sent a chill down their spines. One person trembled. What could devour such a large mutant snake so quickly? It's terrifying. The man stroked his chin. Even so, these bones aren't human. Maybe that person isn't dead yet. Horde looked at the bones, deep in thought. This is clearly the aftermath of a fierce battle. Could he have escaped alone, or are the deaths of these mutants related to him? Scene change. Sao Tiu. Luong drove the RV with Bifi-Fay in the passenger seat, happily sticking her head out and cheering. He laughed out loud. This is the life every college student dreams of. And I achieved it 2 years early. If I had a signal, I would have posted this moment already. He asked little Bach, how is it, isn't it awesome? Bach. Fee. Fee nodded, her eyes shining brightly. Suddenly, he spotted a horde of zombies ahead and was surprised. Why do they look so familiar? Turns out they're old acquaintances. He grinned slyly, since we're fated to meet, helped me test out my new ride. I'm sure you guys won't mind, right? He floored it, the vehicle shot forward and crashed right into the zombies, sending them flying like scattered leaves. They fell, snarling angrily, and gave chase. Sao Tiu Luong ordered System Old 2 turn off the rebound function. I want to test the vehicle's blast resistance, the system replied cheerfully. Roger that, host. The car sped on, while Bifi-Fay excitedly looked back at the flying zombies. The horde surrounded the vehicle, clawing at it. Sao Tiu Luong yelled, time to show off my real skills. He spun the wheel, swerving the car and sending zombies flying everywhere. Bifi-Fay smiled brightly. This is so much fun. Inside the car, the lights glowed brightly. The bathroom was filled with steam and the scent of shower gel. Sao Tiu Luong was happily showering, lathering his hair with shampoo and sighing. It's been so long since the apocalypse began that I've had a shower this comfortable. Hot water shampoo shower gel. This feels first class. Suddenly, a shadow appeared behind the curtain. He pulled it back, but saw no one. He mumbled, who's there, but there was no sound. He pulled the other curtain closed and continued his shower, but he still felt uneasy. Why do I feel like someone's staring at me? The shadow appeared again. He yelled, stop sneaking around. He yanked the curtain open, and there stood Bifi-Fay. He panicked, covering himself with a towel, and stammered, little Bach, when did you get in here? Bifi-Fay moved closer, stammering, Sao Tiu. Luong yelled in a panic, what are you doing? I'm in the middle of a shower. Don't come any closer. The system appeared out of nowhere and teased, can't you see what's happening? She's craving your body. His heart skipped a beat as he yelled, Old 2, are you a pervert? Are you peeping on me while I shower? The system said angrily, who's peeping? I'm working overtime out of responsibility for your body if you won't thank me. At least don't slander me. As Bifi-Fay got closer, Sao Tiu Luong blushed and thought to himself, even though little Bach is a zombie, she's really beautiful. He closed his eyes thinking, if I have to, I'll just reluctantly go along with it. But then he waved his hands and shook his head frantically. No way. This is basically doing it with a zombie. It's so shameless. Bifi-Fay bared her pearly whites and bit him. He recoiled in panic. I'm bitten, I'm going to turn. But then he checked and was surprised there was no blood. Looking closer, he saw the foam from his hand and sighed in relief. Luckily, the shower gel took the hit. Bifi-Fay spat out the foam and turned to him with a terrifying smile. He immediately ran with Bifi-Fay in hot pursuit. He called the system, Old 2, what's happening? Why did little Bach suddenly lose control? The system replied, didn't I already tell you? She's craving your body, it explained. A zombie's stomach is a bottomless pit. They constantly need to eat to satisfy their hunger. What has she eaten today? Now there's a delicious piece of fresh meat like you right in front of her. Of course she'd lose control, he yelled. You didn't make it clear you meant craving literally. As he ran, he shouted, stop chasing me, I'll go get you some food. A table full of meat appeared, and Bifi-Fay happily devoured it. Sao Tiu Luong sighed in relief. Good thing I had that snake meat, otherwise I don't know how I would have filled her up. He rested his chin on his hand worriedly. I was lucky this time, but if I don't solve this, little Bach is like a ticking time bomb. What if I get eaten in my sleep one day? He asked the system, Old 2, isn't there any way to keep me safe? It replied simply, feed her before she gets hungry. He sighed. That's the same as saying nothing. Suddenly his eyes lit up and he clapped his hands. That's it. I'll use that thing. He rummaged through a cabinet, found a set of dentures, and smiled slyly. The next day, the RV was ready for a new journey. Sao Tiu Luong was dressed neatly. He looked incredibly handsome and full of confidence. The vehicle sped along Bifi-Fay. Fay happily looked in the mirror, wearing her new braces. The system exclaimed in admiration, I never thought dentures could be so useful. Host, you're a true genius, he replied. As long as you don't lose your wits, there are always more solutions than problems. He laughed. Braces are the ultimate solution for zombies. The system nodded. This is a major discovery. I'll report it to my superiors. Suddenly, Sao Tiu Luong spotted a military vehicle. He stopped and got out to investigate. He opened the door, but it was empty, then looked under the vehicle. He was shocked. Why are there so many sharp spikes here? Xiao Luong dusted off his hands and saw Bifi-Fay copying him. He concluded, it looks like someone set this trap on purpose to stop this vehicle. From the forest, a loud noise sent birds scattering in panic. Xiao Luong was startled and turned around, gunshots behind him. Bifi-Fay unleashed her power and growled. He raised a hand to calm her. Little Bok calmed down. He deduced from the sound that it was all sniper fire coming from a single gun. The two approached the source of the sound. Through his binoculars, Xiao Luong saw a woman fighting zombies. Bifi-Fay looked on bewildered. The woman with cold purple eyes was aiming at the zombie horde. Not a single miss. He was impressed. Her shooting skills were not bad, and she was a beauty, too. Unfortunately, she wouldn't last long. He explained that this type of gun only holds 10 rounds and reloading takes time. It's fine for long range, but its weakness shows when enemies get close. He suddenly remembered being eaten by zombies in his past life for this very reason. The more the girl shot, the less ammo she had as the zombies charged relentlessly. Xiao Luong wondered if he should help. He hit himself on the head, scolding himself. Beauty is a dangerous trap. I just got fooled. How could I forget so quickly? Seeing this, Bifi-Fay copied him and hit her own head. The ferocious zombies' mouths open and tongues out closed in on the girl. She fired confidently, but when she pulled the trigger, the gun didn't fire. She was startled. She was out of ammo. A zombie lunged forward and almost bit her. Without hesitation, she dropped the gun and drew a dagger from her back. Xiao Luong was astonished. My God, such a deadly melee weapon. She leaped up, killing one zombie, then spun around and swiftly finished off 2 others. Zombie corpses piled up at her feet. She held her blade high like a goddess of war. Then she walked down to the river, closed her eyes, and took off her outer shirt, revealing a seductive black bra and her stunning figure. Xiao Luong's nose started bleeding profusely. He covered his eyes, muttering, I shouldn't look, I shouldn't look. He thought to himself that this woman slaughters zombies so fiercely. If she mistakes me for a pervert, she'll tear me to shreds. So he put away the binoculars and called out, Xiao Bai, let's go. But Bifi-Fay was mesmerized by a purple butterfly. She accidentally elbowed Xiao Luong, making him lose his balance and tumble down the cliff. She just kept chasing the butterflies, oblivious. Xiao Luong rolled down the slope like a ball, his face planting in the dirt. He slid upside down in pain and anger. He jumped to his feet and roared, Xiao Bai Yu. Suddenly, he felt something strange on his head. What is this? When he pulled it off, he was stunned to realize it was a pair of white panties with a cute little purple bow. They were so cute they made his nose bleed. Glancing aside, he saw some familiar clothes scattered on the grass. They were obviously that woman's. Flustered, Xiao Luong darted his eyes around. He thought to himself, speak of the devil, I should run before she gets back. The moment he thought that a cold blade was pressed to his neck, radiating a palpable killing intent. The woman had appeared, her eyes icy, so one fish slipped through the net. Xiao Luong's face turned pale. He trembled as he turned to her, quickly raising his hands to surrender. He tried to explain, I'm human, you can check if you don't believe me. But he forgot he was still clutching the white panties. The girl trembled with anger, her eyes flashing fire, realizing his mistake. He quickly threw the panties away and stammered, Don't misunderstand, I'm not a bad guy, I was just passing by. I didn't see anything. But his clumsy denial only infuriated her more. When a man says he didn't see anything, it means he saw everything. Without hesitation, she swung her blade, shouting, You despicable pervert, die! Xiao Luong covered his head and screamed for help. Xiao Bai. From the cliff above, Xiao Bai flipped and shot down like a flash, landing a powerful kick on the other woman's back. But her opponent quickly blocked with her knife. The woman looked up in surprise. He has help. The two clashed, starting a fierce duel. They were evenly matched. The woman grew more curious about Xiao Bai. What's this girl's background? Her slashes were sharp and cautious, but Xiao Bai was just as nimble, dodging every blow. She still wore a bright smile, as if she was just playing, but determined to catch her opponent. Xiao Luong watched from the side, his head swaying as he followed their movements. His nose started bleeding uncontrollably again. The other woman noticed and shouted at him, What are you looking at? Keep looking and I'll gouge your eyes out. He quickly wiped away the blood, muttering, Girls are so vicious when they fight. I'll back up for safety. With that, he ran off, shouting back, Xiao Bai, I'll wait for you in the car. To Xiao Bai, her opponent's large, soft chest looked like 2 giant melons. It made her develop an indecent curiosity. Like a child with a new toy, she lunged forward. The sudden touch made the other girl scream in panic. Aren't you a girl? Why are you such a pervert, too? Just then, a bullet suddenly tore through the air. They both jumped apart to dodge it. A strangely dressed man with slicked-up hair appeared calmly dealing with the zombies as he approached. As expected of Gu Yue, one of the henchmen said, his eyes filled with lust. Boss, his taste is impeccable. Tisk tisk, that body is seriously hot. The girl glared at the man with disgust. Hijian, she said bluntly, why are you here? I was wondering who was messing with me on the road. So it was you people. You deliberately led those zombies here too, didn't you? Hijian didn't deny it and just smirked. That's right. When you rejected me, you never thought this day would come, did you? A cold red light flashed in his eyes. If you had just handed over management of the base to me, I might have kept you around to enjoy a comfortable life. But since you decided to disrespect me, then don't blame me for being impolite. At Hijian's command, his men all drew their guns and aimed at the woman. Fire, he roared. The woman flinched, her eyes wide with terror as a hail of bullets flew at her. With barely anything on, she was forced to desperately defend herself as the men fired continuously. Every bullet was aimed right at her, but with her nimble movements she flipped and skillfully slipped barefoot into the dense forest. A woman in gaudy makeup yelled, "She's getting away." Hijian remained calm, a sinister smile playing on his lips. There's no way out over there, she can't escape. He chuckled slyly, but letting her die so easily would be letting her off too lightly. He shouted, his voice echoing, "Capture her alive for me." His men immediately spread out guns in hand and gave chase. Suddenly one of them stopped and turned to report boss. "There's another woman over here." Xiao Bai was looking around aimlessly with a confused expression. "She doesn't look too bright, maybe she's a bit slow in the head." A man covered head to toe next to him whispered, "What should we do? Should we go capture her?" Hijian showed no mercy, his eyes cold. "We have so many brothers here. Of course we have to share the good things. Wait a little while after I've had my fun. This one will be your reward." His men immediately cheered. "Thank you, boss. Long live the boss." 3 men now surrounded Xiao Bai, their eyes filled with lust while her beautiful face remained naive. Not understanding the situation, her innocence only fueled their wicked thoughts. They smirked. "So pure, just my type." One of them snuck up behind Xiao Bai. He cooed, "Pretty girl, don't be afraid. I'll take good care of you." But as soon as his arm touched her, Xiao Bai casually turned and snapped his wrist. The unlucky man screamed miserably, "My hand!" He fell backwards. The other 2 instantly drew their guns and yelled, "You bitch, you want to die for fighting back." Just then, the screech of tires was heard as a truck charged forward. Its front end slammed right into the 2 men with a fatal blow, sending them and their guns flying. Cao Tu Luong stuck his hand out of the vehicle, defiantly raised his middle finger and yelled, "You goddamn bastards! You're the ones with the death wish for touching Xiao Bai." Seeing him, a bright smile bloomed on Xiao Bai's face. She jumped onto the truck's roof holding something strange. Cao Tu Luong, still unaware, looked up and asked Xiao Bai, "Are you okay?" She hung upside down, showing him the object, which made him scream, "Where did you get a human hand? Throw it away quickly." From deep within the forest, the rustling of leaves signaled someone's movement. The woman from earlier, drenched in a cold sweat, ran desperately along the trail, but just as Hijian predicted, the path ended at a deep, inescapable abyss. The woman whispered with a trembling voice, "It's a dead end." Hijian and his men had caught up right behind her. He roared in a triumphant voice, "Don't bother resisting anymore. You can't run." One of the women swung her weapon at her, forcing her to defend herself. With only one hand, she was easily tripped by her opponent and fell to the ground. A cold gun barrel was pointed at her beautiful, now helpless face. Hijian grinned, his voice sharp with mockery. "See that? This is how useless women are." Hesitating and being scared just because of a piece of cloth covering your body, the woman gritted her teeth and yelled furiously, "You are truly despicable." Hijian's smile widened arrogantly. "I've been despicable for a long time now. You're only just realizing that." He violently grabbed her hair. "What I hate most is your high and mighty holier-than-thou act." He whispered in her ear, his tone infuriatingly perverted. "Today I'm going to show you what true depravity is." Still gripping her, he forced her towards his crotch. "I'll have my fun first, then I'll tie you to the front of the truck and return to base so everyone can see just how lewd their goddess really is." The woman's face contorted, her eyes blazing with indignation. "This bastard!" Just then, Cao Tu Luong's truck suddenly appeared before them. Xiao Bai decisively leaped from the roof like a tornado, landing right on top of Hijian. Knocking him to the ground, she instinctively grabbed him and ruthlessly tore his clothes off. Hijian panicked and yelled, "Where did this crazy woman come from? Help me!" The other two girls stared in shock, yelling, "Boss!" Two massive trucks sped by, blocking their way. Taio Luong expertly spun the truck in a screeching drift to get close to the girl. The truck door slowly opened. Seeing she was still dazed, he pointed inside from the driver's seat and said simply, "Get in." The girl flinched and reflexively replied, "Huh, okay." Before leaving, she quickly grabbed the gun from the ground. Hijian was still pinned down by Tu Bok, leaving her free to act. She looked at him, her voice cold. "You want to be comfortable, right? I'll grant you that wish." A bullet from the gun shot out, aimed straight at his crotch to make him as comfortable as possible. The bullet missed, only hitting the dirt, but it was enough to make Hijian piss his pants in fear. Clutching the scrap of fabric on her body, she looked at him with contempt. Men are so useless, getting scared enough to wet your pants over something so small. With that, she turned and got into the truck. Taio Luong shouted, "Tu Bok, you get in the truck too." Tu Bok jumped and landed lightly on the wooden floor inside the truck. The vehicle immediately roared to life and sped off like an arrow. Hijian snapped out of his daze and started screaming, "Son of a bitch, you dare mess with me! Fire!" His men immediately opened fire. Bullets flew like rain, hitting the plants on either side of the road, but even well-aimed shots just ricocheted off a shield. The vehicle's sturdy system deflected them. The blinding flash from the shield made the men cover their heads in panic. Why are the bullets flying back at us? In the chaos, the truck escaped, cruising smoothly down a quiet road. From the driver's seat, Taio Luong called back, "There are no girls' clothes on board. There's some of my stuff in the drawer you can change into, but it's a little torn. If you don't mind, you can wear it." The girl glanced at the wooden cabinet beside her and replied, "Then I won't stand on ceremony." She casually pulled out a dark shirt, mumbling, "I guess this will do." Seeing the strange rip on the shirt, she exclaimed in surprise, "What a weird tear." Without hesitating, she tore another piece of fabric from the cabinet and buttoned up the shirt, covering herself up. Once decent, she pulled back the curtain and stepped out, looking scorching hot. Taio Luong looked back and was startled. "Whoa, you're wearing the shirt like that. A figure like that is enough to tempt a man to sin." The girl smiled and came closer, her voice full of gratitude. "Thank you for the clothes." But suddenly a cold, sharp blade was pressed against Taio Luong's neck and his face fell. The girl whispered threateningly, "Now if you don't want to die, do as I say. Pull over to the side of the road." She had already noticed that Tu Bok was distracted playing with some fabric. "She isn't paying attention to you." She smiled slyly. "If you call for help, what do you think is faster, my knife or her?" Taio Luong's jaw dropped as if he wanted to scream. Why is this happening again? Is there no one normal left in this world, no one whose humanity isn't warped and whose morals haven't decayed? He silently begged the system in his head, second in command, eject her now. But the system replied helplessly, "Host, that's not possible. Because you personally invited her into the vehicle, the protection program has designated her as a VIP guest. The system's tools will not harm a VIP guest." He screamed in desperation. "What kind of rule is this?" The girl behind him heard him and asked suspiciously, "Who are you talking to?" Taio Luong trembled and quickly replied, "No one. No one. Miss, please calm down. I'll do whatever you say." The truck gently swerved and pulled over to the side of the road. As he drove, Taio Luong cried internally, vowing, "I, Taio Luong, swear that if I ever meddle in other people's business again, I'll be a dog." The girl was now sitting comfortably in the passenger seat, still holding the cold knife to his neck. In a frigid tone, she said, "Talk. Why did you save me?" With teary eyes, Taio Luong replied, "If I said it's because I'm a good person, would you spare me?" The girl pressed the blade closer, her eyes sharp. "You must have heard the saying in the apocalypse, kill the bleeding hearts first." He panicked and quickly denied it, "A good person who's a good person. It's definitely not me." Taio Luong cleared his throat a few times, composed himself, and began to explain seriously. "All right. The truth is, I'm an apocalypse chef. I saw how well you can fight. You must have a lot of crystal cores, so I wanted to make you my customer." The girl was taken aback, muttering "apocalypse chef," but then it started to click. She glanced at the back of the truck. No wonder the back is set up like a kitchen with so much cooking equipment. She nodded. "The timing is good since all the other chefs are long gone. The chef at our base just happened to die from eating a poison mushroom." Stroking her chin, the girl considered his offer. "If what you're saying is true, I can consider making arrangements for you." Hearing what he wanted, Taio Luong's eyes lit up and he immediately asked, "How many people are in your base?" "Is it 100 people?" The girl smiled proudly, her voice full of arrogance. Who are you looking down on? Our steel mill is the largest base for 100 miles around. We have at least 300 people. He clenched his fists, filled with excitement. This is amazing. I can't believe I found 100 customers this fast. Even if only a third of them give a good review, completing the mission is a sure thing. He started dreaming of grand possibilities, a contented smile on his face. It's true that good deeds get rewarded, but the girl's face suddenly turned serious and suspicious. But this could also be protecting you. Maybe you just stole this truck. Why should I trust you? Just then, her stomach growled from hunger, making her blush with embarrassment. She blurted out, unless you make me something to eat. If it tastes good, then that will prove you're really a chef. Taio Luong looked at her immediately, seeing through her facade. This woman is obviously starving, but trying to save face. He nodded and rolled up his sleeves enthusiastically. All right. Fine, let me show you a little of what I can do. The girl was seated in a waiting area while he enthusiastically entered the kitchen, ready to show off his skills. First, Taio Luong scrolled quickly on the screen. He looked at the dishes for reference, but then he scratched his head in confusion. He had to develop a new dish, so he couldn't make anything already on the menu. Worried, he mumbled, egg tarts, octopus balls, I've already made all of these. Taio Luong was flustered, thinking to himself, I'm just a regular student. I only know how to make a few things. I'm really not a great cook. Suddenly, a shadow zipped past behind him. Startled, he jumped and swung a kitchen knife, yelling, Oh my God, a mutant snake. How did it get in here? But then Tubac appeared from inside the snakeskin, deliberately trying to scare him. Taio Luong's eyes widened at the sight of the skin, and he suddenly remembered. Oh, that's right. Earlier, I saw Tubac's pants were ripped, so I grabbed a piece of cloth to wrap around her. Turns out it was the skin from that snake. She seems to really enjoy playing with the skin. He sat down and gently patted her head, saying softly, Sorry, I forgot. I remember there's a needle and thread in the drawer. Let me help you patch that up. Outside, the girl was getting impatient, muttering angrily, What kind of chef takes this long to make a single dish? The customer is about to starve to death out here. Suspecting he was a fraud, she quickly went down the stairs, determined to confront Taio Luong. Meanwhile, he was meticulously threading the needle sewing with great skill. The thin thread slid through the needle's eye, moving nimbly in his hands. Before long, he had finished a pair of boots for Tubac. All done. He put the boots on her. Tubac looked down at her feet with interest, kicked them a few times, and happily exclaimed, This is no longer a problem. The girl's voice suddenly rang out, full of surprise. I didn't realize you could sew. Taio Luong smiled brightly and waved it off modestly. It's just a small thing. When I was a kid, my dad didn't have time for me, and my mom was busy with work, so my grandma raised me in the countryside. I just watched her and learned. He smiled happily, recalling the old memories. If my grandma were still alive now, she'd be over 100 years old. With her fighting prowess, anyone who ran into her would be out of luck. The girl laughed and nodded in agreement. People often say kids raised by their grandparents are very fortunate to have so many people who love you. It's really something to be envious of, Taio Luong pouted. Every time I made trouble, I got a double serving of bamboo shoots with shredded pork. You can have that blessing if you want it. Unexpectedly, the girl replied frankly, her voice low and sad. My younger brother and I are orphans. We grew up in an orphanage and never met our parents. If I could, I would really want that. Taio Luong was stunned, his face frozen in surprise. He guiltily turned away. The girl immediately got back to the point, her voice serious. Let's not get emotional. When is the food going to be ready? Taio Luong replied hastily. A bit flustered. You're the one who asked. The girl suddenly sneezed from the cold. He quickly grabbed a warm snakeskin and draped it over her. Here, wear this. He stood up and advised her sincerely. You're not wearing enough, especially after fighting out there. It's a wonder you haven't caught a cold. After their little chat, a cooking idea suddenly struck him. I've got it. I'm going to make this. Soon after he placed a pot of food on the table, the girl curiously looked at the strange, shimmering golden dish. Is this porridge? It does not look like it. Taio Luong smiled friendly and explained this bowl is not porridge, but snake soup. The girl was startled and exclaimed in horror, Snake. She glanced at the snakeskin draped over her and suddenly understood with a suspicious look. She questioned in a wary tone, the meat of the mutant snake is not that infected. Is it edible? He confidently puffed out his chest and assured her, do not worry, the infected parts of the mutant snake have been removed. It is completely safe to eat. Even so, her heart was still full of doubt. Can this thing really be eaten? Cao Tiu Luong leaned in his eyes, twinkling provocatively. What is wrong? Are you not scared? Then he picked up the bowl of soup, pretending to take it away. Well then, do not blame me, but my cooking skills have already been proven. It is just that you are too scared to eat it. He called out loudly, Xiaobai, come here and eat. Xiaobai was nearby. Seeing the food, he flashed a goofy grin and rushed over, but the girl suddenly snatched the bowl back, her voice firm, who said, I do not dare. So with a trembling hand, she held the spoon, scooped a mouthful of soup, and brought it to her lips. Instantly, her face relaxed, filled with satisfaction. The hot, tender snake meat melted in her mouth, causing her an internal struggle. Is not it just a mutant snake? I am not even afraid of live snakes, let alone a dead one. Mustering all her courage, she put the whole spoonful in her mouth, determined not to be looked down upon. A sensation like electricity shot through her head, startling her. A soft, smooth, and sweet flavor exploded in her mouth. This texture is so soft, just like jelly. She blushed and murmured in a captivated voice, so soft and smooth, fresh and sweet, just a gentle bite fills my mouth with flavor. Her tongue felt as if it were enveloped in a gentle sensation. It made her think of relaxing in a warm milk bath. A happy smile bloomed on her face, so blissful, but suddenly, she paused, a flicker of doubt in her eyes. Wait, it feels like there is something underneath. The imaginary milk bath in her mind suddenly stirred as if containing a powerful life force that stimulated her body. Misty white smoke swirled around, making the space more mysterious. The water's surface grew hotter. Suddenly, an egg from an unknown source cracked open from inside. Countless tiny snake tails in the shape of Cao Tiu Luong popped out, wriggling with life. The girl frantically covered herself, but Cao Tiu Luong had already rushed forward, performing a surprising act that stunned her countless snakes in his form simultaneously. Bit into her body, her face flushed red as a strange sensation arose. What is this peculiar feeling? Numb, aching, yet scorching hot. Every pore felt like it was opening up. The cold ki dissipated, and her whole body felt like it was melting. She leaned back, panting, and cried out, Do not come any closer. I cannot take it anymore. Returning to reality, her legs were trembling. The snakeskin cloak accidentally slipped off. She struggled to stand, panting. After the intense pleasure, Cao Tiu Luong stood beside her and asked worriedly, What is wrong? Are you feeling any warmer now? The girl looked down at her hands, surprised to find the earlier chill had completely vanished. Though she was sweating all over, she was not exhausted. On the contrary, she was full of strength. She jumped to her feet and asked in amazement, Is this really snake meat? How can it be so magical? Cao Tiu Luong smiled and explained, Snake meat is inherently nutritious. Not only does it nourish chi, blood, and bones, but it can also expel cold and replenish stamina. He took out a small glass jar and said excitedly in a low voice, But this snake meat is just a secondary ingredient. The real soul of the dish is this. The girl curiously followed his hand. He sprinkled a few grains on Xiaobai's head, making her sneeze without hiding anything. He said, Frankly, it is fresh ginger and pepper. A big question mark appeared in the girl's mind. Pepper. He continued excitedly, When I was a kid, every time I caught a cold, my grandma would force me to drink a bowl of hot and spicy soup. I would feel better right after drinking it. It was more effective than medicine, all thanks to adding pepper. The girl smiled faintly, secretly pleased. I did not expect this naive-looking kid to know so much. Cao Tiu Luong took out a tablet and proposed, So do you believe I am a chef now? If you are satisfied, please give me a good review. The screen showed 5 rating levels with corresponding stars. The girl decisively tapped and gave him his first 5-star review after finishing. She was more open now, but still reminded him, I acknowledge your skills, but becoming the base's chef is not that simple. You do not just have to know how to cook. You also have to provide meals for hundreds of people at once. For now, this just counts as passing the preliminary round, whether you will be hired or not. You will have to come back with me for further evaluation. Hearing this, anger flared up in Cao Tiu Luong. He muttered, Great, looking for a chef is like hiring for a big factory. Just to eat a meal, I have to go through a preliminary round and an interview that is more exploitative than a capitalist. Yue. Cao Tiu Luong took a deep breath and told himself, For the mission, I will endure it. He continued driving towards a huge base where structures and pipes intertwined. Gu Yue looked through the window, pointed inside, and said, That is my base. Cao Tiu Luong exclaimed in awe as he drove. The walls are so high they were cruising on a highway that used to be the largest steel mill. The towering reinforced concrete walls stood in a prime location, easy to defend and hard to attack. Gu Yue gazed thoughtfully at the scenery outside and slowly recounted, We survivors have wandered through many places. Only to find this place to settle down. Her words piqued Cao Tiu Luong's curiosity. It truly is an excellent shelter. No wonder those guys keep trying to fight you for territory. Speaking of that, Gu Yue's eyes flashed with anger, that bastard Hijian. At first I saw him being chased to a dead end by zombies and took pity on him. So I let him stay. Who knew he was such a disgusting scumbag? She gritted her teeth as she recounted the unpleasant events. Not only did he harass me all day, he also spread rumors that I liked him. Hijian went even further. He secretly brought his cronies from outside, intending to take over the entire base. Luckily, the patrol team discovered it in time. She held her head and sighed. I really regret just chasing him away back then instead of killing him. Suddenly, she drew a dagger. She held it close to Taio Luong's neck. Her voice cold, but falling once is a lesson learned if you dare to be like him. He turned pale with fear and quickly explained, "Do not worry. I would rather like a zombie than like you at this moment." The base's gate was still tightly shut. Two girls on the city wall pointed their guns down and shouted, "Stop!" The vehicle Gu Yue stepped out of the driver's cabin and waved at them. The two girls immediately cheered with joy. It is Sister Yue. Open the gate. Sister Yue is back. The base gate slowly opened, revealing a pre-built entrance. Taio Luong's truck rolled in. As soon as Gu Yue stepped down, a crowd rushed over to ask Sister Yue, "Why did you change vehicles? We did not recognize you just now." One person frowned, looking at her tattered clothes, and pointed a gun at Taio Luong with a hostile tone. "What happened to your clothes? Was it you who made Sister Yue like this?" He quickly raised both hands to protest. "You cannot just say things like that. If it were not for me, she would not have any clothes at all." Gu Yue quickly pinched Taio Luong's mouth and yelled, "Shut up." Regaining her composure, she turned to the two girls and explained, "It has nothing to do with him. On the way back, I was ambushed by Hijian's men. Although I managed to shake them off, I could not bring back the car and supplies." After hearing this, the two girls exclaimed angrily, "Hijian, it is that bastard again. If Sister Yue had not saved his life, he would have been devoured by zombies long ago." One person gritted their teeth, "That ungrateful bastard, do not let me see him or I will blow his head off." Their attention then shifted to Taio Luong and Zhao Bai. "Sister Yue, who are they?" Gu Yue smiled cheerfully and introduced them. "These two are the new chefs I hired lately. Eating biscuits every day has been tough on everyone. Today we are going to have a better meal, something hot," she continued excitedly. "I remember we caught a wild boar before, but since the last chef died, no one knows how to cook it. So it is still in the warehouse. Where is old Lu? Tell him to bring that meat out." She waved Taio Luong over. "Frying up a few delicious dishes will also be a test of your skills." He pouted and muttered, "I have not even had a sip of water, and I'm already being put to work. You are really heartless." The two girls hesitated, looking apprehensive about that. Old Lu was called away by Brother Chung. Gu Yue was surprised to hear that name, Gu Chung. The scene shifts to the base's warehouse, a place few people visit. A piece of meat is thrown mercilessly onto the ground. A girl with a disgusted look on her face shouted, "What is this? It is dirty and smells weird. I am not eating it." Gu Chung stepped forward to comfort her. "Hong, do not be angry. Do not worry. How could I let you eat this?" Two other young men turned to yell at a middle-aged man. "Old Lu, are you deaf? Brother Chung said to get the most nutritious food, and you bring us this garbage." Old Liu quickly explained, "This is not garbage. It is wild boar meat." "The nutritional content is very high," Gu Chung impatiently retorted. "Stop trying to fool people. This thing is just a black lump. What is so nutritious about it?" He turned and walked straight towards the warehouse. "Do not you understand what I am saying?" "All right, I'll go in myself." Lao Lu reached out to stop him, his voice anxious. "Mr. Gu, don't make things hard for me. The warehouse is a critical area of the base unless we have orders from Miss Gu. Otherwise, other people cannot enter at will." The two young men immediately rushed to restrain him. "How can Brother Chung's sister Yue's own brother be considered an outsider? You're just the key keeper. Don't abuse your petty authority," Gu Chung roared in anger. "That's right. My words are my sister's words. Let me in now or I'll make you regret it." Just then, a cold, angry voice rang out. "Gu Chung, what are you doing?" Gu Yue walked over with two girls, her face stern. Seeing his sister, Gu Chung was startled and quickly put on an overjoyed expression. "Sister, you're back." But Gu Yue didn't let him off easily. "You still haven't answered me. Aren't you supposed to be out looking for supplies right now? Why are you at the base? And what are you doing trying to get into the warehouse?" Gu Chung scratched his chin, avoiding her gaze. "We ran into an unexpected situation, so we came back early." He pointed at old Lu and tattled. "Sister, I told him to open the warehouse to get some food, but he brought out this garbage to trick me. He has absolutely no respect for you." Old Lu quickly explained, "Miss Gu, it's not like that. It's because young Master Gu Yue raised her hand for him to stop. She looked down at the piece of wild boar meat on the ground, growing cold. Her eyes radiated the authority of a leader. "Pick it up," she ordered firmly. Gu Cheng looked stunned, not understanding what. Gu Yue glared and repeated, "I told you to pick it up." Seeing him still hesitate, she said sternly, "To bring this wild boar back to the base." 3 people were injured. The most serious one still can't get out of bed. Her sharp words made everyone lower their heads, not daring to look up. Every grain of food, every drop of water in this base, was obtained by people risking their lives. Who gave you the right to waste it like this? Gu Cheng clenched his fists with a sullen face and silently picked up the piece of meat. Standing aside, Cao Xiaoliang watched silently, sizing up this woman. When she's serious, she really has the aura of a leader, completely different from her gentle demeanor earlier. He glanced at Gu Cheng and muttered, "But this younger brother of hers, the gap between these 2 siblings is just too wide." Hong Hong peeked out from behind Gu Cheng to apologize. "Sister Gu Yue, I'm sorry, it's my fault. Please don't blame Ah Cheng." Gu Yue's cold gaze immediately shifted to the girl. Hong Hong, looking frail, quickly hid behind Gu Cheng for protection. Annoyed, Gu Yue turned to her brother and yelled, "Who is she?" The girl behind Gu Cheng spoke timidly. Seeing this, Ah Cheng, Gu Cheng gallantly shielded the girl, saying, "Sister Hong Hong is timid. Don't scare her." Hearing this, Gu Yue thought with suspicion, "I haven't done anything to her. How could I have scared her?" Seeing her foolish brother, Gu Yue crossed her arms helplessly and said, "So she's the unexpected situation that made you return early." Hearing this, Gu Cheng turned to look at Yin Hong. "Her name is Yin Hong," he said. "We found her while we were looking for supplies. At that time, she was hiding alone in a small, empty supermarket. The outside was surrounded by zombies." Gu Cheng looked at the sobbing Yin Hong behind him and continued. "When we rescued her, she hadn't eaten in days. She was so pitiful, so I brought her back." After hearing this, Gu Yue and Cao Xiaoliang were startled. "Starving for several days, you say?" Then he cheered up, thinking, as the proverb goes, hunger is the best sauce. A 5-star rating with almost 0 difficulty. "This is my favorite kind of customer." Hearing this, Gu Yue yelled in anger, "Don't you know the rules of this base? How can you just bring back someone whose background is unknown?" Gu Cheng didn't back down and retorted, "Hong Hong is not some unknown person." He quickly explained Yin Hong's background. Her father is the richest man in this city. Her mother is a famous pianist. She's a true pampered lady. Gu Cheng said excitedly to Gu Yue's sister, "I know you're traumatized by what happened with Hijian, but Hong Hong isn't like him. She's the purest and kindest girl I've ever met. I couldn't just leave her to die." Hearing this, Gu Yue clicked her tongue in annoyance. The 2 who had opened the door for Gu Yue earlier spoke up indignantly, "Brother Cheng, how can you say that? Taking in Hijian before wasn't just Sister Yue's decision. You can only blame that bastard for being such a good actor that he fooled all of us. Besides, just because Hijian was a bad person, does that automatically make her a good one? Innocence and kindness aren't written on one's face." Hearing this, Gu Cheng's men stood up and retorted, "Don't judge a noble heart with your own petty minds. She's a rich young lady who's had to face the apocalypse. That's pitiful enough. Can't you show a little compassion?" The other 2 girls retorted without holding back. "Just because she's rich, that automatically makes her a good person. Ever heard of the saying, rich and ruthless? I think you guys are the ones who are mesmerized by a pretty face, not even listening to Sister Yue anymore." Hearing this, Cao Xiaoliang was completely confused. He wondered what's going on. Why have they started arguing? But then he seemed to realize something. Cao Xiaoliang cheered up. "But the more they argue, the hungrier they get, which means my mission is almost complete." Seeing them argue more intensely, Cao Xiaoliang and Zhao Bai happily cheered them on from the side. "Keep going, don't stop. Keep going, don't stop." Hearing this, Gu Cheng irritably shouted, "What's all the noise about?" Gu Cheng looked at them and asked, "Who are these 2? I've never seen them before." Gu Yue rubbed her head helplessly and said, "They're the new chefs I brought back from outside." His sister's answer seemed to hit a nerve, and he yelled, "You won't let me bring Hong Hong back, but you bring back random people, sister. How can you have such double standards?" Then he angrily turned and pointed at Cao Xiaoliang and his companion and yelled, "Besides, they don't look like proper chefs. They're definitely scammers, just like Hijian." As soon as he finished, Gu Cheng ordered his underlings, "Throw them out." His men immediately moved toward Cao Xiaoliang and his companion, shouting, "Didn't you hear? Hurry up and get out!" Hearing their aggressive shouts, an angry Zhao Bai rushed forward. With a punch and a kick, she knocked them to the ground where they cried out in pain. "My arm, it hurts so much." Seeing Zhao Bai deftly defend him, Cao Xiaoliang said cheerfully, Xiaobai, ease up. How can you be so rough with our customers? The two of them whispered, if you have to hit them, aim for the legs. If their arms are broken, how can they eat? Cao Xiaoliang then gently approached Gucheng's two men. He said in a soft voice, my apologies. My employee is a bit hot-tempered. As an apology, you two can have a free side dish when you dine with us. Please give us a good review, okay? Hearing this, the two men held their shoulders in pain and said, what, you beat us up and now you want a good review? Are you out of your mind? Yin Hong watched from behind with a sinister expression. Unaware, Gucheng pulled out his gun and threatened, you still dare to fight back? I knew you two were no good. Seeing the situation escalating, Gu Yue rushed toward Gucheng. She shouted loudly, Gucheng, stop! A gunshot rang out, and Cao Xiaoliang was killed. Everyone was horrified. Cao Xiaoliang fell lying motionless in the yard. Seeing him dead, Xiaobai went berserk, let out a roar, and lunged at Gucheng like a bolt of lightning. She kicked the gun from his hand. Stunned by what was happening, Gucheng panicked and yelled, what the hell is going on? And then a barrage of punches rained down on Gucheng, making him back away in pain. Stop, stop! Don't hit me anymore! Xiaobai screamed and lunged straight at Gucheng. She bit down hard on his arm, making him scream in agony. Unable to break free, Gucheng turned to the two girls and pleaded, are you blind? Can't you see I'm being attacked? Hurry up and shoot her, seeing Gucheng in this state. Remembering his earlier attitude, the two girls ignored him. Seeing things were not looking good, Yin Hong went to the two men Xiaobai had beaten up and pleaded, you two please go help him. Hearing this, the two young men replied in terror, no, we can't do that. That girl is too strong, we're no match for her, she already broke my arm. Hearing this, Yin Hong clicked her tongue in annoyance and muttered, ugh, completely useless. Meanwhile, Xiaobai, her eyes bloodshot, was still in a rage. As she bit his arm, Gucheng felt he couldn't take it anymore. He reached out to his sister, pleading, sister, save me, this crazy woman is trying to kill me. He saw Gu Yue ignoring his desperate cries. She turned her back and walked away. Gucheng cried out in panic, sister, don't go. Gu Yue walked sadly to Cao Xiaoliang's body. She closed his eyes and said mournfully, I'm sorry. If I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have brought you here. I never expected to get you killed. As soon as Gu Yue finished, Cao Xiaoliang's eyes shot open and he sat up, making her scream in shock. Oh my God, Cao Xiaoliang stood up and calmly stretched. Everyone was stunned by the sight. Seeing Cao Xiaoliang awake, Xiaobai, acting as if it were perfectly normal, happily turned and said, aha. Then she sprang up and ran towards him. Seeing her, he opened his arms to embrace her. Silly girl, don't worry. Did you really think your boss would die that easily? After he spoke, Cao Luong shot a dagger-like glare at Gucheng, causing him to panic and stammer, no, this can't be happening. How could you not be dead? Ignoring Gucheng's confusion, Cao Luong angrily grabbed his collar, raised his fist, and cursed, you bastard, you shot without saying a word. Then he aggressively punched Gucheng in the face. If I hadn't reacted quickly, this handsome face of mine would have been ruined. A moment before Gucheng fired that shot, Cao Luong had quickly summoned the system. Damn it, system, use the show-off skill card. A bright light appeared and enveloped him, granting him super speed, and in that life-or-death moment, Cao Luong miraculously dodged the bullet. So this is what super speed feels like. The speed of everything around me has slowed down. I can clearly predict everyone's next move like an Olympic champion racing against the elderly. Showing off really feels great. Seeing Cao Luong so pleased with himself, the system disdainfully announced, show-off skill card usage complete. Duration of use 3.38 seconds. Time remaining 2 minutes 56.62 seconds. Hearing that Cao Luong thought dejectedly, it even counts the decimals. So damn stingy. Seeing Cao Luong alive and well, Gu Yue asked doubtfully, are you really okay? Hearing this, Cao Luong crossed his arms and explained, physically I'm fine. But my spirit has been severely traumatized. I haven't even received my salary yet, and I've already been greeted with a bullet. I guess I'll have to reconsider staying here. Seeing all this, Gucheng roared in anger. Sister, you can't let them stay. Can't you see there's a huge problem with these two? I clearly hit him with that shot. How could he be completely unharmed? And this woman, she's strange all over. Her face is deathly pale, she doesn't speak, and she bites people. The two of them are definitely not normal. After hearing that, Gu Yue turned to Cao Luong doubtfully and began, don't tell me. Hearing this, Cao Luong became anxious, thinking, this is bad. The two girls behind them also chimed in with surprise. The two of you are... Cao Luong panicked. They couldn't have figured out that Xiaobai is a... At that moment, All three of them said in unison. Ability users Cao Tu Luong closed his eyes, expecting them to say zombie, but he was stunned when he heard them, huh? The girl with the high ponytail approached Cao Tu Luong and asked slyly, "You're definitely an ability user, aren't you? Otherwise, how could you have been shot and not have a single scratch?" The other girl excitedly told Gu Yue, "This is great, Sister Yue. Our base has an ability user now." Hearing this, Gu Yue also got excited and patted Cao Tu Luong's shoulder. "I couldn't tell you really hit it well." Seeing the scene in front of him, Cao Tu Luong sighed in relief. "I thought we were exposed." Luckily, these people are imaginative. Seeing him silent, the two girls eagerly rushed over to ask, "What's your ability, Firewater? Since you can dodge bullets, could it be a metal-type ability?" Hearing this, Cao Tu Luong broke into a sweat and stammered, "Well." Seeing him hesitate, Gu Yue stepped in to smooth things over. "It's okay if you don't want to say. After all, there's plenty of time. We'll find out sooner or later." Standing at a distance, Yin Hong silently observed everyone making a fuss over a stranger. Gu Cheng shouted in anger, "Him an ability user? How can that be? Isn't he a chef? Have any of you ever met an ability user who works as a chef?" Hearing this, Cao Tu Luong proudly flipped his hair and replied, "It's my destiny to be one of the chosen, but can't I also just love to cook?" Gu Cheng was rendered speechless by his response. "This guy..." Hearing this, Gu Cheng's two minions whispered to each other doubtfully, "I told you. A normal girl could never fight like that." In that case, including Brother Cheng, our base now has 3 ability users. Hearing that, Cao Tu Luong asked wide-eyed, "You're an ability user too?" Then he rushed over to Gu Cheng, circling and taunting him. "What kind of useless ability do you have to get beaten up by Xiao Bai like that?" Annoyed by his teasing, Gu Cheng snapped, "Is it any of your business?" Gu Yue stepped in to explain Gu Cheng as a potential ability user, but he hasn't awakened yet. Hearing this, Cao Tu Luong was surprised, Seeing that he still didn't get it, Gu Yue crossed her arms and explained, before awakening, ability users show signs like high fevers, hallucinations, and special marks on their bodies. Such people are considered potential ability users. Seeing his reputation falter, Gu Cheng turned to Yin Hong and asserted, Hong, don't worry, I've been getting fevers more frequently lately. I'm sure I'll awaken soon." Then he shot a provocative look at Cao Tu Luong. "We'll see then who's too scared to even say what their ability is. Let's see how arrogant you can be then." Hearing this, Yin Hong replied, Cheng, I've always believed you're the best." Nearby, Xiao Bai grew angry hearing his bragging and was about to lunge at Gu Cheng. This startled him and he yelled, "Don't you come over here!" Seeing that another conflict was about to break out, Gu Yue stepped in. "All right, that's enough for today." Then Gu Yue turned to Yin Hong and laid down the rules. "You can stay, but our base is fair. Everyone has to work for their food. Also, the supplies in the warehouse are communal property and cannot be taken freely. If anyone doesn't follow the rules, they will leave immediately. Understood?" Hearing this, Yin Hong fearfully grabbed Gu Cheng's shirt and replied, "I understand." Hearing this, Gu Cheng roared indignantly, "Sister, I was the one who wanted the food. It has nothing to do with Hong. Don't you dare target her." Gu Yue's cold glance made Gu Cheng shiver and shut up. Ignoring her foolish brother, Gu Yue cheerfully called out, "Old Lu, see what ingredients we have left in the warehouse. Then go pick some fresh vegetables from the field. We're adding an extra meal today to welcome our new members." Old Lu heard this and replied grimly, "Got it." Gu Yue patted Cao Tu Luong's shoulder and said cheerfully, "Make sure you perform well. I brought you here, so don't make me lose face." Hearing this, Cao Tu Luong thought nonchalantly, "This is what they call a welcome. They're just making me cook." Seeing that things weren't going his way, Gu Cheng started to realize something. He went up to his sister and proposed Sister I was being ignorant earlier and caused trouble for Old Lu. "How about you let me prepare the food instead?" Meanwhile, in the dining hall, people were gathered and gossiping. "I heard we have a new chef and he's an ability user." Aren't ability users supposed to be all high and mighty? If they go to any base, aren't they worshipped like gods? So why is he cooking himself? That means he's approachable. He must be a good guy. Ever since our last chef died, I've been so sick of eating crackers. We can finally eat a proper meal. Food made by an ability user must be extraordinary. I'm really looking forward to it. At that moment, various nearly expired food items appeared before Cao Tu Luong. Wilted vegetables, rotten eggs, sprouted potatoes. Seeing the ingredients, Cao Tu Luong said in dismay, "You expect me to make a full 8-course meal with this?" Seeing the spoiled food, Gu Yue turned and asked, "What happened?" Gu Cheng nonchalantly replied, "It can't be helped. It rained a few days ago and all the vegetables in the field were flooded. The warehouse only has rice and flour. I had a hard time finding even these few eggs." His two minions chimed in. Also, we're completely out of seasonings in the kitchen. Sister Yue went out to find salt this time, but she came back with nothing. Gucheng didn't believe that with such terrible ingredients, Cao Tiu Luong could cook a feast, so he said arrogantly, but the simpler the ingredients, the greater the test of a chef's skill. I'm sure you can turn the ordinary into a masterpiece and create a dish that makes people drool, right? Hearing this, Cao Tiu Luong gave a helpless thumbs up. Well, I really appreciate your vote of confidence. Then Cao Tiu Luong mused. No wonder that brat's attitude suddenly changed. He wanted to knock me down a peg. What a joke I have a system. What kind of ingredients can I get as if I'd let you have leverage over me? Suddenly, the system appeared. System reminder. The dimensional space can only be used for items within the food cart. They cannot be removed. After hearing this, Cao Tiu Luong turned pale and asked, There's a rule like that too. Behind Cao Tiu, Luong and Guyue Gucheng's group whispered excitedly, Don't worry, Brother Cheng. I've already hidden all the good ingredients in the base. Let's see what he can make with that trash. Thanks to me hyping it up outside, everyone's expectations are sky high. If he fails to cook up anything decent, not only will he be humiliated, but Sister Yue will lose face too. Hearing how well his lackeys had done, Gucheng praised them well done. Suddenly, from behind, Yin Hong shyly spoke up. Cheng Guyue is your sister, after all. Isn't this a bit too much? Hearing this, the two henchmen immediately defended their boss. They just targeted you like that? And you're still worried about her, Hong? You're too kind. Gucheng turned back and sinisterly explained, Those two are not good people. The base will only be truly safe once they're gone. This base only needs one ability user. I will absolutely not let someone like that threaten my position. Outside, everyone was starving and complaining. Why isn't the food ready yet? How much longer do we have to wait? I'm starving. Suddenly, two of Sister Yue's followers burst in, shouting, Sister Yue, what's going on? Everyone's getting restless waiting. Cao Tiu Luong heard this. He scratched his head in frustration. The eggs are all ruined and the vegetables are rotten. They're completely unusable. Only the rice is still good. He turned to Gu Yue and said, If there's really no other way, we can only make kanji. Hearing this, Gucheng eagerly thought, Oh, kanji, huh? He then quickly threw open the door to the dining hall and shouted, Everyone calm down. The chef says he's making plain kanji for everyone today. Hearing this, everyone was shocked and annoyed. What weren't we promised? 8 dishes, 3 soups, and meat. Why plain kanji? I'd rather eat instant noodles. Seeing the uproar, Gucheng's 2 henchmen chimed in. Hess, an ability user Sister Yue worked hard to recruit. Of course, he'd keep the good stuff for himself. You're lucky to even get plain kanji. If you keep complaining, he might get angry and leave for another base. Hearing this, the crowd cursed angrily. I knew it. Why would an ability user work as a cook so he can hoard the food for himself? Everyone in this base is equal. What gives him special privileges and the right to skimp on our rations? We can't keep someone like that here. It's better if he just leaves. Hearing everyone mock, Cao Tiu Luong Xiaobai gritted her teeth in anger. Seeing this, Cao Tiu Luong calmly thought, This kid is really good at stirring up trouble. Meanwhile, Gucheng thought smugly, He just got here and he's already causing chaos. Let's see how you'll manage to stay this time. Seeing things getting out of hand, Gu Yue shouted an explanation. Everyone listen to me. This is my fault. I ran into trouble on the way and couldn't bring back the ingredients. That's why Chef Cao couldn't prepare a proper feast. I promise I'll find enough ingredients soon. I definitely won't disappoint you next time. Hearing this, the crowd softened their tone and reassured Ah Yue. How can we blame you for this? Scavenging for supplies is hard enough. Your safe return is what matters most. Without Sister Yue, our base wouldn't be here today. Anyone who complains is just ungrateful. It's better than struggling to survive out there. Being able to eat plain kanji every day would be a huge blessing. What more could we complain about? Hearing this, Gu Yue happily exclaimed, Thank you all for understanding. Seeing how Gu Yue changed the situation with just a few words, Yin Hong sneered. The moment Sister Gu Yue speaks, the group's attitude changes instantly. It seems she holds a high place in their hearts. Hearing this, Gucheng thought with annoyance. She actually took the blame for him. Damn it! Yin Hong glanced at Gucheng with a wicked smile. One of the survivors looked inside and said, You must be Chef Cao, right? This old woman's teeth aren't what they used to be. I love plain kanji. The others chimed in. We didn't understand the situation earlier and said some harsh things. Please don't take it to heart. As it happens, I have some pickled vegetables at home. I'll bring them out for everyone. Cao Tiu Luong rubbed his chin, thinking this woman is so young, yet she's already so well loved by everyone. She'll definitely become a powerful figure in the future. His face suddenly paled. A base this size with her leadership should have thrived. But why in my 9 previous lives do I have no memory of this person at all? Sister U.S. female follower shouted, "Today's incident wasn't Chef Kawa's fault, and it wasn't Sister U.S. fault either. It's because someone ruined the pork in the storage. We wouldn't have been stuck with just plain kanji." Hearing this, everyone protested unhappily. "What are you talking about, that wild boar? The one we all worked so hard to catch. Who did this?" Hearing everyone's questions, the other follower pointed at Don Hong and said, "Then you should ask this young lady here. She said the pork was dirty and threw it away because she wouldn't eat it." Hearing this, Don Hong glared and huffed. The crowd heard and began to scold her indignantly. "Aren't you the girl Gu Chung brought back? Why would you waste our food?" Seeing Don Hong under attack, Gu Chung stepped forward to defend her. Hong didn't mean to. She's only ever eaten delicacies her whole life. She's never seen something like this before. It's only normal that she's not used to it. His 2 henchmen also chimed in, "That's right. You women shouldn't be so petty," Gu US follower angrily retorted. Fine, we're petty and you're generous. According to the rules, wasting food results in a deduction from your rations. Since you're all so generous, then it can be deducted from your portions. The 2 men stammered. We seeing the situation turn against her Don. Hong teared up and said pitifully, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to waste the food. I just didn't want to bring harm to everyone." Gu Yue heard this and asked suspiciously, "What do you mean?" Then a group brought out a large piece of meat. Seeing it, everyone crowded around. "It's the wild boar meat." Gu Yue also angry questioned Gu Cheng. "Gu Cheng, didn't you say this meat had been thrown out?" Seeing the situation, Gu Cheng also turned to Don Hong in confusion and whispered, Hong, what's going on?" Seeing this, Sister US 2 followers chimed in. "Oh, so someone else was trying to hoard the food, pretending to be some noble lady on the outside. But behind our backs, she's a thief. Some people want a good reputation, but will stoop to any level." Seeing the accusations getting worse, Gu Chung stepped in front of her. "Stop your nonsense. Weren't you just crying over this meat a minute ago? Now you found it again. So just take it back. Isn't that good enough?" Suddenly, Don Hong shrieked in panic. This meat is contaminated with a virus." Hearing this, everyone panicked and asked, "What a virus? Do you mean the zombie virus?" Don Hong covered her nose with both hands and sobbed. "This meat is dark black and it has a very strange smell. I know this smell very well. It's the stench of a zombie." Don Hong covered her mouth, pointed at the meat, and said, "The color of this meat has turned black. It also has a strange smell. I know this smell very well. It's the stench of a zombie." She continued, "I was just afraid someone would eat it by mistake. That's why I told Trin Nam and Trin Bak to take it away. I was going to find a place to burn it." Hearing this, the crowd started whispering, "It's true, judging by the color, it's definitely not fresh. But that doesn't prove it's the zombie virus. Maybe it just spoiled from being stored improperly." Seeing everyone's questions, Lao Mo quickly explained, "It has nothing to do with me. The meat was already like this when the chef gave it to me." But Don Hong, still with a panicked look, said, "If it had spoiled, it would be covered in mold, but the surface of this meat is smooth and dry. There are no signs of decay." Hearing this, the crowd grew suspicious. "The skin is wrinkled. It looks a lot like a zombie's. Could that wild boar have been a mutant?" Hearing this, Trin Nam and Trin Bak chimed in. "It's a good thing Hong found it in time. If this was served today, the entire base would have been infected." Hearing this, the crowd eagerly agreed. "She's our savior. That was so scary and dangerous. We really have to thank this girl." Hearing this, Don Hong blushed and said, "No need to thank me. It's enough that everyone is safe." Seeing that everyone was now on his side, Gu Chung turned to Gu Yue and spoke. "All right then, now the truth is clear. Sister, I think you owe Hong and everyone an apology." Hearing this, Gu Yue snapped, "Apologize? Are you saying I brought a virus here because I wasn't careful enough?" Gu Chung retorted irritably, "Well, isn't it? I know you love being recognized and worshipped, but you can't do it just to show off and put everyone's lives at risk." Gu Yue's 2 followers, indignant, spoke up. "Ah Chung, how can you say such a thing? Only Sister Yue wouldn't be that kind of person." Seeing her brother's insolence, Gu Yue spoke up to clarify. "Gu Chung, you're my brother. You know very well what kind of person I am. Do you really think I would do something like that?" Hearing this, Gu Chung brooded. Suddenly, Don Hong spoke reassuringly. "Ah Chung, let it go. I don't think Sister Gu Yue did it on purpose. Finding food is already very difficult. A moment of carelessness is unavoidable." Hearing this, Gu Chung replied gently, Hong, it's because you're too generous that you always get bullied by others." Hearing this, Gu Yue's 2 sisters indignantly defended her. What is she trying to say? Isn't she indirectly admitting it on behalf of Sister Yue? Everyone heard what Gu Chung's group said. They started whispering, making the girl with Gu Yue anxious. Oh no, it seems like everyone is starting to believe them. People then said in low voices, Thank goodness no one has eaten that meat yet. It's good that we found out in time. Destroy it before the virus spreads. Suddenly, Cao Tiu Luong walked towards the meat, bent down, and sniffed it, startling everyone. What are you doing? Then Cao Tiu Luong suddenly picked up a piece of meat, eagerly shocking everyone. Put it down quickly. That's virus-infected meat. Suddenly, Cao Tiu Luong took a piece of meat, put it in his mouth, and chewed greedily. This is the taste. Everyone was shocked to see this, but Cao Tiu Luong calmly said, "Isn't the food right here?" Cao Tiu Luong eagerly called out, "Xiao Bai, take that meat over there." Hearing this, Xiao Bai obeyed, picked up the container of meat, and went straight to the kitchen. In the kitchen, the pan was still sizzling on the hot stove. Cao Tiu Luong said excitedly, "Good thing I steamed the rice earlier, the timing is perfect." A skillful Cao Tiu Luong deftly sliced the meat and cooked up an amazing meat and rice dish. Seeing this, Gu Cheng's group angrily cursed, "What are you so calm about? You know this meat is infected and you still want to feed it to everyone. As expected, this guy is no good. Is he trying to kill us?" Hearing this, everyone else also peeked in and asked one after another, "Chef Cao, you can't be serious, right? I don't want to become a zombie." Hearing this, Cao Tiu Luong calmly replied, "Who says you can't eat meat from mutated creatures as long as you handle it properly and remove the infected parts? Not only is it edible, it's a rare delicacy. Besides, this meat isn't from a mutated pig at all." Hearing this, everyone was surprised. "It's not." Gu Yue, also surprised, asked, "Are you sure?" Cao Tiu Luong answered firmly. Of course, Yin Hong, hearing this, said unpleasantly, "Chef Cao, you want to protect Sister Gu Yue, but you can't gamble with everyone's lives." Seeing this, Chung Nan and Chung Bi also went crazy and started blaming him. "Everyone don't believe a word he says. If it's not from a mutated pig, why is the meat black? And it has a smell. It's clearly infected with the virus." Hearing this, Cao Tiu Luong calmly explained, "You're so ignorant. This is air-dried cured meat." Everyone was stunned. "Air-dried cured meat," Cao Tiu Luong continued. "If I'm not mistaken, the previous chef was a man, right?" Gu Yue was surprised. "How did you know?" Gu Yue's younger sister realized something and spoke up. "That's right, the chef had a southern accent. Everyone was stunned. He told me he was from Gushan. He came here for work." Cao Tiu Luong picked up a piece of meat and explained softly, "This air-dried cured meat is a specialty of the southern Gushan region." He gently touched the meat and continued. "The air there is humid, so food doesn't keep well. To preserve meat, the locals cut large pieces into smaller ones, sprinkle them with salt soy sauce and sugar, then hang them in a cool, airy place to dry." Images of the hanging meat appeared through his explanation, until the outside turns black. This method can preserve it and lock in the moisture. It won't rot even after several months. Cao Tiu Luong held the meat towards everyone and asserted, "As for the bad smell, that's because after the air-drying process, a protective layer forms on the outside. It might smell unpleasant to some, but once heated, it creates a magical effect, restoring its unique flavor." Cao Tiu Luong excitedly continued to cook and explain, "Because the meat is already marinated, cooking it is very simple." An image of the dish with steaming golden meat appeared. You just use the steam from the rice to cook it, letting the oil and flavor from the meat seep into the rice. Sprinkle some green onions on top before serving, and a delicious pan of rice appears with plump grains. Seeing the dish, everyone's mouths dropped open, drooling. The meat has turned pink. It looks so appealing. It smells so good. Seeing everyone ignore what he had said earlier, Gu Cheng panicked. "Everyone don't listen to him. So what if that chef was from the south? He's dead now. Who can prove this is cured meat?" Hearing this, Yin Hong spoke with feigned grievance. "Sister Gu Yue, we already forgave you. Why do you have to make Chef Cao tell lies, compounding your mistakes?" Cao Tiu Luong held a plate of rice that made even Xiao Bai drool. "Is it cured meat or infected meat?" Cao Tiu Luong quickly shoved a spoonful of rice into Yin Hong's mouth, catching her off guard. "You'll know after one bite." Seeing Cao Tiu Luong do that to the girl, Gu Cheng, who secretly loved her, jumped and cried out, "Hong Hong." With a mouthful of rice, Yin Hong trembled. Seeing this, everyone was startled by Yin Hong's reaction. With a mouthful of rice and teary eyes, she chewed while thinking of spitting it out. Cao Tiu Luong excitedly waved his hands. "A customer can't waste food." Seeing Yin Hong was about to spit it out, Xiao Bai rushed towards her like the wind, grabbing her cheeks tightly. But as her saliva mixed with the juicy piece of meat, Yin Hong was surprised. The meat was firm and chewy. She could clearly feel every fiber. The coarse salt crystals rubbed aggressively against the soft flesh in her mouth, a strange mix of pain and wonderful comfort. The soft, sticky rice soaked in the essence of the meat juices acted like a lubricant. The constant flow, friction, and collision exploded in her mouth because of the dish's ultimate deliciousness. An image of Yin Hong riding a large rampaging wild boar appeared, making her feel an ecstatic climax, as if she were escaping through a primeval forest. It's truly too wild. After swallowing, she collapsed to her knees in exhaustion. Seeing the girl he loved kneeling tiredly before him, Gu Chung asked worriedly, "Hong Hong, are you okay?" Chung Nan and Chung Bi also spoke up, asking, "Are you feeling very unwell? You have to stay conscious." Yin Hong blushed. This damn meat is insanely delicious. Finding her expression interesting, Taio Luong chuckled. "Ha ha." Seeing her actions, the others began to whisper. Her complexion looks much better than before. Aside from a slight flush in her face, she seems fine. The transformation into a zombie isn't like this. An old woman from the crowd approached Gu Yue. She spoke a Yue just now? This old woman was a bit muddled and almost thought there was a problem with the meat. Please, by all means, don't take it to heart. Hearing this, Gu Yue graciously replied to her. Don't say that. It's good that the misunderstanding has been cleared up. Hearing that everyone else chimed in, I told you so. Only Sister Yue wouldn't bring back something problematic. My brother was injured while catching the pig. If there was really a virus, it would have taken effect long ago. So Taio Luong turned to everyone and said, if there's no problem, then everyone can eat right. Then Taio Luong returned to the kitchen to continue cooking. Of course, if you like it, don't forget to give me a 5-star review. Everyone took their plates of rice, still hesitant, before taking a spoonful. Suddenly, someone shouted, "It's delicious. With one bite, the meaty flavor spreads throughout your mouth. It's truly a feast for the senses." Then a series of people followed, exclaiming emotionally, "This rice is so soft and fragrant. Mixed with the meat juice, it's so tasty. Every bite is so satisfying. People really do need to eat meat." Gu Yue's close, short-haired friend said scornfully, "The great young lady doesn't even know what cured meat is. Is your father a fake millionaire?" Hearing this, everyone chimed in. So ignorant, yet she loves to pretend. What a person. Sister Yue is still young. Why is she speaking so carelessly? If it weren't for Chef Cao, Sister Yue would have been framed. Gu Yue's close friend with the ponytail turned and said, "You're the ones who should apologize." At this, everyone ganged up on Gu Chung's group. That's right. Sorry. Yin Hong suddenly looked up and saw Gu Yue and Taio Luong standing proudly before everyone. The sight filled her with resentment. Like a typical villainess with tears in her eyes, she ran away. "You people are horrible." Yin Hong covered her face and ran away, sobbing loudly. "Boo-hoo-hoo!" Seeing Yin Hong run off, Gu Chung anxiously called out for Hong Hong. Then he turned and accused Taio Luong. "You damn bastard, you definitely tampered with the meat, didn't you?" Hearing this, Cao Xiaoliang waved his hands and insisted, "I only cook. I'm not responsible for carrying him." Gu Chung's blood boiled as he roared, "Cut the crap. I want to fight you one-on-one. No one is allowed to help, especially you." Xiaobai, hearing this, cried out in confusion. Cao Xiaoliang saw this. He turned to look at Xiaobai and thought to himself, what's this about a one-on-one fight? Isn't he just afraid Xiaobai will pick on the weak? What a coward. Suddenly, the system's voice rang out at the perfect moment. "Ding, congratulations, host, for receiving a rare ingredient. New skill reward, culinary massage." Seeing the notification, Cao Xiaoliang thought excitedly, there's such a good thing. But then Cao Xiaoliang rubbed his chin and wondered, but what the heck is culinary massage? Suddenly, Cao Xiaoliang's hands were grabbed by Chung Nan and Chung Bei. The two of them sneered despicably. "What ability user, I think it's all just for show. Can you really hide behind a woman? Without her help, let's see what you're made of." Brother Chung beat him up. Seeing their despicable tactics, Cao Xiaoliang shouted in confusion. "Damn it, we already agreed no one would help. This kid has no martial ethics at all." Gu Chung then charged forward. "Why would I need martial ethics to deal with a fraud like you?" He grabbed a knife and pointed it straight at Cao Xiaoliang. He shouted, "You fool, go die!" Gu Yue, seeing this, loudly tried to stop him. "Gu Chung, stop!" The two sisters also shouted a warning, "Chef Cao, be careful." Xiaobai also got into a stance, ready to charge. Suddenly, Cao Xiaoliang turned back and told Xiaobai, "Don't move." Hearing this, Xiaobai froze and stopped. Cao Xiaoliang arrogantly leaped up and said, "Since you've delivered yourself to my doorstep, don't blame me for being impolite. It's the perfect time to test out my new skill." Cao Xiaoliang leaped up, escaping the grasp of the two underlings, and at the same time kicked Gu Chung's knife away. Cao Xiaoliang landed from above culinary massage. He struck vital points on Gu Chung's body, causing him immense pain before sending him flying with a kick. Gu Chung, still arrogant, cursed, "Damn you. How dare you!" Suddenly his body trembled and he began to collapse. How can this be? My body won't obey me. My arms and legs are all restrained. He realized things were not right. Gu Cheng lay on the ground crying out in pain. Sister, sister, save me. Hearing this, Gu Yue couldn't bear it and rushed over Gu Cheng. How are you? Why were you so reckless? Hearing this, Gu Cheng played the victim and pleaded, Sister, I can't feel my whole body. Am I going to die? Gu Yue heard this and replied grimly, You're not dying. It's just that your body suffered a strong impact, causing temporary muscle paralysis. You should be able to recover after a while. Cao Xiaoliang saw all this and seemed to understand. I get it now. When preparing meat, chefs often use a mallet to tenderize it, first making the muscles and nerves completely tense. Meat treated this way becomes more tender. It also absorbs seasoning better. This is often called culinary massage. So this is what culinary massage means. Cheng Nan and Cheng Bi cried out in alarm. So this guy is actually this strong. He's even more terrifying than that woman. Cao Xiaoliang saw their fear. He taunted them. Next, it's your turn. Hearing this, the two of them turned tail and ran. We were wrong. Please spare us. Seeing her brother was not okay, Gu Yue stood up to mediate. What happened today was Gu Cheng's fault. I apologize on his behalf. Can you, for my sake, let this go? Hearing this, Cao Xiaoliang didn't press the issue. It's fine as long as he doesn't provoke me again. Then some people came in with a stretcher and took Gu Cheng away. Lying on the stretcher, Gu Cheng thought viciously, that guy named Sao. You just wait. I will absolutely not let you off. Meanwhile, while everyone was eating, Cao Xiaoliang stood to the side, deep in thought. He held a tablet looking at the reviews. Good review, good review, good review, good review. Seeing the review bar increasing, Cao Xiaoliang's eyes lit up. This is great. One meal can get 30 good reviews. If this keeps up, I'll probably complete the mission soon. Suddenly, the progress bar stopped, leaving Cao Xiaoliang bewildered. What's going on? Why did the progress bar suddenly shrink? Seeing Cao Xiaoliang's soul about to leave his body, the system hurriedly appeared. Host, don't worry, let me check. The system said confidently, found it. Someone gave a 0-point review. According to system regulations, if the host receives a bad review, half of the good reviews for that day will be deducted. If you accumulate 3 bad reviews, the system will issue a punishment. Your score will be reset to 0. Hearing this, Cao Xiaoliang shouted, What then? Cao Xiaoliang gritted his teeth and thought, what a vicious rule. In that case, if someone intentionally gives bad reviews, I'd never be able to complete the mission. Right. Cao Xiaoliang scratched his head in frustration and yelled, Who on earth was it? At this moment, in a small room, Yin Hong was gritting her teeth, furiously tapping the screen. Bad review, bad review, bad review, bad review, bad review. She trembled and said, I've lived this long. I'm the only one who gets to play with men. No one has ever dared to play me. Yin Hong shuddered, thinking about the exhilarating feeling when she tasted the meat. That flavor. Thinking about it now, my body can't help but tremble and go limp. She angrily threw the pen in her hand. So disgusting. Suddenly, from where the pen landed, Cheng Nan and Cheng Bi, like two mesmerized dogs, slowly crawled towards Yin Hong. Master, master, master. We like master. We want to be loved. Seeing them, Yin Hong seemed to get an idea. She gracefully turned to them. Your master here only likes obedient dogs who work hard to earn affection. Then a mesmerizing sound wave emitted from her eyes, causing Cheng Nan and Cheng Bei to become even more mesmerized. Seeing that they had fallen for her trick, she offered her foot for them to lick. She sat on the chair like a sinister victor and said, Men are just animals who think with their lower bodies. That Cao Xiaoliang is no exception. She crumpled a piece of paper and said proudly, You dare ruin my plans, I'll make you pay dearly. Scene change. At this moment, Cao Xiaoliang was sitting by the lake, enthusiastically fishing. Here it comes. Seeing the size of the fish, Cao Xiaoliang exclaimed excitedly, Whoa, such a big fish. Should I grill it or steam it? But suddenly the fish spat out the bait, revealing sharp iron fangs, then flew like a bird chasing Cao Xiaoliang. It's a mutant fish. Cao Xiaoliang ran and screamed in panic. This damn apocalypse. It doesn't even let people live. It's one thing to mutate, but why do you have to cross species, too? Cao Xiaoliang rushed to the car, trying to open the door and get in, but suddenly realized, why won't it open? Then Cao Xiaoliang panicked, banging on the door and shouting, Xiaobai, open up. But then a sudden system notification made his face turn pale. Host has received 3 bad reviews. Score reset to 0. Host status revoked. Punishment elimination. Cao Xiaoliang panicked. He was in danger and locked out. Host has received 3 negative reviews. Score reset, host status revoked, punishment elimination. Standing outside, Cao Xiaoliang pointed to a bright spot in the sky and shouted, "This is completely unreasonable." Suddenly, the fish lunged at him, biting him hard in a sensitive spot. "Ouch!" Then it used its tail to slap his face repeatedly. "Oh, Cao Xiaoliang, pale with pain, collapsed to the ground. "It hurts so much, I can't breathe." But when he passed out and woke up again, Cao Xiaoliang's eyes shot open in shock. Ah, was it a dream? What a relief at that moment. Xiaobai was sleeping soundly on top of Cao Xiaoliang. Seeing her, Cao Xiaoliang angrily got up and yelled, "Xiaobai, why are you here again?" Xiaobai rubbed her sleepy eyes. But Cao Xiaoliang continued to shout at the top of his lungs, "How many times have I told you? Your bed is downstairs. If you make me have dreams like that again, I'll take away all your snacks." Hearing a commotion outside, Cao Xiaoliang tiredly asked, "Who is it now?" "It's so early in the morning, don't they need to sleep?" Cao Xiaoliang opened the car's awning to look outside and saw everyone busy preparing for something. Not understanding what was happening, Cao Xiaoliang got dressed and went out with Xiaobai to greet them. "Good morning." The two girls heard him and happily greeted back, "Good morning." "Chef Cao, did you sleep well last night?" Seeing the dark circles under Cao Xiaoliang's eyes, Gu Yue asked with concern, "You have such heavy dark circles. Didn't you sleep well last night?" Hearing this, Cao Xiaoliang's face turned pale as he thought I had nightmares all night. It'd be strange if I didn't have dark circles. Seeing everyone so busy, Cao Xiaoliang turned and asked, "Are you all planning to go out?" Hearing this, Gu Yue explained. Yin Hong said her father has stored a lot of supplies at the foot of Wanda Mountain, including daily necessities, food, and weapons. "We're preparing to drive there to get them," Yin Hong replied shyly. "In the apocalypse, these supplies are more precious than life itself." Gu Cheng looked proudly at Yin Hong and said, "Hong Hong, you're willing to share these things with everyone. You're so kind." Yin Hong spoke as if she was very apologetic while slowly getting out of the car. When the apocalypse first started, "My father had stockpiled a lot of supplies everywhere. It's a shame he never got to use them. Yesterday, my mistake almost cost the base a crucial food source. So I want to use these to make amends. Like two loyal dogs, Chung Nan and Chung Bi defended Don Hong Hong Hong. Why are you saying that? It's clearly not your fault." "That's right, you didn't mean to. Bacon is rare in the north, no one else would have noticed." Sister Yue's two followers spoke up indignantly before she even started crying. They're already starting to feel sorry for her. Some things never change. Cao Xiaoliang was surprised after hearing this. Mount Wanda. As far as I know, that place used to be a tourist resort. There were many convenience stores at the foot of the mountain. Survivors must have searched them more than once. If there were really any supplies, they would have been found long ago. Hearing this, Chung Nan and Chung Bai retorted indignantly, "What do you mean by that? Don't you trust Hong Hong?" Gu Cheng also chimed in unhappily. "What did Hong Hong ever do to you to deserve this? How can you bully a girl like that? Are you even a man?" Cao Xiaoliang wasn't angry. He just said sarcastically, "Oh, what a powerful voice. Looks like you've recovered pretty well. Need me to help you with a massage to loosen up your muscles?" Gu Cheng wanted to rush over and beat him up. Seeing things were getting heated, Don Hong stepped in. "Chef Cao, I know you have a misunderstanding with me. If you're not convinced, you can come with us." Cao Xiaoliang listened. He thought about it, then turned to Gu Yue and asked, "Do you really believe her?" Gu Yue then shared her thoughts that bacon won't last forever. Now people in the base have started showing symptoms of sodium deficiency. If we can't find more seasoning, adults might manage, but the elderly and children can't take it. So whether she's lying or not, as long as there's a chance, I have to take it. Cao Xiaoliang rubbed his temples. What an idiot. He looked up at Gu Yue and said seriously, "It's not mealtime yet anyway. I'll go with you." Seeing the fish had taken the bait, Don Hong put on a sweet act and said, "That's right. There are so many things there, we definitely can't carry everything in one trip. Chef Cao is an expert. With him there, he can help pick out the necessary ingredients." She said this with a smile, but inwardly thought, what an idiot, so easy to trick. The two girls with Sister Yue said firmly, "Sister Yue will go with you. Tonight is the full moon when zombies are most active. It's safer with more people." Gu Yue, touched by their concern, replied happily, "No need. I'll try to get back before dark. Remember to lock the door tight and don't let anyone in until we get back." The two girls listened. Disappointed, they cried out in unison, but seeing Gu Yue, Cao Xiaoliang put a hand on her shoulder and said cheekily, "Don't worry. You two stay and look after Grandma and the others. Just leave protecting Sister Yue to me." Hearing that the two girls felt relieved and said with the great Chef Cao here, "We can rest assured." Hearing that, Gu Yue felt embarrassed and waved her hands, saying, "What are you talking about? Don't forget. Who was it that bowed before me, begging for forgiveness? Cao Xiaoliang calmly replied, I had no choice. If I looked up, I'd have seen something I shouldn't have. Hearing that, the two girls' eyes went wide, and they asked, Oh, what was it that you shouldn't have seen? Ignoring Gu Yue's blush, Cao Xiaoliang calmly started to say, It was... Gu Yue panicked, covered his mouth, and yelled, Shut up! You're not allowed to say it! The two girls got excited. Oh, what is it? We're really curious now. It seems you two have a secret, don't you? As Gu Yue choked and lifted him, Cao Xiaoliang gasped, Stop shaking! I'm dying! Seeing their happy scene, Yin Hong stood aside with a sinister thought. Let's see how long you can be happy. Gu Yue's group drove along the mountainside, while below them a horde of zombies feasted on human flesh. Looking down, Cao Xiaoliang thought the zombies' activity is cyclical. They get extremely agitated during the full moon. Today is the 15th, so there are indeed a lot of them around. How strange, Xiao Bai doesn't seem to be affected at all. Suddenly, Xiao Bai pointed outside. It seems she saw something. Cao Xiaoliang abruptly stopped the car. Seeing this, Gu Yue called out from the car behind, What's wrong? Why the sudden stop? Cao Xiaoliang got out, looked at the fissure ahead, and said the road's been washed out by the rain. Yue, it looks like we can only park the cars here. Seeing everyone awkwardly looking for a path, Yin Hong pointed to the forest, saying, The destination isn't far from here, just a half-hour walk. Hearing this, Gu Yue turned and gave the order, Grab your weapons. Remember, don't make any noise or you'll attract the zombies' attention. As they cautiously entered the forest, a bee landed on Yin Hong's cheek. True to her princess nature, she screamed loudly. Her screams could attract zombies. Gu Yue angrily whispered, What are you doing? Are you trying to bring the zombies here? Gu Yue angrily swatted the bee away, but the princess kept on screaming. The bee was swatted away by Gu Yue. She turned to look at Cao Xiaoliang and said, It's just a honeybee, what's there to be afraid of? Those three wimps looked on pale and stunned. Gu Cheng immediately hugged Yin Hong, who ran to him looking aggrieved and said, I'm sorry, I was just so scared. Gu Cheng hugged Yin Hong and spoke for her sis. Don't blame Hong Hong. What girl wouldn't be scared hearing her unreasonable brother? Gu Yue retorted irritably, I'm a girl too, so why am I not scared? As if they were brain-dead, Cheng Nan and Cheng Bi replied, You're different, Sister Yue. You're more aggressive than a man, of course you're not scared. Seeing Yin Hong was frightened, Gu Cheng turned to reassure her. You guys don't know this, but since she was a kid, my sister has always looked like a boy with a buzz cut and shorts. Everyone thought she was a boy. Once she went into the girls' restroom and made all the other girls cry. Hearing this, Gu Yue blushed in embarrassment. Suddenly, someone sprayed insect repellent at them. Hey, what is that? Hearing them, Cao Xiaoliang replied, It's insect repellent. There are lots of mosquitoes on the mountain this season, so I brought a can. He then aimed the can menacingly at the other two. This spray is very effective. It not only repels insects, but also cures bad breath. You guys should use some. They saw this and ran away in fear. Run it stinks. Seeing this, Gu Yue secretly smiled. Suddenly, Cao Xiaoliang felt that something was off. It seems like something is missing. He turned around and asked, Where's Xiao Bai? Suddenly, Xiao Bai leaped down from a tree holding a huge beehive. Gu Yue was stunned. That's... Everyone else shouted in panic. A beehive. Xiao Bai held the hive and giggled. Seeing it, Xiao Bai's eyes lit up and she started drooling. Seeing her expression, the other four were horrified. What is she doing? She's not planning to eat that, is she? Ignoring everyone, Xiao Bai opened her mouth wide. The others turned pale and screamed, Stop her! Cao Xiaoliang also yelled, Xiao Bai, stop! Xiao Bai took a huge bite. The group screamed. Standing in front of a tunnel, Gu Yue asked doubtfully, You said this is the place. Yin Hong replied confidently, That's right. This tunnel collapsed midway through construction and has been abandoned for years. Dad said the more dangerous the place, the safer it is. No one would dare enter a place like this, let alone think there are supplies inside, Yin Hong said, rubbing her pained cheek. Ouch, it hurts. Cheng Nan and Cheng Bi, their eyes red from bee stings, glared at Xiao Bai, whose mouth was still covered in honey. They thought it's all her fault, if only we weren't outmatched. We really want to tear her apart. Gu Yue, holding her gun, gave the order, Let's go. Suddenly, Cao Xiaoliang stopped them. Wait a minute. Seeing him get in the way, Gu Cheng said irritably, What are you trying to pull now? Cao Xiaoliang saw how amateurish they were. He calmly explained, It's this dark inside. We don't know what kind of situation we'll face. Going in just like this is too risky. Cao Xiaoliang threw a flare inside to scout it out. Suddenly a sound came from within. He warned, Be careful, something is coming out. Everyone got on alert. Suddenly a swarm of moths flew out. They're moths. Seeing them, Xiao Bai got scared and ran away hiding in the bushes. Seeing Xiao Bai like this, Tao Xiao Liang was also puzzled. They're just moths, what's so scary about them? He went over and tried to pull Xiao Bai out, come on out. But Xiao Bai resisted, clinging to the tree. Seeing the strongest one among them hugging a tree in fear, Yin Hong thought smugly, even though this girl isn't right in the head, she's a good fighter, but if we leave her, there will only be two of us, making it easier to handle. Seeing how scared Xiao Bai already was, she spoke up to stop them. It's probably because of the after effects of the bees just now. We shouldn't force her to go inside anymore. Gu Yue looked at the sky, realizing it was getting late. Gu Yue turned and said, "We can't delay any longer, or the zombies will become more frenzied at night." Xiao Bai was still trembling in fear, whimpering. Hearing this, Tao Xiaoliang saw no other choice. "All right then, don't wander off. Just wait here for us." Xiao Bai curled up, trembling and whimpering. Tao Xiaoliang took a flashlight and slowly entered, thinking to himself that he didn't realize it was so deep inside. Gu Yue turned back and asked impatiently, "How much longer until we reach the hidden supplies?" Yin Hong replied, "Not far now, we'll be there in a moment." Suddenly, Tao Xiaoliang noticed something. Then he shouted a warning, "There's someone there!" Hearing Cao Xiaoliang's loud warning, Gu Cheng immediately pointed his gun forward and asked, "Who is it, a zombie?" From the flickering light, Hijian and his cronies appeared. "Ha ha ha ha, what a coincidence. We meet again." The great beauty Gu Yue, holding her gun, shouted suspiciously, "Hijian, why are you all here?" Suddenly, from behind, one of Gu Cheng's subordinates hit Gu Yue hard on the head with his gun. One of them forcefully snatched her gun and moved to restrain Gu Yue. "Cheng Nan Cheng Bei, what are you two doing?" As Tao Xiaoliang turned around, a voice shouted, "Don't move." A man pointed a gun at Gu Yue's head, making her think helplessly, "Damn it, a sneak attack." Seeing the person she hated being restrained, Yin Hong crossed her arms and taunted Great Chef Cao. "Although you're an ability user, Sister Yue is just an ordinary person. If you don't want her to get hurt, you'd better not do anything foolish." Seeing her own treasured younger brother pointing a gun at her, Gu Yue was horrified. As Gu Cheng watched everything unfold, Cao Xiaoliang thought, "It's this woman again. You'd better let her go or else." Suddenly, a large cage fell from the sky, trapping Cao Xiaoliang inside. Gu Cheng said smugly, "Or else what? This cage is rigged with powerful explosives. The moment I press this button, it will detonate. If bullets can't kill you, I refuse to believe explosives can't." Hijian slowly approached Gu Cheng, praising him enthusiastically. "You're the one who hit me with the car last time, right? I didn't expect you to fall into my hands so soon." "Well done. You're exactly the partner I chose." Hearing this, Gu Cheng was still fawning over the girl. Turns to thank Yin Hong. "Thanks for your brilliant idea, Hong Hong." Inside the cage, Cao Xiaoliang thought grimly, "This damn system is so useless. The invisibility function can't be carried around. If it could, then right now." An image of him pressing a button, transforming, escaping, and beating Gu Cheng to a pulp flashed through his mind. But sometimes a dream is just a dream. "Damn it!" Cao Xiaoliang screamed in his head, not wanting to believe what was happening. Gu Yue roared at Gu Cheng, "Are you insane? How could you listen to this bastard?" Hearing this, Gu Cheng couldn't take it anymore and yelled back, "I'm not insane, I've just had enough of you." Gu Yue was stunned. "What did you just say?" With his eyes red with rage, Gu Cheng poured out his feelings. "When we were kids at the orphanage, you always fought the other children so we wouldn't get bullied. Even though you gave me the food you fought for. But they all called you Big Sis and mocked me as your tag-along. Even after the apocalypse, everyone at the base only listens to you. No one ever gave me a second glance. Do you have any idea how much I hate you? I'm the one who's a potential ability user. I should be the one everyone respects and admires. But as long as you're around, I'll forever live in your shadow." With tears welling in her eyes, Gu Yue stammered, "Gu Cheng, how could you? We grew up without parents. I've always seen you as my most important family. I just wanted to protect you from getting hurt. I never imagined you hated me so much." Witnessing this, Cao Xiaoliang said with disgust, "What an ungrateful bastard! You've depended on your sister to survive this long, and you still dare to blame her." Feeling mocked, Gu Cheng roared, "Shut your mouth, you bastard! You're just a filthy cook. How dare you oppose me?" Hearing this, Cao Xiaoliang just pursed his lips and replied, "This guy must have some serious issues." Gu Cheng said grimly, "You were willing to find an ability user from the outside rather than wait for me to awaken." Seeing that everything was going as planned, Yin Hong laughed scornfully. Without a shred of pity, Gu Cheng pointed the gun straight at his sister and said with disgust, "You don't deserve to be my sister." Seeing a girl being restrained by her own men, Hijian happily exclaimed, "It's her loss for not recognizing your talent, but I'm on your side. When we get back, You will easily take over the steel mill and become the true leader. Yes, with my men and weapons plus the help of an ability user like yourself. Our strong alliance will surely build the most powerful base in the apocalypse. Hearing this, Gu Chung excitedly said, "Thank you, Brother John." Gu Yue heard this and asked in alarm, "What? You intend to let them into the steel mill?" Gu Yue shouted angrily. "Don't you know what kind of person Hijian is?" Bringing them back is like letting the wolf into the sheepfold. You'll be the death of everyone. Hearing the captured woman still arguing, Hijian angrily slapped her face. "Shut up, I haven't even settled my score with you from last time." So how does it feel to be betrayed by your own little brother? Uncomfortable, isn't it? A woman should know her place. Daring to boss men around you really overestimate yourself. Even while restrained, Gu Yue continued to glare at Don Hong. Hijian leaned down, grabbed her cheek, and said, "But making a strong woman like you cry and beg under me would be incredibly satisfying." Hearing this, Don Hong immediately intervened. She craftily suggested, "Wait. Seeing as you're A Cheng's older sister, I'm willing to give you a chance. I know you've been hiding a password-protected box in the steel mill. If you hand it over, I'll let Brother Jian spare you, and we won't hurt anyone in the steel mill. How about it?" After listening, Gu Yue asked doubtfully, "A password box." Then she thought to herself, "I remember now. When we first got to the steel mill, we did find a password box, but someone noticed the lock had a special device. It would explode after 3 failed attempts to open it. I thought it was too dangerous, so I threw it out. So this is what she's after," Gu Yue said angrily. "You think I can trust you?" Seeing his sister still acting defiant towards Don Hong despite being captured, Gu Chung yelled, "Stop wasting time on her. Once we take the steel mill, everything inside will be ours. Finding the password box is only a matter of time." Hearing this, Don Hong thought irritably, "What an idiot. I've already searched the entire steel mill. If it was there, why would I have to lure her here?" Then Gu Yue shouted to Don Hong, "Even though you deceived me as one woman to another, I have to give you some advice in this world. Women like you who only rely on men will meet a miserable end once you're discarded, especially by a man who would sell out his own sister. Is he really someone you can trust?" Hearing this, Gu Chung shot back, "My feelings for Hong Hong are true. Don't think you can drive us apart." Don Hong slyly leaned close to Gu Yue's ear and whispered, "I'm not the type who depends on others. To me, men are just tools. The one who's truly pathetic is you. You seem tough and unbreakable on the outside, but you're actually very soft-hearted. Devoting yourself to your brother, striving for the base, yet you fail to see their selfishness and greed. The moment they feel the slightest bit dissatisfied, they blame you instead. They treat you like an enemy." She glanced towards Cao Xiaoliang and added, "And you actually like him, don't you?" Seeing Gu Yue's expression, Don Hong knew she was right and smiled gently. "Believe it or not, if I just beckon with my finger, even he will instantly fall at my feet. Everything you cherish will belong to me in the end." Hearing this, Gu Yue shouted angrily, "I don't believe it. Not everyone abandons their conscience for their own benefit." Hearing this, Don Hong arrogantly turned and walked towards Cao Xiaoliang. "Is that so? Then let's make a bet. If you lose, you'll give me the password box." Seeing Don Hong approaching Cao Xiaoliang, Gu Chung asked nervously, "Hong Hong, what are you doing?" Cao Xiaoliang panicked when he saw her coming. Don Hong spoke sweetly to Cao Xiaoliang. "Great Chef Cao, that cured meat you made last time was so memorable. I really hope I'll have a chance to eat it again." Hearing this, Cao Xiaoliang scratched his head and said, "Really? I thought you didn't like it." Don Hong replied arrogantly, "How could that be possible? As long as you agree to leave Sister Yue and join us, I can let you stay at the base and continue being a chef." Then she used her ability, creating a pink sound wave that left Cao Xiaoliang looking dazed. Seeing this, Don Hong smiled to herself. Even an ability user will show their weakness in a desperate situation. If there's just one crack in his will, I'll immediately use my psychic power to invade and make him my prisoner, but Cao Tu Luong has the main character's plot armor. How could he be hypnotized that easily? "Stop your tricks!" Don Hong was horrified at the sight while Kong Guye was overjoyed. At that moment, Cao Tu Luong angrily grabbed an iron bar and cursed, "You think I don't know? You were the one who wrote that 1-star review last time. This review form, I picked it up right in front of your house." Hearing this, Don Hong thought angrily, "This guy. How is he not under my control? He looks so dumb, yet his will is unbelievably firm." Seeing his goddess being insulted, Khotan roared in anger. "No, he absolutely cannot be allowed to live. This guy must die today," Khotan shouted angrily. "We still don't even know what his special ability is." This guy is so scheming. If we keep him around, he'll be in immense danger later. He thought angrily, "Are you kidding me? There can only be one ability user in this base, and that's me. Seeing Ko Tan's guard was down, Ko Nguye quickly broke free from Trin Bak and Trin Nam. Then she rushed at Ko Tan, hitting him hard and making him drop the remote. Seeing this, Yin Hong shouted a warning. "Don't let her get the remote control." Then the two of them lunged for the remote, seeing that she wasn't going to get it in time. Ko Nguye elbowed Ko Tan in the face and kicked him away. She pinned him down and held a knife to his throat. With the tables turned, Ko Nguye yelled a warning. "Everybody drop your guns or I'll kill him," seeing Ko Nguye turn the tables so brilliantly. Cao Tiu Luong snapped his fingers in praise. "Niece 1, the bloodline suppression is real. Looks like I can win this one just by lying here." Knowing his sister would go soft, Ko Tan remained arrogant. "Sister, you can't kill me. I'm your brother." Hearing this, Ko Nguye decisively cut ties with this ungrateful bastard. "From this day forward, I am no longer your sister." Hearing this, Ko Tan panicked and begged for help. "Brother Yin Hong, save me." Seeing how pathetic he was, Yin Hong bit her finger and thought, useless at everything except messing things up. What a waste. Seeing him as nothing more than a disposable pawn, she said calmly, "Do you think you can threaten me with this? He's your brother, not mine. If you want to kill him, be my guest." Hearing this, Ko Tan fell into despair. Hak Kian, Ko Nguye was also stunned. "Humph, you despicable bastard." Suddenly, from the cave entrance, something like a spider web shot towards Hak Kian's subordinate, wrapping her up and yanking her away. Cao Tiu Luong looked on, bewildered. What was that? Everyone else was also stunned, realizing that what just happened was... What was that? Louder and louder noises came from the cave entrance. Hak Kian's subordinates asked blankly, "It seems like there's something over there." "So what if it's Thi Tang? It looks huge. Still fearless." Hak Kian loaded his gun. "I don't care what it is, I'll fill it with holes." Fire on his command, everyone started shooting like crazy. When nothing appeared, they looked around confused. "There's no sound. Is it dead already?" Suddenly they were viciously cut down. Seeing the monster's shape clearly, Hak Kian screamed in panic. "It's a mutant spider!" His subordinates stared in shock. How terrifying. Can a mutant spider grow this big? Seeing the spider, Cao Tiu Luong shouted in alarm. "That's not right. This isn't a normal mutant. It's a predator." Cao Tiu Luong's memory flashed back. He had met one like this before. He shuddered at the thought. Unlike normal mutants, predators don't just eat humans. They also hunt zombies and other mutated creatures. It absorbs their powers to make itself stronger, just like raising a goo. In my previous lives, predators hadn't appeared yet at this point. Why is it so early this time? Could this be a chain reaction caused by me linking with the system? The people being eaten by the spider screamed in agony, "Save me," seeing the monster about to pounce. Hak Kian's group fled in terror. Run, seeing Ko Nguye distracted by the spider, Ko Tan seized the chance to push her away. Go to hell. Ko Nguye was pushed right in front of the spider's pincer, and she screamed in terror. At that very moment, Cao Tiu Luong immediately used his show-off card skill. He then grabbed an iron bar from the cage and activated his super strength. Cao Tiu Luong flew over to protect Ko Nguye. At this moment, the spider turned to attack Hak Kian's group. "It's the web, help me, save me." At this moment, Hak Kian ignored his men and dashed forward. The exit is right ahead, but the spider quickly blocked the only path with its web. Damn it! Seeing the monster catch up, they screamed in fear. "The monster's here! What do we do now? There's no escape route here. Is there another way out?" Then Yin Hong turned to a drainage pipe and said, "This pipe leads outside, but we need someone to hold the spider back." Trin Nam and Trin Bak panicked and looked at each other. "Hold back the spider. That's a suicide mission. Who would want to go?" The two of them turned to Yin Hong and said softly, Hong, we've always been so good to you. You wouldn't send us, would you?" Yin Hong replied sinisterly, "Of course. But didn't you say you were willing to sacrifice your lives for me?" Then she used her hypnotic ability, making them walk lifelessly towards the spider. "For Hong, we'll do anything." And then they were dragged away and killed by the spider. The spider, its mouth dripping with blood, was about to finish them off. Seeing this, Hak Kian ordered, "Open it. Let's run." Suddenly, Ko Tan realized something. He thought resolutely, "It's the explosives left over from when the tunnel was built." Then he said cruelly, "Ko Nguye, since you were cruel first, don't blame me for being ruthless. You two burdens can just die here together with this monster." After shooting the fuse, he quickly scrambled into the sewer pipe. The bomb exploded, making the entire tunnel roar and tremble. Outside, Tubok was shaking. Hearing the loud noise, she jumped in fright. Remembering the earlier scene, Tubok wailed sorrowfully. but she quickly shook her head, remembering how Konuye had helped and cared for her. With a determined cry, Tuobak rushed inside, but inside flames were raging. Dao Tu Luong, his face bruised, thought, "Ugh, my head is ringing. What just happened? Was that an explosion?" He stood up and shook his head to clear it. "Why can't I move my body?" Dao Tu Luong was stuck to a large spider web. So sticky, but this was no challenge for our protagonist. A mere spider web can't stop me. He swiftly escaped the web and landed lightly. A perfect escape. Dao Tu Luong looked around and remarked, "There are so many webs up there." Seeing the bodies wrapped in webs, Dao Tu Luong mused, "These must be Hijian's captured subordinates." The cocoon corpses were hanging from above. Dao Tu Luong shuddered. That mutant beast must see these people as stored food. But thanks to these webs, the blast from that explosion was dampened. He turned and saw the unconscious Konguye. Dao Tu Luong rushed over worriedly. Konguye, are you okay? Wake up!" Seeing the fire starting to die down, Dao Tu Luong thought with worry, "The fire is consuming the oxygen. The air is getting thin. If this keeps up, the tunnel will run out of oxygen soon. We have to get out of here fast." Realizing the danger, Dao Tu Luong picked up the sword and tried to cut through the webs, but failed. "It's too tough, I can't cut it." But when he glanced at the iron cage, he seemed to realize something. "I've got it." Dao Tu Luong threw the ammunition at the web, then pressed a button on the remote. It exploded instantly. Seeing it work, Dao Tu Luong cheered success. Suddenly, something burning fell. Dao Tu Luong looked up confused. What was that sound? Inside the cocoons, the figures of mutated people began to emerge. Then they slowly dropped down, closing in on the two of them. Dao Tu Luong wondered, are these people still alive? Then they lunged forward like ghouls. Dao Tu Luong yelled, "No, they've been infected by the virus in the cocoons and turned into zombies." The horde swarmed him. Dao Tu Luong used his secret massage technique, taking them down one by one. Done. But even with their bodies twisted and broken, they kept rolling after him. Damn it, they've turned into abominations. Then, they unfurled their bodies and charged madly. Zombies have no nervous system, so massage is useless on them. Looking up at the tunnel, Dao Tu Luong seemed to notice something. After 2 explosions, this tunnel is about to collapse. With so many troubles behind me, damn it. If only Tuobak were here now. Suddenly he stopped and looked at the zombie horde, thinking he had to deal with these zombies first. Then find a way out. He put Gu Yue down, then used his spatial storage skill to retrieve an item. Gao Xiaoliang grabbed a gas can and hurled it towards them. The zombies slipped on the gasoline, creating a domino effect that made the whole horde fall. Then Gao Xiaoliang jumped up and kicked the ceiling hard. The tunnel ceiling broke and rocks rained down on the zombies. "Here's a burial plot for each of you. I'm such a good person." Suddenly, the cracks from the hole in the ceiling began to spread, making Gao Xiaoliang panic. "This is bad. You've got to be kidding me. Is it going to collapse this quickly?" Suddenly, a figure crashed down from the hole above, landing on Gao Xiaoliang. As Xiaobai shook off the dust, Gao Xiaoliang jumped up on the defensive. "Who dares to ambush me?" When he got a clear look, Gao Xiaoliang exclaimed Xiaobai. As the sun set, Gao Xiaoliang and the other two were already in the car on the move. The blood moon has risen. Once the full moon is out, the level of danger in the wilderness is nothing like it is during the day. We have to find a new place to stay quickly. Gao Xiaoliang scratched his head, wondering if Gu Cheng's group had returned to the steel mill yet. When he turned to Gu Yue, he noticed she was flushed and seemed hot. But when Gao Xiaoliang touched her, he was startled by how hot she was. Realizing the situation was bad, he immediately stopped the car, thinking a fever is a sign of turning. Could it be that Gu Yue, like the others, has been infected? When Gao Xiaoliang turned her over, he was startled. It was a zombie bite mark, but it didn't look fresh. He suddenly realized, could it be? Gu Yue's 2 sisters stood worriedly on the observation deck. It's already dark. Why isn't Sister Yue's group back yet? Did something happen to them? Don't say such things, you'll jinx it. Chef Gao and the others are with them. They're not afraid even if they run into zombies. But suddenly one of them spotted Gu Cheng's car. "Look, what did I tell you? See, they're back now." The cars stopped at the gate. Gu Cheng stuck his head out and waved. Seeing that it was only them, the 2 girls grew anxious. "Why are there only 2 cars? Where are Chef Gao and Miss Bei?" Hearing this, Gu Cheng frantically explained, "We ran into a mutated creature on the way. Gao Xiaoliang and Bifi-Fay fell off a cliff car, and my sister is badly hurt too. Quick, open the gate." Hearing this, the 2 girls panicked. "What, Sister Yue is injured?" They rushed to open the gate. "I'll open it." But one of them suddenly remembered. "Wait. Sister Yue told us not to open the gate unless we see her." Brother Chung, how is she doing? Let us see her for a moment. Hearing this, Gu Cheng and Yin Hong panicked. Gu Chung quickly became defensive. What are you two implying? Don't you trust me? Yin Hong also leaned out and added, Sister Gu Yue has lost too much blood. She's unconscious. Any more delays and her life will be at risk. Hearing this, the two girls became suspicious and drew their guns. If Sister Yue is really in the car, why won't you let us see her? This is too suspicious. You watch them, I'll go get help. Seeing that the girls wouldn't budge, Hijian leaned out, slammed his hand on the hood, and yelled, What's with all the chatter? You're not opening it, are you? Fine, I'll open it myself. The two girls panicked when they saw him. It's Hijian, quick sound the alarm. Seeing they still wouldn't open the gate, Hijian aimed his cannon at them. Eat this! Before they could hit the alarm, the cannon blast sent them flying. Hijian's other men who were lying in ambush had already planted bombs at the main gate. And those bombs detonated, blowing the gate to pieces. The steel mill is ours. Seeing the devastation, Gu Chung was stunned. Noticing his vacant stare, Hijian sneered, What are you spacing out for? You don't seem too happy. Seeing Gu Chung hesitate, Yin Hong turned and said sweetly, How could that be? Ah Chung just didn't expect everything to go this smoothly. He's just overjoyed, right? Hearing this, Gu Chung put on a fake smile and replied, Right, that's exactly it. Hijian leaned back and prompted, Well then go and claim your victory prize. Hearing that, Gu Chung complied, stepping on the gas and driving straight inside.